Hello indeed, it is grand final time, baby. 8 teams started the season in early October with high hopes of proving their championship credentials by battling their way through the grueling group stage, past the punishing playoffs, with the aim of lifting the Elite Series trophy. Only 2 teams still have the chance to make that dream come alive, but an epic best-of-5 final stands in the way. Only 1 team can emerge victorious, and only 1 team can secure the crown.
Goes down! Oh, it's their headshot! Haji! How has he done that?
Phenomenally wins the round.
It's ripping his way through to the grand final.
Basically, all I needed to say is, this is going to be epic. It's the final, and I need some epic final guests. Gentlemen, Harold, and Csgo, looking resplendent. Absolutely lovely to have you back this week. Gentlemen, we are now in the final stages. How does it feel?
It's good. It's probably the final we thought we'd see in Season 1, Epsilon Envy, and I'm glad to see Envy here, to be honest. I feel like they deserved it last season, but slipped up, and I'm looking forward to it, honestly.
Yeah, and a kind of festive theme going on around the set, Harold.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed, actually. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
A bit of Christmas touch.
It gives a sort of lift to the proceedings, because Christmas is just around the corner.
Yeah, almost there.
Yep.
Loving it.
OK. Cool. So, gentlemen, would you say at this point, the final, we have got the 2 best teams from the regular season?
I'd say we've got arguably 2 of the best teams in the sense that, reason we could argue they could have won, they could have not, but it's how it is right now. And Epsilon, after last week's performance, it's all up in the air, really. I think they could easily take this game.
Yeah, perfect. Well, listen, Harold, dressed to impress, no doubt about it. Let's discuss the fact that you're 2 guests for it, which are perfect, but we need a special guest. So it is time to welcome our special guest for the grand final of Season 2. It is, of course, Duncan Thorenshields! Have the budget for a horse to come in.
Yeah, you've got a budget for me, so don't worry about it.
Indeed we do. Lovely to see you back for Season 2.
Okay.
What can you expect from a big final like this today?
I hope Envyus actually turns up. We haven't seen him play a proper playoff series yet, so maybe today's the day.
It could be the day indeed. Now, obviously, Csgo and Harold will fill you in on everything that's happened at this week. But in terms of CSGO at the moment, exciting time for it?
Depends what you're talking about, really. I mean,
I think scene, of course.
UK scene?
Oh, everything's exciting in the UK scene.
That was something about this season, right? The UK scene got a lot of wins off Envyus, so
that's true.
Improvement there from last season, where it was a little bit more dire, I think. A little bit more of a tough haul.
But then this time around, Endpoint obviously having a much better showing. Unfortunately, didn't quite make it to the finals. But that would have been good for British CSGO, would it not?
Yeah, especially because actually that team did make the roster moves where in theory they at least tried to get the players who wanted to practice and improve, etc. So I think making the semi-finals was an improvement upon last season.
And today, you've dressed to impress as well. I feel like Harold's maybe let us down a little bit, not putting the effort in.
I just want to see when he's going to unwrap the present. What's underneath.
Perfect. Well, listen, gentlemen.
Later.
We have done a Secret Santa here, so I've got some presents here that need to be, be done.
Thank you.
Lord Benjamin. There you go. This one's on. There we go. Open them now, I may as well. Just add a bit of a, sort of Christmassy vibe. This is for me. Oh, sweet. Look at this.
Did you buy your own? Did you?
Yeah, pretty much. I put my name on it. Well, my mum did, but anyway, there we go. Farts in a can. Brilliant. What did yours say?
So the key was actually, on the envelope, Lords.
Yeah.
So it does say who it's from.
Does it?
Yeah. So I'm technically a Lord of Sealand.
So the Principality of Sealand is an official recognised sovereign state which you can purchase lordships in. So officially referred to now as Lord Benjamin Doughty.
Perfect. Lord Benjamin Doughty. Well, we definitely will update his logo. What have you got there, Harold? Some socks?
I think we've mixed these up.
Definitely not.
I thought it was just a lot of wrapping paper.
No, but you've got a lovely pair of socks.
Actually, I have a nice pair of socks in there, which match
which has got your name
beautifully.
On it.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, it says your name on the bottom of the socks.
Well, no one's going to see that.
Right, there you go. Thorin, what did you manage to get?
Just me in my usual outfit, you know, as I do every day. And then apparently I thought this was just a mug, but I think you just get some Starbucks coffee or something. Don't drink coffee myself, but whatever. Some will enjoy it, so there you go.
Perfect. As all Secret Santas go, doesn't quite live up to the £20 budget, but there you go. But that is a great bag, so thank you very much for that, gentlemen. Secret Santa done. Back to CS. That's what we're going to do right now. That's incredible, though. You must be so happy with that.
Lord, yeah. I wonder if there's any power.
Okay, perfect.
No.
Well, listen, listen, Thorin, to bring you up to speed with everything, as it's your first time on a Season 2, the season has played out in spectacular fashion. Teams have had to face it all, from spectacular highs to intense lows. Moments of genius, moments of madness, and even moments of laughter. It's all brought us to this very point right now. This is the story of the season so far.
This man is inhuman as he rips his way through. It's all on JM. Filthy Deagle round. New lineup. Epsilon pick up the win. As per usual, Envyus are your victors. Finds the kill anyway, shuts them down, and Reason win the round. Finds the one tap with the AK. A very flamboyant way to end the first game of the day.
Method versus Envyus.
How has he done that?
The best player of all day.
Method to the madness. Method pick up the victory.
This is vitally important for Envyus.
Low to smithereens. Team Endpoint are climbing up that table. And phenomenally wins the round.
It is just beautiful scenes.
Commiserations to Epsilon, who are no longer undefeated. Fantastic, awesome, incredible play from Bassa with...
Very, very, very close game, but Reason had the upper hand.
His wits about him, peeks through, Max gets it so low, and Basha denies it, and they will go through. He finds the flick like an absolute madman, finds the kill. Envyus take the victory here. And the follow-up frag, Envy are ecstatic. Jay-Z will hit the deck, Envy close it down as they find the win. As Zed hits the deck, Zed's dead, baby. They pick up the victory there. Reason Gaming continuing on their strong streak.
Reason Gaming are unable to field a legal roster this afternoon and have subsequently forfeited their fixture against Team Envy.
Right now, they're just being fed to the slaughtering grounds. Here it is going to be over as they find themselves match point. Eric finds the frag and also their tickets to the grand final versus Envy.
It's brilliant. There you go. Welcome back. Just having a look at my Secret Santa present again. These are the standings up to week 7. Reason at the top. Then you had Endpoint, Envyus, and then Epsilon, which then took us through to the semi-final stage of the brackets there. Reason were taking on Envy, and then you had Endpoint against Epsilon, which gives us the grand final today of Envy taking on Epsilon. Gentlemen, I think I asked you earlier, SEO, is it the 2 finalists you would expect to see?
I wouldn't say that, because like, based off the season, it definitely wouldn't be. Like, we had the #1 seed and #2 seed eliminated, which kind of defeats the purpose of seeds, I suppose, but at the same time, it's kind of the beauty of the game, really, that anybody can beat anybody. Yeah, definitely. Well, gentlemen, it's going to be a beautiful final. So here we go. Our grand final is a colossal clash between 2 European heavyweights. It's the defending champions of Epsilon versus the pretenders to the crown, Team Envy. Both teams are confident of success. Both teams believe they have the arsenal at the disposal to come out on top. It can only be true for one of them. All I know is that we're in for a treat tonight. Right, here we go then. Let's take a little bit more of time to introduce you to the first of our finalists. They're the team with the joie de vivre, the je ne sais quoi, it's the force majeure, that is the boys in blue, Team Envy.
Envy close it down as they find the win. One kick, gets the second headshot, Lambert going huge, leading by example for the side of Envyus. Haji! Ridiculous stuff! He starts to go absolutely brutal into the round.
Vikill with 1. Oh, you said 2! And the double comes in from Vikill.
As everyone's low a little bit, they charge straight into the spray down. Penny scale goes huge. Jax as well, peeking from 1 train, gets 1 and 2. There's the third from Jax.
So there you have it. That is the team in blue. That brings us up to speed. This is going to be the lineup for the final today. What do you make of this lineup, SEO?
Well, it's the same one from season one. Like, you know, Thorin's seen this lineup. We've all seen this lineup all season, and compared to the first season, it's been kind of disappointing. But obviously, it's a step up now that they're in the final.
What are going to be the keys to victory for them today?
We've not talked about keys to victory in a while.
It's been a while.
We haven't.
But, you know, ideally, you're going to have to focus on Jax and Hadji. Like, season one, they were the two-star players, and, you know, that was the reason they were dominating. This season, it's not been the case. Like, you know, Jax has been performing really well towards the end of the season. Hadji's still missing, but, you know, they do need big performances from people like Jax. As you see here, he's kind of got well above average stats in pretty much every department, actually. Other than the average kills per match, which is, you know, if he's putting out that ADR, I don't think it matters much.
Yeah, so if Jax can perform well today, it gives him a chance. But Harold, Thorin, do you reckon by them not playing in the semi-final, they're a little bit too relaxed, they're not match fit for this? What would be your take on that?
I still think that that's going to be a factor because obviously in the first season they were undefeated coming into the playoffs and then they immediately got eliminated. They didn't even make it to the final. So they have yet to really be battle tested when you get to the finals. Like when you were saying that, the number 1 and number 2 seeds didn't make it to the final. That's because the regular season, it's best of ones, you have time to prepare. It's very different from playoff Counter-Strike, which there's pressure, and then you know you have to win your map, you have to try and defeat the opponent. So I think they still have to be tested a little bit, but then again, the guys from Epsilon can't scout them because they didn't play a game.
Yeah, I know you've spoken about it before in terms of building up towards the final. With Envy not performing as well as they did in Season 1, why do you think that has been?
I think they were like a bit of an unknown quantity in the first season. Like actually, it took people a long time to even figure out what are their best maps. Like they were going all over the place in the map pool. They had like very, very strong T-sides, if you remember. This season, I think actually since the last season, we had a lot of roster changes actually. So some of the teams like Endpoint powered up, you know, got better lineups. And then I think also, as SEO referenced, Hadji didn't really have any kind of MVP performance this season.
So it's held them against them on that front. Harold, when you look at their matchups that they've had, the results of the regular season, any surprising victories or losses there? I mean, Envyus, who got knocked out very early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a hump season for them. They started off quite strong versus Reason. You know, we underestimated Reason because of that. But then they really fell off. When they got beaten by Envyus, you could tell that was a serious effect on their morale. Everything went wrong after that, and it took them 2 weeks to recover. But once they did get back into it, you can see every week they're doing a little bit better. I mean, losing 8 rounds to XL is quite something, but they did well towards the end. So hopefully they're able to come into this a little bit stronger, with a little bit more confidence. Only problem is throwing them straight into a best-of-5 after a best-of-1 series or a season is going to be very, very challenging.
Should we read much into that 16-2 against Epsilon, who they're taking on today?
I wouldn't think there's much to read into. I think it's more like the situation during that game was that Method could have potentially got through if Epsilon had played better. So Epsilon pretty much decided the fate of Method by doing that. I think they were more afraid of Method than Envy in that situation. So I don't think there's much to look into, but at the same time, if anything, it's better for Epsilon, honestly.
Yeah, it gives them something to work towards. Listen, I got your take on it. I'd like to get the take, because we caught up with Lambert and VKill to find out what they thought about this final.
Hello, my name is Julien Marc-Anthony. In-game Potiscal. I'm playing for Team Envyus as a support.
Hello, I'm VKill from Team Envyus, and I'm the co-leader of the team.
It was hard to think about qualifying in the semi-finals, but when we did it, it was like epic moment.
We had a pretty bad regular season, and then when we had to qualify, we did it.
Reason Gaming are unable to field a legal roster this afternoon and have subsequently forfeited their fixture against Team Envy.
Not playing the match against Reason, yeah, we felt bad for them, so it was not confidence for the final. It's like weird feelings.
I think the game against Epsilon in the final will be easier for us.
They are a new team, like they changed the roster many times, and they don't have a really good playing as a team. I'm going to say I'm confident for the match.
If we win the Gfinity Season 2, it will be a gift for us, for me, because we stick together all the time, we didn't give up, and yeah, it will be a gift.
I'm going to say 3-1 for us.
And we are happy to be here because we failed so much and we are here.
So there you have it. VKill reckons 3-1 in the final. What's your final takes on points on Envy?
I think it's that they're not overly confident, I suppose, is the best way. They're kind of reserved. Season 1, they were very confident going to playoffs and then slipped up because of that complacency. This time, they're much more held back. They're kind of thinking, it's not worth trying to be too confident. We'll just play the game, see how it goes, and kind of let our skill do the talking.
So with that same lineup as they had last season, we expect them to kind of produce the goods today.
Well, I was saying to Ben earlier, it's the only good team in the whole Gfinity Elite Series that's had the same roster for the whole 2 seasons. Keyword there being good team. Excel, of course, did have the same roster, but that didn't work out too well. So a bit of consistency is fantastic. It's not something you see often in the UK scene. So maybe we can learn something from Envyus.
Yeah, the stocks are looking great there, by the way, Harold.
Thanks,
Listen, our second finalists are the reigning champions here to defend their crown. They might not boast the same roster that secured the title last season, but they are out to prove the lightning can strike twice. Looking to make Elite Series history as the first ever back-to-back champions is Epsilon Esports.
They find the frags, they get the round, Epsilon pick up the win. Eric with the last headshot, playing like an absolute monster right now.
Oh, the wombo combo there towards being platform from Zasty.
Kevsey keeping his form as he finds another one. Oh, gets a second as well.
This man is inhuman as he rips his way through it all on JM.
JC phenomenally wins the round.
So there you have it, Epsilon. This will be their lineup today. It has to be said, throughout Season 2, they haven't been able to keep the same lineup for 2 weeks in a row, but this is the first time they come to the final. They've managed to keep it. Zasty comes in again. He had a pretty epic first debut for his Elite Series time, didn't he?
Yeah, it's quite surprising, really. As a player coming in, I hadn't heard of him myself. I hadn't seen any notable things from him, and he came in and honestly played perfectly. He played with aggression. He was playing as if he's been there the entire season. He was getting, I think it was 25% of his kills were first kills, which, when it's your first game with a team at a new event and you're getting that many entry kills, it shows you're just ready, match ready. It's great, really.
Now, you mentioned about consistency here, and I'm going to ask this to Fone as well. You've got a situation where you've got a team that keeps changing their roster. What do you make of that? It seems to be working for them because they're back in the final, but normally that isn't the case. You have to, in CSGO, everyone seems to keep changing their lineup. It's not working, get rid of some players, and then hope it works, but it seems to have worked for them.
Well, in this case, that's one of the reasons why you don't want to put too much stock in the match that these two teams had at the end of the regular season, because they didn't have Zasty, who obviously was the MVP of that playoff series. So I think in their case, it's a rare example of where it was probably the right move, because they upgraded, they got a player who actually is working better for them now, whereas coming into this, they probably wouldn't have been odds on to make the final, I don't think. I think Endpoint probably would have beaten them with the old lineup.
Yeah, well, these are Zasty's stats that come in. Not only does he have some cracking hair on him, what a barnet, but Harold, you were pretty impressed with his scores and his elite rating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming into any competition when no one knows your name, no one's expecting anything, that's fantastic. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders there, especially from the team. He's replacing Barbar, very old player, very experienced player. There's a lot of pressure on him, and I think he performed fantastically. You can see from the stats, that's crazy. A 17 elite rating is pretty elite in my books, Tom.
Oh, elite. No, I've yet to get the books. You are going to lend me them at some point.
No, I can't write or read, so.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, I don't know what we can do there. Audio, book it?
Sure, audible.com.
Sure, fine.
Other audiobooks are available.
Listen, let's talk about the Week 7 loss that they had to Envy. Why did it happen?
I mentioned it earlier. I think it was more of a premeditated, we'll accept the defeat. It's remarkably similar. They played each other at the end of Season 1. Obviously, it was a different Epsilon lineup, and there was no repercussions. The standings were set, so it didn't really matter. And I felt like Epsilon took it as more of a scouting mission, which is what they could have done in Week 7 this time as well. So obviously they got to look at a lot of Envy's stuff, and then they essentially chose who they would potentially face in the final.
So you're suggesting that they would work out the strats that they would have in the map train, and then can we see it again today? If they have
I think it's very likely. We'll probably see train. There's 2 maps I think will 100% be out, and it's kind of easy to look at. Honestly, the Vita, I think. Anyway.
but it meant a lot to Envy there, the celebrations. There was a lot of hugging, a lot of man hugging going on there, Thorin.
I don't know what you're implying here, because it's not going to keep it professional.
No, I will, but not even at the end, the celebrations we could have. Let's look at the rest of the squad for Epsilon. They know that they've had that loss, and they're not going to have that confidence, though, coming into this.
I think they will. Like, I think, for example, the fact that you know your opponent's never played a playoff series yet, that has to make you think, oh, well, we just smashed ours, we can beat them, you know. And as we mentioned, the fact that when you lost, it wasn't with the same lineup and it wasn't the same circumstances, and you knew you were through already, you can kind of actually just fool them a little bit there and make them think it's going to be easy. It's a best of 5, though, so they're not just going to get one map and roll you. And actually, arguably, Train wasn't that great a map for the guys from Epsilon anyway.
And then that result, Harold, that 18-22 against Reason, going all the distance and some. What did you make from that particular week 4?
Well, I mean, Reason definitely coming into this looked like one of the strongest teams there is. They were fantastic throughout the season, very, very rarely slipping up apart from that first week. So to take them to overtime was very well done. I would say quite lucky for Epsilon, really, not to have to face Reason in this finals, especially the best of 5. That's a very well-drilled team. So whether we can look too much into that, it's done now. But it was a fantastic series.
It was indeed, and they had a fantastic result against Endpoint, finished 2-0. Let's have a little recap of how they managed to beat the best of Britain.
Well, there we have it. Mirage as the map. It should be absolutely spectacular. Oh my God! I mean, they don't call him Mighty for nothing. 15-12, and suddenly sparks of life now being shown by Endpoint. Zasty holding the angle. That is going to be the win for Epsilon. They pick up map 1. It didn't look like Endpoint at all. The butcher play comes through. He takes him down and punishes him. Individual plays are just through the roof right now. Epsilon keep it going. And this is not good enough from Endpoint. Right now, they're just being fed to the slaughtering grounds. It is going to be over as they find themselves match point. They are going to be so broken. Eric finds the frag. 16 rounds have been secured, 2 maps claimed, and also their tickets to the grand final versus Envy.
So there you have it, a little recap of what happened in the semi-final. Very nice watch on Jay-Z Watkins. I'll talk about him in a second. Esther, what did you make from that Endpoint sort of loss when we had high hopes for them?
I think all the Endpoint players, I spoke to a few of them, and after the game they were just all kind of dazzled. Like they didn't think it was a shadow of themselves essentially, and they were really, really disappointed by the loss. And it's just a disappointment. Obviously, we're back in the UK, and Epsilon shut them down the 2nd season in a row actually, because it was Excel that got knocked out by them last season, Endpoint this time, and just disappointing overall, really. Yeah,
UK CS:GO, Thorin. I mean, that was our bet. We had all our hopes on Endpoint. It failed to deliver, but moving forward, can we expect strong play from UK-based teams?
I think so. I mean, they performed well enough over the weeks, that's the other thing. If you play well on one week, yeah, it might not carry over to the next, but over the whole season they were doing pretty well. Aside from Reason, they looked like one of the odds-on teams to potentially win the title. I think maybe just some growing pains with the lineup in the playoff setting. They looked like they maybe tilted a little bit on one of the maps, so I think it's more of a mental thing than necessarily the skill level.
Okay, well listen, Epsilon have got very much a strong mental attitude to this. We caught up with Jay-Z Watkins and Kevzy to find out what they thought about the final.
I'm J.C. Watkins, the IGL and Opper for Team Epsilon Esports.
I'm Kevzy, I'm the lurker for Team Epsilon. I think Epsilon brings a lot of firepower and also good decision making, and we also have a calm mind when we play.
I don't really think we have any standout players. We had people stepping up.
More been like one game he does good, other game he does good.
I think we have been taking turns, basically. We won 3 in a row, we were in the groove, but when we started to struggle with the roster changes and started to crumble a bit in the late season. Me and Barbar swapped positions, and he started IGLing. He had different opinions on how to play, and they really affected us in the long term. Tasty coming in this late is an advantage for us. I think it's going to help us in the long run. They can't predict him and they can't anti-strat us, and we're going to do great things.
Jay-Z will hit the deck, Envy close it down as they find the win.
We just didn't turn up to that game. We were completely lost, and that's not going to happen this time. We were a different lineup, we have another player. I don't think it's going to affect us too much.
I think us playing the semis and they don't gives us an advantage. We're more hyped going into this final. It's more deserved for us.
You don't really know what to expect about Envy. They can come in guns blazing, do really good, and sometimes they just disappear on the server and you roll over them. So it's going to be fun to see how they turn up in the final.
I'm predicting a 3-1.
3-1 to us.
Winning Gfinity will be great. I mean, it's the first event for our team. Going out with a win on the first event would be great.
It would show the rest of the world we're going to be a good team in the future.
Do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen Jay-Z Walkins without a hat. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thorin, I want to talk about the psychology of a best of 5. In terms of the picks and bans, what tactics would you expect to see from both teams today? And what are the best tactics in your opinion?
Sure. I mean, the obvious, intuitive way to do it is to just try and get all your best maps early. But I actually think that's usually a flaw if you do that, because the other team's coming in hot, they're probably able to play some of those maps. So instead, what you probably want to do is if you have a surprise pick, you've got one that you've been practicing for, especially maybe a weak map for them, try and get that in early, because then even if you lose it, you've got your strong maps later in the series, and it's very rare that best of 5s get 3-0'd. So odds are you're going to 4 maps anyway. So you can stack one of your stronger maps towards the end maybe and keep that as insurance policy. And I think it's usually better to do the surprise pick or picking the opponent's weakness early on, because then if you get up, then they've got the psychological disadvantage of feeling like, well, they've got another strong map coming later and we're kind of behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to take your opinion or have a look at what Envy's map strategy, how their victories and wins and losses have gone. Very strong in Inferno and in Nuke and in Train. Overpass, played once, lost on that. So what would you do? And Cobblestone, they've lost twice. So if you were Epsilon, how would you target them?
Well, the thing is, it seems quite likely Envyus will probably just ban Inferno, I think, actually. That's one of the ones... oh, no, is it Epsilon who banned it? Epsilon will probably ban Inferno anyway, which is the strong map for Envyus. So I think if I'm the guys from Epsilon, you want to be going... Luckily, they've got almost an opposite map pool. They want Cache, they want Cobblestone, a little bit of Overpass. So, those aren't the maps we've got here. So actually, I think for this best of 5, once we get the 2 permabans out the way, it's just the order at that point in time. We know it's going to... basically what maps it's going to be.
OK, if we compare that to Epsilon's map win percentage, you can see the difference in terms of they've played more maps and been more successful on a range of maps. That's going to help them in the final, isn't it?
Yes, and I actually think that's one of the reasons why I think most of us here are probably favouring Epsilon to win, because first of all, it's a best of 5, so you can't really kind of just breeze past someone. You've got to show your quality. And you notice the maps that they're very strong on are the maps that basically Envyus in general has veered away from. They haven't wanted to play. And I also think that the guys from Envyus don't have a clear map that they can necessarily ban that's going to help them as much, whereas actually banning out Inferno, which is what Epsilon wants to do anyway, really sets them up well to have at least 4 maps they're going to be playing well on.
Yeah, unless they go for Nuke, right, SEO? Because they know that Epsilon have played it once and lost on it.
Yeah, Nuke is traditionally a French map as well. A lot of French teams play it quite often. Envy play it, Envy's Academy, obviously, G2. A lot of teams play it quite often, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that possibly get picked first by Envy. It'd be a good pocket pick, essentially, in this series.
OK, well, gentlemen, it's come to that moment. Harold, I'll have to leave you there with your socks out of your top pocket, because I'm going to go over and meet the captains and find out what picks and bans they are going for. I'll see you in a second, gentlemen. Because I head over here to my main 2 boys, I'm going to pick up this. That's very important. I'm going to stand in the middle. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. Adjudicator, let's do this. How is it going to work? Who's flipped the coin?
So Envy's higher seed.
High seed.
So they've decided to ban first. OK,
so they are going to be banning first. So this is the big moment. I like the fact you've got your shades indoors. No mucking around. Lambert, banning first.
I ban Overpass.
Overpass has been banned.
Yeah, I'm going to use this.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Banning Train.
Train has been banned. Interesting. That's the one that Envy got that win against. Now it's picks. Which map would you like to pick, Sir Lambert?
I pick Inferno.
Inferno has been picked by Envyus. Moving on, Epsilon, what are they going to go for? Which map would you like to play?
We would play Mirage.
Mirage is happening. I don't know why I'm laughing. I just really like Mirage. So now we go on to Lambert. Is it to ban or to pick this one? To pick, please.
I pick Nuke.
Nuke has been picked. OK, there's a nod of a head, so we will have Nuke. Epsilon, what is your other map?
I think we'll have to go with Cache here.
Cache has to happen. Cache has been picked for Epsilon.
And Cobble is map 5.
And Cobble is going to be map 5. Happy with that?
Happy.
OK, they look very happy. I'll let them to stay there in one position. We've done that because, Lottie, I need to know, I need to see from you. It's the final. Are you excited?
Oh, Tom, I am so excited. I've been excited for this all week. And I'm with NeoSky. NeoSky, are you excited for the final?
Yeah, the conclusion to the world season. Excited to see if we can make it and win it all.
And hi, Krillin. Hi, how are you doing? Are you good? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm perfect.
Amazing, amazing. It's the final today. Yep. You must be extremely excited. We both are very excited. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's been a long way here, huh? Almost 9 weeks, and we're finally here, like last season, and I expect to do the same. Come home with a trophy, you know?
Amazing. And you've had a boot camp recently. How did that go? Did that help in the preparations for this massive final today?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a great boot camp. This helps our team a lot, and we could prepare, especially for the Veto now, without showing it for anyone. So it's been good for us.
Fantastic. Krillin, most important question here. What is your prediction for this final?
I think it's going to be super tough. I have all the respect for Envy Academy, but it's definitely going to be a different game than last time. And I predict a tough game, but I think we're going to be the winner. Yeah.
I see. You hear that, NeoSky? He thinks he's the winner today. What are your predictions for this game?
I mean, they have been doing well, but I mean, we definitely showed what we can do against them on last games. And even if they probably take one map because they are definitely a good team and they also prepared it, yeah, we have everything to do and take it all, and without too much trouble, I hope.
Fantastic. Well, I believe in both of you guys. It's going to be a tough one. I know it is. So get back to your teams, and Tom, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Lottie. Finding out about the boot camps and everything. Based on what we suggested with the map selection and what tactics they'll go for, what do you make of the picks and bans from there?
I think actually considering I think Epsilon is the better team, I think Envyus won out on the pick ban, actually. Like, I think even forcing the train ban was actually probably a mistake from Epsilon, I think. And then the guys from Envyus have actually loaded up the front side of the map pool with their maps. So if they can get wins on Inferno, on Nuke, they could be up 2-1. They could be, I mean, obviously there's even the shot probably potentially winning the 3-0. I would still say that Envy's Epsilon is the favoured team, but they're going to have to get it into the deep water and win on their maps later, I think.
I mean, we just heard Envy doing a normal celebration and just geeing themselves up. Why do you think they've banned Train? Even though, you know, I know they lost 16-2 on that map, but in terms of them, I mean, it's difficult for a live show, but it doesn't matter. Why do you think they've banned Train?
I don't know, so it feels like, you know, we might have dug a bit too deep into the whole mind factors that they played poorly because they wanted methods to be eliminated. They might have actually played as they normally do and been just completely stomped, and it's got to them quite badly, and they vetoed it. Traditionally, they've actually been okay on Train this season, so I guess they just are very afraid of it by those things.
There could also be the logic that if the opponent is almost certain you're going to ban Inferno, then they won't, even though it's one of their better maps, they won't put as much practice in, whereas maybe you prepare something specially and you may be hoping to bait them into it, but you can only really say that if they then win it.
Based on what SEO and Thorin have just said, anything to add to that, Harold? And then I will take your prediction of who, based on these maps, you reckon is going to win the final.
I am very excited for this game of Counter-Strike. That's what I will say, Tom, because it's going to be one fantastic humdinger of a slobberknocker, let me tell you. But my prediction, based off the map selection, is going to be Team Envyus. OK, there you go. Harold says Team Envyus. SEO?
The map selections give me a real feel that it's going to go all the way to the 5th map. Just for like I say, it's literally, like, their selections are very heavily focused towards who they wanted. So like Inferno's very heavily Envy focused, I think. It literally will go 2-2 and Cobble. I think that favours Envy a lot. Season 1, they were stomping people on it. Like, they famously, Haji was dropping 30s in the first game of like the entire season. So I think they take it.
Yeah, can we have confirmation, Lord SEO? It says there now in the graphic. So what is your final prediction, please?
Envyus.
Envyus. And then Thorin. Unfortunately, it's not Lord there, but we can work.
No, well, you can still call me Lord.
Yeah, but the music came out.
Sure, there was.
Lord Thorin, what do you reckon for this prediction?
Yeah, I actually do think Envyus did a really good job with the map veto, so they've given themselves a shot. And obviously, if you can get a couple of maps early in a best of 5, the psychological edge is big there. You know, at that point in time, you can mess around a little bit more. You can take a few more gambles. The opposing team is the one who has to kind of play out the serve, as it were. But I actually am still going to say Epsilon's going to win. Like, I think the maps won't be as big a factor. Like, for example, I think certainly on Inferno they'll have their chances, you know. So I think the fact that Envyus still hasn't really been tested as a playoff team, or at least they were last season, they just weren't very good. I'm going to trust in chokers to choke.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I like that. Thank you very much for being honest. I like that. Ezio, finally, asking you, putting you on the spot, key players in this final.
Yeah, so there's a few players who have been... Actually, I would say there's a few players that have been heavily focused in the sense that they've got big names. So Jay-Z Walking is a player we've always highlighted, and it's quite easy to choose him in this section, obviously. He's AWP IGL, and he's getting a lot of entry kills, which in Fantasy League format, that will get you a lot of points. However, Zinken, we've not talked about him much other than week 1. He got that 5-on-1 leagues against XL, and statistically, he's actually been performing perfectly. Lambert, surprisingly, is up there as well, despite being an IGL and AWPer, so we've got 2 IGL/AWPers in this team, which could conflict, but we'll see how that goes if they did team up together. But Zasty is an obvious pick as well. Like, yeah, he's
just for the Barnet or his skills as well?
If we wanted a Barnet, we'd get him in, wouldn't we?
I don't know if we would, but that's fair enough,
Yeah.
And then from
obviously VKL as well. Like, despite being a support player, he's actually been the best player on Envyus this season. Like, we looked at Jackson Haji's perform, and they just didn't quite bring it.
And the last person on that?
I did name 5.
Perfect, take it. Well, that is Ezio's thoughts on who will prove pivotal in tonight's grand final. But fortunately for you guys at home, he's not allowed to win money using that expertise. You can, though. Head over to GfinityEsports.com /UK/fantasy and select the players that make up your dream team for tonight's match, and you could win yourself a cheeky £500 for your trouble. I don't think that's Herald. I think you could do it if you wanted.
Well, because I'm not an expert, is that what
Well, I don't know how expensive that suit was.
You just need 500 quid.
Yeah, exactly. I will leave you, gentlemen. Predictions have been done that side. Let's head over here to the grey corner of shirts. Snods, absolutely delightful to see. Jackie, we are in the final time, but look at this. You've got your Secret Santas. Go for it. Yeah, just go for it. Both of you open it at the same time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Please say that's what I think it is.
Oh, that's smart. That
hello.
is smart. That's fair enough.
And I like the balls on your chin there. Yeah. That's different.
It's working.
Yeah,
warm.
Yeah, it is indeed.
It's a good spot.
There we go.
Oh, that is good, Jack.
So is that for celebrating mid-casting, I imagine?
Yeah.
Just generally, any time there's a picture
point.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's the finger point. That is good. That's
okay. Any given moment.
Well, I know how much you love your beard, so I thought might as well make it festive.
Oh, glittery beard kit.
What I like more than anything, he's told us
and
who's
match
bought
the
it.
baubles as well. There's a bit more on there as well, mate.
There you go. Secret Santa. That's how it works. Eventually, someone will crack and tell you who bought it. Yeah, gentlemen, this final.
Well, the thing is, I know he got my present.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, obviously, with you guys opening the 4 over there.
The concept now.
That is that's why you're not over on that desk. Listen, gentlemen, you've got a massive job to do today for this final. I'm going to get your predictions. I'm going to go for a difference. Jackie, prediction on this one. Who are you going to go for?
I think Epsilon are going to take the win. I actually think they're going to come in quite strong. I think it's just going to be sheer brutality that's going to win a bit more so than anything, really. We know they're a team that can play quite aggressive through and through the season. I think even though Envyus have looked like they found some form of consistency once again, I don't think they're ever going to reach that peak they initially had. I feel like they're one of the teams that has got, if anything, just worse as the season has gone on. And I feel like this is going to be the point where they get stomped down and Epsilon do find victory in a 3-1 fashion.
Okay, I listened, but I was also looking at that. That's mesmerising. Good luck. What do you reckon, Stan?
I think Envyus Academy are going to take this one 3-1. I think having the firepower potential on Zasty is great and all, but firepower only really can win you those best-of-1 upsets, those one game. Or the one game is from the best of 5. I think the consistency of the team play and the cohesion that Envyus Academy obtain is going to lead to victory, mate.
Perfect. Gentlemen, lovely to see you. I'm feeling very festive. Map 1, Inferno. I'll leave it in your capable hands.
Thank you
Inferno.
very much, Tom.
Oh, wonderful. You need to slip it on, mate. Get your
There's
hands
no... Oh, there is actually...
Yeah, it's a foam finger. You can wear it. You can get right in there. But, Snots, Inferno to kick us off.
Yeah.
One I know you're going to be pointing all over the shop about.
Of course.
Should be an exciting affair. Obviously, Envyus. Coming into this, more so for me, they're the team that I've got my eyes on this first map.
Potentially, obviously, this is the map pick coming out for Envyus. We know that the former Epsilon lineup used to be very strong in Inferno. Obviously, with Smoothie working around towards Banana, you had Barber having his impact, Freddy B as well, we can't forget him. If you remember all the highlight clips he had towards Quad with the UMP, the M4 and whatnot. But of course, the new Epsilon lineup has its fair share of firepower capabilities. The likes of the new roster additions, Zasty, obviously performing extremely well in the semi-finals.
That's very true. So that knife one is currently underway as well. We'll decide what side they're going to start off on and get more of an in-depth idea of how this will be shaping up when we do get into the action.
And there you have it. You can hear the screams as well. Epsilon will be taking the knife round, most likely be starting the CT side, the favoured side going forward. So, predictions from this map, Jack. What are we expecting? You obviously said Team Envyus, but what's the scoreline you're depicting?
I think this is actually probably going to be somewhere of a 16-9. I think Epsilon do have potential to come in here. We've seen them before. Obviously, a lot of the stuff they do these days is just based on sort of slower contact style plays. They work a lot more as a unit. It's just crossfires. It just depends if they've got that trade potential going into today's games. If they're on fire, then sure, they can actually find entries. But if they're having a bit of a slow one like we've seen in the past, when obviously they faced off against teams like Endpoint and that before originally, they do struggle occasionally. I feel like it can be a bit of a slow burner.
Indeed. Let's see now, as I believe it is going live onto the pistol round. And obviously, as predicted, Epsilon will be starting on the CT side defense after having the victory on the knife round. And going forward here for the Swedish side, can they have the upper hand, really, the momentum going forward into this best of 5, because this first map can really set the tone.
Well then, let's see what that tone will be as we dive into action. Epsilon will be starting off on that CT side. Envy will be your tease as we kick this one off.
It's going to be Lamb, but of course, the IGL and captain from Envyus is going to be buying up the utility going forward, and as well, having the double flashbang, he's going to be able to counter the mid-push.
Oh, the initial aggression coming through, so Jay-Z opens up. There's an instant response on the side of Envyus as Jax and Hadji come back through. VKL for one as well, and then Hadji for a follow-up frag, leaving it all on Eric as he tries to push down Banana, at least do something from the rear.
1 versus 3, you can see already. Hadji holding for the mid-aggression, spots out Eric. Now Envyus know exactly where he is. They can plant towards Pit, they can plant towards Arch, towards Library. There's so many different avenues they can go down if they want to. And finally, with no kid as well, just going to be buying the double flashbang, unfortunately, has no real chance into this one.
Eric, he is coming in hot though, trying to make something work out of this. He knows the location of Hadji, obviously just trying to keep him at bay as he does push back through. Not too much potential of him really squeezing this round out, but if he can try and find a few frags here as they exit, just at least get something to rebuild his confidence.
Yeah, can obviously save the flashbang. Having the flashbangs in the ecos can be very, very effective and valuable. Obviously, you stack up towards top of Banana, play in the corner, play in the sandbags, cubby, play anti-flash, wait for the players on the enemy side to get close to top Banana, flash over and basically try blind them and face into them. He will find that 1 frag, so it's an extra $300 for the likes of Eric, so he can invest now, if he wants to an extra smoke grenade, can invest into Kevlar, just depends on how heavy this form spire is going to be for Epsilon.
Yeah. What level of investment we'll actually see coming out from them. The rebuys will be coming back in. Epsilon actually going to be going quite massively into this. 4 CZs in play.
Yeah, we've already seen so far for Epsilon, even though they have their star AWPer onto JC Walkings, one of the most impactful players, the IGL and captain so far for the Epsilon lineup, they seem to go for the 5-man force by Jack. It's one of the things that's quite surprising. Usually when you have your primary AWPer, they would save the ADP into the first buy round, but it sees JC Walkings is comfortable with the versatility of the rifle and the AWP.
Initial frag going to be coming through though. Hadji strikes down Tasty. Kevzy does try and trade it back, but overextends on the peak, and Petty Skull will be able to find even more success for the Envy side. Currently all 5 members still alive as they reside towards close mid.
Yeah, very standard anti-eco coming out for Envyus, or anti-force by at that. Holding the angles, holding the choke points, waiting for the CT side to face and get over aggressive, try push information potentially towards second mid. And from that, they now have the 2-man advantage. They can group up here, Jack, use their utility wisely, flash off the angles, molly out, and flush out the CTs with the CZs, and it should be a fairly clean round.
Full commit coming through now towards this B site. There is only 1 man there currently. Eric forced to fall incredibly far back as well. Luckily, Zinkin has been given enough time to rotate over, but he loses his face immediately into the firefight as Hadji will go in with the entry, wants to get the further follow-up kills, and they will start to flood in. Lambert with a Mach 10 going to be able to punish Eric there. Jay-Z miles away. Is trying to go into this though. Actually wants a little bit of the pie here as he enters on towards the bomb site.
Trying to play for exit for exit, hoping that someone from Envyus will get a bit overzealous, a bit audacious, and push in towards Ruin versus the CZ. Try and get that frag and salvage the AK or Mach 10 or whatever it is into the next round. But as you can see, Envyus are very restricted and disciplined lineup. They're not going to be throwing away kills for nothing.
Yep, get out there with all 4 of you still alive at that point. Follow through with the cash that you are starting to steadily build on that T-side economy. More so for Epsilon as well. It's going to be another round they'll have to concede and wait till they can start to get themselves back in the game. As Epsilon will go on to get all 3 rounds off the back of this pistol, it seems.
And there you have it, 2-0 now, and it will be 2 Mach 10s and 2 AKs still in the arsenal for Envyus Academy, so they can stack up the cash. You can see the intensive stare there from Hadji. Usually the one there smiling, giggling, having a good time, and you can see what this final really does mean to the Frenchman. As going forward, it will be another round versus the low buy from Epsilon. And so far, so good. They've won the pistol convincing fashion. They countered the mid-control of the only flashbang from Lambert. They got the pistol round, which is so pivotal as well versus a team like Epsilon that like to go for the full five-man force buy. So now going to the first bar round as well, you're going to be thinking, we've dented their economy, Jay-Z Walker's been lacking the AWP, we can now try and play more aggressive, knowing there's going to be no op into the first bar round.
Opportunity as well for players like Lambert to build up so much cash here as Epsilon are going to have the early mid phase. They try and play through with it, do get the entry frag as we see Kevzy find the early kill. Falls back to Hadji now as they begin to disperse from their close positioning. Jay-Z trying to take him on, but will fall short as he overpowers him with the AK.
4 versus 4. Hadji lights it up towards apartments, but still, you can see the B-bomb size currently in the domain of Envyus. And now forces a flush at Epsilon to peek and basically give away their lives going forward. It will be 3-0 as the bomb is now eventually momentarily going to be planted and going forward into these buy rounds here, Jack. Now that Jay-Z Walkins wasn't able to salvage the Kevlar to the next round, it does mean no AWP for him into round number 4. And that can really be detrimental to a team like Epsilon, where they rely on Jay-Z Walkins, especially on the CT side as well, to gain their first frags, get their entries, and really set the tone of the round. And without that, we could be seeing, well, essentially Epsilon starting a bit of a run.
Yeah, it's very true. We're left in a bit of an awkward situation. It'll take longer for them to get really into a good position and try and utilize that or go for an early explosive entry. And we know how that team works as well. It's not very structured. It is very in-your-face style CS.
Yeah, before Zasty joined, it was pretty much Jay-Z Walkins will get aggressive with the AWP on the CT side, and from there he'll try to find the first frag. If he doesn't, things get a bit loose and a bit free-flowing, obviously lacking the dictatorship of an IGL such as Lambert, where everything's very regimented, everything's very structured, everything's down to the T, where all the players on the T side for Envyus, they're drilled, they know exactly what they're doing going forward.
See if there's going to be any difference makers coming out here though this time around. Now finally on a buy for the side of Epsilon. They have rifles to work with and tons of utility as well. Only one kit though on Eric, so if it does fall into a bit of an awkward situation fast, they might be left without a paddle.
Yeah, look at the lack of utility there right now for Epsilon. Only going to have 2 flashbangs. Yes, they've got the 4 smoke grenades to try and delay Envyus. The biggest issue here, Jack, is they are lacking the extra flashbangs, the extra Molotovs, the counter utility to deny the pushes, which are evidently going to be coming from these MAC-10s. I imagine what you're going to be seeing is a smoke execution. They could be flashing the MAC-10s through the smokes and getting close quarters, but lacking the Molotovs to try and counter such aggression may be futile.
Epsilon, you can see them starting to regroup towards this A site already, restructuring their defenses. They are a little bit paranoid about the push coming through, but the true play is going down towards B. They exploded one by one. They're offering themselves up as a sacrifice to Eric, though, as he comes in with the double kill, still holding his angle. Jack's going to try and aggress against him, forces him to back out of there, but he's cut off. Eric is just going to have to hold towards close runes. Lambert could be such a major set piece if they don't know his location, but still left into a 2 versus 4. This isn't going to be fantastic. They have to try and make the first move. As Jax extends round and tries to force Eric out of position, will slowly push into his domain. If he finds this frag, it will change the round up, and he goes down immediately. And all Lambert, now he has no bomb control. He's being pushed upon. Just pushes round as well. Looks so confused there. Didn't spot out Jay-Z. Goes down because of it.
Envyus Academy there into the first bar, trying to see if they can basically sell a ruse towards the Swedish lineup of Epsilon. They did an arch wrap smoke towards library, smokes towards archway, obviously, and a smoke towards quad, trying to see if they can allude to an arch wrap. The problem was, yeah, Jay-Z Walkins facing towards arch, and he saw no one. He knew it was a fake almost instantaneously, and that's why you saw Eric and Co sticking their guns towards the B-bomb, so they didn't over-rotate, they didn't give up any of the foreground towards B that allowed that B-bomb site to hold. So, it will still be no AWP for the likes of both these teams, as Envyus are going to be investing to the 5 AK buy. And Epsilon into the 1 salvage AK onto Eric, and apart from that 4 M4s. Extra utility now, they have Molotovs. They have the diffusers going forward across the board, so they can try delay, deny, and use the counter utility. And it will be early banana control as well, come out from Epsilon, so they can power themselves off the back of the information. Eric still has a smoke grenade as well, so they can extend the banana control for another further 15 seconds. And of course, that now allows AC to rotate potentially towards Speedway, closer towards the A side.
He's really starting to come in though as they get the smoke off towards Archside. Flashbang out from Jax as they want to try and burst around, take that quad control. He will go first on the entry as they start to clear this. There are 3 CTs stationed close on that A site. They can try and defend each other. In terms of utility though, they're actually expunging it immediately as the HEs and the Molotovs come through to try and delay here. It's still working in the favor of the Ts as Zasty. He went for a long, aggressive play here down banana. Gets punished because of this and leaves him a little bit susceptible to a late round B attack.
Josie walking still towards Arch. You can see Jax close in front of the smoke. I don't believe Epsilon realized that Envyus have control towards top middle. Smoke comes out now in front of Arch, in front of Library. And this will mean they can now go towards CT, forcing the pressure onto the CT side defense from Epsilon as the peaks come in.
Pushing their way through. Kebsy trying to bob and weave, but he's just being obliterated. Hadji looking so much more in form than we've seen in so long. Jack's back to his old tricks as well. Rips the head off of Zinken, and Eric is forced to save.
This is a very scary prospect now for Epsilon. Before going into this matchup, we were arguing, okay, in terms of individual skill, which team has the caliber of players to really overthrow and conquer their opposition? You'll think of the likes of, obviously, Zaysty having incredible semi-finals, Jay-Z Walkins as well as his firepower rounds. The problem is, if you can see Hadji, Jax, the star players from Envyus, if they're the ones firing on all cylinders, and they're the ones really with the individual skill that's showing and piping hot, they obviously have the team play to fall back on as well. Envyus seems to be the complete piece.
Oh yeah, right now actually looking very good in terms of form. If that can continue through, maybe this is going to be Envyus looking like a bit of a powerhouse. Hadji definitely back on form. I mean, 11 frags already to his name. He's been ripping his way for everyone that dares to try and go against him in combat. We'll go down there finally, though, as he is finished off towards the enemy runes.
One of the things I saw from FaZe when I was watching the NIP versus FaZe Oakland finals back was how often we saw Karrigan smoking towards Arch outside Library. The exact same smoke we saw there. What it does is it actually pulls players away from A. Obviously, your Arch player playing towards Library, playing towards Mini Pit. As you saw, as soon as that smoke came in front of Library, blocking the vision, meaning they could go towards CT, he has to rotate off that site, go towards Library, hold for the CT push. Ooh. It takes a player away from the A site. And obviously,
brutal as well against the Eco as well. Oh. Massive frags
to finish it off as well. But as I was saying, what it means is it pulls a player away from A, making that A site a lot more supple, a lot easier to take over. And we saw, obviously, Jackson Hadji demolish them. But now, obviously, after the Eco is now concluded, we'll be going to another buy round. And will this be the ADP coming out from Epsilon? And if it is, how is Jay-Z Walkins to be utilizing it?
Let's see how this will continue on. So the AWP buy is going to be coming through. Looks like he might actually try and go for that aggressive face. We've seen this countless times before. He does try and play a very confident style of CS with the AWP. Goes for the early contact, going to be peering down. The smoke wasn't actually going to affect him either, but he goes for the early pot shot.
I'm wondering now if that was a smoke thrown from Epsilon, because it's a very good one-way to try utilize. Then again, one of the things you can do to counter banana control if you are Envyus is if you smoke the top of banana, it almost holds Epsilon from pushing down banana. It's one of the things you see when you want to counter a Molotov take towards banana from the CT side as the tease, is to smoke the top of it and deny them from pushing through it. Nevertheless, though, 5 rifles once again from Envyus. You can see Lambert, obviously as the IGN and captain, you know, unlike a Fallen where he can utilize the AWP in all regards to take map control, to go for the aggressive faces, to light up and open up the rounds, Lambert's more of the reserve player, plays a supportive style AWP. And you can see on the rifle he plays a very similar role, so the fact that Envyus lack the AWP doesn't really pave too much of a difference.
The man that needs the weapon has it in his hands as he holds towards close clutch, just sitting here, waiting for the push to come his way. Flashbang's going to be coming over as the Envyus players will get ready to bound round the corner. He slowly backs off. He has got into more of a advantageous position. Kebsy comes through as well with a wall bang on towards V-Kill as they are barely on the cusp of bursting into this bomb site. Timing needs to be perfect here as the CTs are set up to try and deal with this and actually dispatch him on the entry. That AWP, it's only going to require one shot to stop Hadji. There come the frags as well. Kebsy gets another kill. Jax is going down. Envy's just so staggered now. They're playing so slow and so timid as they need to wait for the correct time to try and burst round. Time's ticking away. They're not going to give themselves much headroom to work with, but Hadji gets the entry. Lambert with a follow-up frag now as it all starts to go in their favor. They've got site control. You can get the bomb planted and then play this one out.
And there you have it, Jack. The cavalry arrives towards Arch. They were waiting for Lambert, waiting for him to pounce on, strike onto this A-bomb site, come in with the flank, and it's effective. 3 versus 2, man advantage for Envyus going forward. They have the defuse because they have the Molotov to flush out the players as well. But they're lacking that extra firepower. The M4s, the AWPs, you can see FAMAS and a UMP into the utility and the arsenal for Epsilon.
Is that Molotov going to be going in? Flashbang over as well, but obviously it's just left on Zinc, and at this point you have to save, really. Unable to find too much. Envy will continue on. That's going to be their 6th round picked up. Hadji's got 15 frags to his name already.
15-3 after 7 rounds being played, averaging over 2 frags a round. And the same cannot be said for the star player we're expecting to shine from the likes of Epsilon, that being Zaysty, currently 0-0-6. And this is the thing, consistency. This is what I brought up on the prelude when, obviously, Tom asked for my prediction. You can have a Zaysty where he has those incredible games from 30 frags, but it's the consistency. This is what you put your money on. And as someone who's so inexperienced, how's the incredible performance of the semi-finals maybe put pressure on Zasty to carry into the finals? Is he maybe feeling that mantle to be the star role, be the star carry?
Yeah, it could definitely be so. I mean, obviously, it's his first display with a team. It's
something to live up to,
really being thrown into the deep end like that, and he had an incredible performance. Definitely was a surprise to everyone. I think as we didn't know too much about him. No one really knew who this guy was. Comes in, steps up fantastically throughout that entire series. Just constant aggressive plays, confidence plays across the board. So many things that were way too risky, but were always ending in his favor. Maybe that is a mindset that he's left with now, where he doesn't want to overextend. He doesn't want to be the mistake and cause them to lose another round, especially when last time when we saw Epsilon actually be able to play so dominant, they got the early start. They got themselves off on a good foot. They were able to actually pick up a buffer of rounds. If they did make mistakes, it wasn't too bad. Now, they're losing.
They're losing indeed, Jack. Just a blunt way to put it. What surprised me there was the fact that we didn't see we didn't see Envyus panic. One of the things, when the clock's ticking away, there's 15 seconds left, you get a bit apprehensive. You overface maybe, obviously, the AWP hold in the quad angle. And Envyus, they still held. They had so much confidence in Lambert there at the flank.
Molotov going to be going down. Eric just trying to play close here. He wants to peek up, do a little bit of damage, gets the early tag off, follows it up as well as he finds the kill initially on towards Jax and gets out of there.
Gets away scot-free, finds the first frag. Unfortunately, though, for Epsilon, unable to retrieve the rifle. And now VKL obviously can throw that one away, disregard the AWP. They managed to pick up the AWP from JZ walking, so they had the double up set up, they're holding for the aggressive picks. But unfortunately, went vice versa, as it's going to be Eric to light things up and get the first frag, as it will be 5 versus 4. Minute 5 left on the clock, and now for Envyus, they can slow things down, they can take control of middle, or they can eventually end in towards this B bomb site. You can see Pedescal towards the bottom of Banana, has a smoke, has double flashbang, but no grenades have been thrown to either of these two sites yet. Epsilon going for the aggressive stack towards the A bomb site, but it seems like it may be a poor call.
Go for the slow contact play and towards the B site. Eric is going to be lying in wait. He's the only one there, though. Everyone else is stacked towards the A site. It seems like they're slowly getting ready for the rotate round as well, so timing is going to be critical here, depending on how it actually goes, as they do start to make their mark. Moving their way through now as they burst into the site. Eric from backlines can try and do some damage, but loses face to Haji as per usual. Still want to roll, goes himself up the elevated angle as well. Still trying to continue this. It's quite an extravagant play coming out from the man. Oh, goes down eventually, though, as he tried to retreat back through. All the kills coming in favor of Envy at this point. Pettyskill with the AK is just too much to deal with. Even though the bomb wasn't down, CT still running in, attempting to tackle those Ts and just getting overplayed.
Into another buy run then. Very standard plays coming out there in the anti-ecos, obviously for Envyus. In the last anti-eco, the anti-force buy, they held their aggressive peaks towards middle, went in towards apartments, fell back, just went for the standard mid-take after having the 2-man advantage. This time they changed things up. They held towards Banana. They did the early Molotovs towards corner, towards the top of Banana. But obviously, Eric having such a good spawn was able to battle the Molotovs, got there first, and found that first frag. But unfortunately, Epsilon thought they were going to go towards the A site. A poor stack indeed.
Lambert with the entry, though, off the back of the AWP, trying to go for more as he is bounding round. Not really finding his luck, though. Zasty is actually started to come into effect as well. Double kill comes back through. They leave themselves in a 3 versus 3 already this fast into the round. The gamble has been made. 2 players towards the B site. The one that was on A gets executed by Pettyskill. And that is basically them going to be secure in this round. You'd imagine at this point, a 3v2. They can try and cut off those rotates. There is a kit in commission for Eric, but that is about it.
Silver lining though right now for Epsilon is the fact the HP is so low across the board for Envyus. Eric spots out one, but unfortunately, didn't have the drop on him. And now they know that one of the players is coming towards middle. Pedescal has the AWP now, 4 HP, VKL 48. Can Epsilon still manage to conjure up the win? But unfortunately, you can see they're going to be throwing in the towel and going to be running back down towards Banana and salvaging their rifles into the next round. They can still buy, obviously. Having the maximum round loss bonus after conceding 5 rounds in a row. The 2 players that survive will get $3,400. They can drop over 2 more in 4s. And then that leaves that 1 player to maybe go for a UMP buy or a CZ utility buy. Nevertheless, though, Jack, we could be seeing 4 M4s, a UMP, something along those lines where the firepower isn't too strong. The problem is right now for Epsilon, you can see the desperation really starting to surface. Desperate times, Jack, call for desperate measures. And wide-facing towards middle with 2 M4s and smoke, trying to smoke the bottom Banana as well. It all got a bit chaotic.
Yeah, definitely so. A bit of a wild one coming through. Still only 1 round in the buffer for Epsilon. They need to start to get their heads together, try and buck up their ideas a bit, because it's just not looking good at all. Starting to make constant mistakes across the board. There needs to be a change now.
Molotov's coming out to try to deny the banana control from Envyus. As you can see, the smoke will come out to counter the aggression towards banana from Envy. So, triple quad stack coming out from Epsilon Esports, as they will be giving up control towards Arch. This is very risky, Jack. Obviously, all it takes is a quad smoke and an Arch wrap, and basically the round is as good as done. But they're expecting mid-control to happen from Envyus. So far from Envy, they smoke off Arch, they molly out onto the balcony, and then they flash and face towards middle. But let's see if they can pull it off.
So, it's all on Eric once more, really. They do go for this gamble towards the B site. Luckily, he has support from Zinken. They don't have any nades, though. Just 1 flash. There's no smokes there, no Molotovs to try and slow down this push. So it is going to be a bit of a gamble.
55 seconds left. And Periscope going down towards mid means Epsilon should know it's about to be a B hit here, but unfortunately no one's rotated towards the A site. Still just going to be Eric and Zinken to hold the line.
Oh, it's going to be a slow rotate. Zinken needs to go huge off the back of this. Will get 1, but he's drawn out of his powerful position as he gets taken down. They've now got their B site control. The rotate has come through, though.
Exactly that. Now they can play the after plant. They have the man advantage. They can play for the retake. Hadji thought the flash was there, which means Zasty can try step in, but unfortunately with the higher angle, unable to find that frag. And it will be a 4 versus 3 regardless.
He's still getting the tags off, though. A few players on that CT side are quite weak now as they slowly start to get ready to entry together. VKL needs to go big as well. Flashbang going to come over from Kevzy, slightly blind, forced out of position. The Molotov also going to be a nuisance. He goes down. Hadji needs to be key, trying to strike these firefights. Gets 1, gets the second. Hadji, it's all on him as Jay-Z pushes straight in and takes him down with the M4.
Is there enough time? I'm pretty sure he's got that. It's going to be close, though. Oh, milliseconds away there from the bomb exploding. If Hadji, if all he knew, if he just hid for half a second more, that would have instantly concluded the round in favor of the Frenchman. But then again, they're going to be fighting back here. Only 1 player surviving from Epsilon, which means the reset is currently looming over the Swedes. If Epsilon get their money reset here going forward, Jack, it goes 9-2. They're forced down onto a weak force by 10-2. Eco 11-2. It's really going to be going in favor of Envyus across the board if we do see that happen.
Oh, Epsilon as well. You'd have thought that would have been the early entry for Jay-Z there. Such an aggressive peek towards mid, B-hopping round, but he doesn't actually land the shot. As there is the slow contact play coming out from Envy, just moving their way forward, trying to get control towards that A site.
And now it's just going to be the slow default coming from Envyus. They've tried their wrap smokes, they've tried their set execution towards the A site, they've tried the execution towards the B site. And now as they basically rattle off and tick everything off the checklist, it's now going to be the default coming to fruition for Envy. Apps control, middle control. They are lacking a bit of banana control, but that's easy to take towards the latter portions of the round once the smokes do fade from the CT side. So for now, the goal for Envyus, take control of middle, force the CTs back onto the site to deny them information, take control of banana, and you can sell a fake, and you can try and work your magic if you're Lambert, and try and sell a ruse.
Jay-Z needs to be on the ball here. Spots out the there of Lambert as well, and he saw the barrel, gets the first flick as he takes down Jack, waiting for more to come his way. Hadji, if he does dive around, will be taken down anyhow, but it actually falls to Kevzy in the meantime. The Envyus players are getting picked off. They're not actually being able to work together and try and play for the trades. Lambert as well, completely unaware of this push from Zasty as he goes on to get a double kill. Both with a headshot start to roll through, and it's all on V-Kill now. He has the bomb to work with. The angles are being covered by the CTs, but he's going to start to take those picks. Finds the headshot on Jay-Z. Now has site control as well. Kevzy is the only one actually close by. He knows of his location. They're going to be quite spooked. Obviously, they do have the stronger manpower to work with in this, but it just depends if they keep giving these 1v1s. VKL eventually going to be taken down there. The AK spam from Zinken is just too much on the retake. 3 rounds for Epsilon, as they've actually found somewhat of a form.
Yeah, and form obviously being the consistency, they've gained 2 rounds together now, which, of course, is extremely crucial going forward. For Epsilon, if they were to be reset there, that could have been as good as done. Obviously, this being a map pick coming out from Envyus Academy. When it's not your map pick, sometimes you can reduce your mental fortitude, should we say, and think, oh, we'll get them the next map. Sometimes if it's a 13-2 half or a 12-3 half, you're already thinking of the next map. So if Epsilon can bring this one back momentarily, they still have a good footing in this one as well. They can still claim 6 rounds on their CT side, 7 rounds if everything goes their way. try and claim that second half pistol, which is going to be pivotal if they want a chance to try and close this one out, if Epsilon are going to try and take map number 1.
What do we see from Envy as well? Are they going to switch up if these rounds do keep going in this manner? A lot more aggression actually being displayed from Epsilon early on. The HG's doing a nice bit of damage towards Vika just to start off this round.
So, 1 minute 20 left on the clock here. Once again, the default coming out from Envyus, but you can see how much more tentative, apprehensive they are. Before, about 1 minute 15, they were towards top middle. They're already in apartments. They had so much confidence soaring through them when they had the 8-2 advantage. Now it seems reality has hit home as they can't run amok across the whole map like they could before, knowing that Jay-Z Walkings is going to play aggressive, or Zasty's just going to give away his frag. That is crazy. This is really awkward now for Epsilon. If I'm Envyus right now, Jack, I take control of middle. I throw out the smoke outside library, try and sell a fake towards a B split, maybe go for an apps burst, go up quad, do something to try and force Jay-Z Walkings away from Arch towards B.
Counter smoke there towards close mid. They've actually drawn off that rotate as well. You can see there's one player on
that's all it takes.
So the push comes through. Kevzy goes down to Petty Scale. They've now got complete site control. With 3 players left alive as well, it's going to be quite hard to get the entries back into that actual A bomb site and find success into this round. Oh, Lambert as well. Takes down Jay-Z with the AWP. That is ridiculous.
I said for Envyus, their goal is to try and force Jay-Z to rotate away from Arch and the round will be theirs. And they do just that. I believe it was VKL, obviously the support player for Envyus. I believe he threw a smoke towards B and a flashbang. I didn't quite see it or catch it in real time, but it was some sort of 1 or 2 grenades thrown towards the B bomb site meant that Jay-Z Walkins had to panic rotate because obviously Epsilon's a man down. They have to take risks to try and come back into it. And unfortunately, that was the catalyst at the end for Epsilon as it will go 9-3.
Zinken just waiting, trying to find these exit frags. He's got his support from his teammate as well. Him and Eric will come back through, taking out VKL and Jax. Luckily, there will still be money to work with, obviously, on the Envyus side. They can reinvest into it, so it's not going to be too big of a deal, as they need to just continue on.
9-3. Even if this one ends 9-6 and Epsilon claim the last 3 rounds, Lambert and Co are still going to be very happy and satisfied with the half. But now, where do you go if you're Epsilon? What do you change? What do you try and recalibrate, essentially? Obviously, so far, it seems like for Epsilon, when they don't give away the first kill, they seem to have a lot more success into the rounds. We've seen them have poor sight holds when Lambert's wrapped up Arch, or they've run up quad and they've swarmed and overwhelmed the players on the site. The success from Envyus is really, from Epsilon has really come from Jay-Z Walking's AWP, or the aggressive peaks from Zasty. Not quite as aggressive as last round, but obviously in the 2 rounds they won in a row, we saw a big 2K towards quad, towards Arch, from Zasty, towards the top of middle. If you are Epsilon, maybe try and have more of a footing towards quad, towards Arch. The boost again could be effective. You can play for double app setup as well. The problem is though, Jack, whenever we see Epsilon play the sites, this is the 2K I was talking about, but whenever we see Epsilon play the sites, it just seems like it always goes in favor of Envyus.
Yeah, it does sort of feel like if you fall back to just sort of structure alone and actually working together,
you're not going to be able to beat it.
It's not going to work. Envyus have actually proven that they can be very, very skilled when it comes down to that. They're just a lot better at working together as a unit and playing for trades, whereas Epsilon, if they do go for the initial aggression, they can try and catch you off guard. That's where they're actually going to find success in those rounds.
Good flashbangs to try and force back Jay-Z Walkings. He will go for the aggressive phase, but unfortunately, VK yells at his Weetabix and he's on the ball. Finds the first headshot, and it will be a 5 versus 4.
They just want to follow through off the back of this. They get further damage done. Jax with another kill as Eric will go down.
5 versus 3. Kevzy close range with the SMG, but it will be a march towards middle coming out from the likes of Envyus as Jax finds that next frag. Kevzy with his back turn, it's such a poor timing as he holds the angle. And as he spins round, he'll be met by his death. It's going to be 10-3 now, and Zinken's obviously forced to save that AK going forward.
They're going to be going down. At this point, Envy securing themselves at a minimum 10 rounds, really. Zinken as well, just trying to see if he can achieve something. Hold on to the AK, potentially find some exit frags if they do give him a golden opportunity. Hadji, and very deep towards bottom mid, might be his first target. Despite Hadji gets the shot off. I don't even know what he's up to. How's he doing this?
It's not Hadji though, it's just Jax.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell, damn. Anyway, going forward. Double digits now for Envyus Academy. 10-3. The money's going to be low for Epsilon. They may as well just try and save into the last round, I guess. Try and allow 11-3. Yeah, as you can see here, they've gone for an eco now into the penultimate round number 14. Save into this one, fully invest into round number 15, and try go to 11-4.
It's ridiculous. Hadji, current ADR is sitting at 164 snods. He's been playing like an absolute monster. He's back to his old tricks. Jax as well, going to be trying to step up his game as he rips his way for a state hat-trick of men in front of him. Just leaving it on Eric and Zinken. Both of them will go down shortly. Another round for Envyus, as they are just stomping through them.
They are indeed. Obviously, one of the X factors for Epsilon was Zasty, it was JZ Walkings, Zinken as well at the great semi-finals, the players that could try and outskill the roster of Envyus Academy. The problem is, when you allow the side takes to come in, you're playing into the game plan, you're playing into the advantage of Envyus, where you allow them to have their very strict, very rigid executions, what they practiced, down to a T. You're giving up map control for free. We have to see Epsilon try and thwart those executions, get in the face, and deny the smokes, deny the executions.
They are coming in hot here towards Top Banana. They really want to make a difference and stop Envy from just walking in to their bomb site this time around. Aggressive peek as they go for the triple face. Zinken finds a headshot on V-Kill. Jax is trying to retaliate somewhat as he gets into the backline playing around the smoke. Potential to be done here. Finds the first entry and the second. Jax starting to get himself on a bit of a roll now, but he will not find the third. Zinken takes him down. Petty Scale responds on towards Kevzy over at the A site, though if he gets the follow-up frag, that would have been a completely clear. Zasty versus Hadji. He's got the AWP in his hands, and a CZ secondary goes down to Zasty. And they will get their fourth round there at the half.
11-4. You can see Epsilon mentally still in it. Obviously, this second half pistol jack is going to be crucial for Epsilon going forward. If they lose this one, if they concede it, and Envyus go 2 for 2 in the pistols, Jack, this first one's pretty much as good as done. 12-4, obviously the ecos and the force buys after losing the pistols. We could easily be looking at a 14-4 scoreline. 10-round advantage for the CT side of Lambert & Co. Highly unlikely we see a revitalized TR from Epsilon if that does occur.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, it kind of will just be Envy slowly shutting it down. Little highlight reel of Hadji here as well. A couple of team kills thrown in there just for good measure, as he's just been shutting everyone down. Hadji as well. If we fast our minds back, originally week 1, you know, Hadji was such a big impactful factor of season 1. We always sort of highlighted the fact that him and Jax, more especially him as sort of being that right hook that would just shut down teams when used in good combination with Jax.
Oh, yes.
But today, he's back at that point.
Exactly. You send Hadji in as your jab, puts the defense up, and then when they're not ready for it, Jax comes in with the right hook, as you said. And that is the combination that was so effective throughout the whole of the regular season, season 1. Unfortunately, obviously, as they alluded to regularly on the desk as well, they said how much of a disheartening moment it was when they lost in the semi-finals.
Lambert just with a drive-by as well towards Eric. This is just unfair now. Envy just obliterating them. Waiting for more as well. Epsilon looking a little bit confused about what they should actually go for into this round. Just going to leave one man lurking Kevzy over towards Arch side. Just stick his nose out, try and kick something off into the round. Actually does get away. The rest of them grouping up for a late round burst in towards Epi bomb site. Only one smoke on JZ. The face coming through as well. Hadji going to spot out Kevzy. He's just trying to battle between both of them. Goes down. A further lead going the way of Envy, especially when Jax and Petty Scale can defend like this, as that will be that opening pistol round. At this point as well, they've essentially secured themselves so close to victory off the back of that opening pistol. They're going to get themselves within the region being able to close down the game.
Yeah, 12-4 now. It will be the force buy coming out from Epsilon, obviously. Not getting the bomb down. They won't get the extra $800 to try and invest with, so they're going to be forced down to 1.5k, 1.4k. Invest what you have into CZ Kevlar, P250 flashbang Kevlar, something along those lines. Maybe even a UMP if someone got a few kills, but obviously no one got any kills. And already Banana control coming out for Envyus. They can now leave VKL with his smoke grenade towards Banana if they want to, but then again, versus an eco, you can still run the 2-3 setup, where you have your 2 anchors playing towards the B-bomb, so no reason to over-rotate in case you get swarmed by the pistols, because it's unlike a gun run where they sometimes slow down. But nevertheless, it will be, of course, the full 5-man force from Epsilon. 4 CZs and a Deagle to try and conquer the very stellar Inferno play we've seen so far from Envyus. as they march their way towards apartments, ready to burst towards A.
Got one flash left on Zacy. The first flash is the entrance trying to blind the players that hold these defensive angles. It's going pretty badly for the side of Epsilon, though, as the response came in thick and fast, leaving them in a 2 versus 1. Eric just with 7 HP, trying to hold towards close pit. Sure, they've done a nice chunk of damage, but winning this round should be almost impossible at this point. Eric just stuck in pit. Grabs himself a UMP, tries to make a play with a weapon as he is attempting to isolate these angles, take 2 1v1 firefights here, and just hope that he can get the shots off first. 1 HP is all he has to his name on the cross. Will go down to VKL.
Question now to be answered for Epsilon. Do you go for a reforce buy, considering that you are desperately in need of rounds? Or do you concede this one, go for an eco, and try and literally win 10 rounds on the trot from a 14 to 4, excuse me, deficit, which is, let's just say we wouldn't be putting our money on that, would we, Jack?
No, not at this point. Epsilon, I think it's taken them a little bit too long to try and get their heads in the game here, really. Envy just look incredible.
And the confidence as well going into the next map. Obviously, the next map being the pick of Epsilon. The thing that's strange, though, Jack, is we saw the ban of Train coming out from Epsilon. They must have been terrified of what they saw when we saw the matchup of Envyus versus Method.
Yeah, it's very true. Obviously, getting that read there did not want to face them off on it, but it's not going their way even at all here on Inferno. Just SMG frags coming in across the board. Everyone is getting dropped on the Epsilon side. JC and Zinkum, the last remaining members, and their spread fin, they're nowhere near each other. They can't try and play together. Hadji just making noise towards mid, looking for these kills. Absolutely hunting for it right now.
5 versus 2. Obviously, versus the eco, no real chance for Epsilon to come back into this one. It's just going to be a money round here for Envyus, where they can build their confidence, but also their economy going forward. Try to stack up their cash, so even if we see Epsilon win a few buy rounds, Envyus can continuously buy and buy and buy again and again and again, and have enough of a buffer to continuously buy out. And now it comes to the first buy round of the second half, and it's already closing doors for Epsilon. If they lose this one, it goes 15 to 4, match point already for Envyus Academy. They then have 11 match points to try and finish the job in regulation, and send us over to Mirage already in very convincing fashion.
True, if they're actually able to pick this one up, it would be incredibly fast. Lots of Molotovs coming in here as well towards Banana as well. JT has to extinguish them to stay alive, but there is the push from VKill. Trying to find that frag, wants to force him out, gets one. There's a trade back from Zacy, but luckily Jax has Overwatch, playing towards top Banana. Comes in with a filthy double off the back of the Famous. This should be match point picked up. It's just Eric and Kevzy left. Once again, they can't really work together as a unit as well. They're isolated. The bomb is down towards bottom Banana. And Eric's been spotted out towards Boiler.
You can see as well they're exchanging those SMGs for the retrieve Kalashnikovs off the bodies from Epsilon towards Banana. Kevz is a flashbang. He can try and flash, go for a face, but he can see again how do you play on the counter flash angle, hiding towards Banana with the close range SMG. And with the early information towards Banana, having had you so close towards T-stairs, it allows Jax to rotate towards Speedway. He can now cover Arch. You've then got Lambert towards default, and of course, Pedescalon towards Balcony.
Timing is going to be everything as the flashbang goes over. There's absolutely nothing. They're going to drive face into it. There will be a response from Kevz. He tried to go for the spray transfer on towards Jax, but it was not enough. Goes down. They now have that safety net. They've secured match point in incredible fashion as well. Very, very fast. And this is the thing for Envy now. They just need to play their own game. They know they can, afford to make a few mistakes here and there. They don't have to overcommit. They don't have to over-force into rounds. They can just play their own game and try and win this one.
11 match points now for Envyus to close out the first map. Their pick and go and send us into Mirage. It's going to be the mid push coming out from Hadji, see if he can stack up even more of a buffer onto his frags as Lambert finds the first 5 versus 4, and this may be the final nail in the coffin into Inferno.
Yeah, I think so. They want to just end this one quickly, really try and push home the point that they want to be the better team right now, and leave Epsilon broken going into their own map pick.
A lot to prove for Envyus as well, obviously. They had the slip up in the semi-finals where they lost out versus Prophecy when they had the 14-5 advantage on Cobblestone at match point, Jack. And from there into Season 2, they had a vengeance as they wanted redemption after what happened. They had the bye versus Reason, able to fill their roster within the minimum time requirement. And now you can see they're here for business.
Yeah. Looking deadly. Can they pick up this round here as they steer towards B? He's trying to find these frags, using that glove, but he's not really finding too much success at all. Just struggling right now.
50 seconds left on the clock. Epsilon looking so timid. They need to make a decision. It needs to be quick.
Smoke comes out towards CT. This might allow Kevs to try go for a lurk frag towards the A-bomb. So the problem is a 5 versus 3. It's a 2-man advantage already. And VKL does solidify frag number 3. And now just Kevsy and Jay-Z walkings, or should I just say the latter, as this is going to be a 1 versus 5.
And there you have it. That is 16-4 to Epsilon in our first map. Going the way of Envyus, sorry.
And there you have it. I mean, a very convincing fashion they're coming out from the French side. What I want to see, though, in the map number 2 from Epsilon is Epsilon showing us their style. They're aim-heavy, individually skilled players that can really impose their own skill and their own damage onto the French side.
Yeah, looking a whole lot better. Obviously, the confidence of Epsilon starting to fade away, whereas Envyus seem to be reignited. They take it in a 16-4 scoreline as Envyus finds success. Let's head back on over that desk.
Thank you very much to Jackie and to Snods. There you have it. Envy pick up the first map, which was, of course, Inferno. We'll take a quick break right now. When we come back, we will have all the analysis from that great start to the grand final of Season 2 in CSGO. Right then, you join us in the Season 2 finale for CSGO. It's the grand final. Envy are taking on Epsilon. The first map was Inferno, and Envyus got the better over Epsilon. So now it's time to move over to the next map. Before we do that, I have to talk to the experts that are with me. Thorin, Ezio, Harold, how did you see that first map today?
I mean, you can see, we kind of speculated maybe the reason why the Epsilon guys are letting Inferno through is because, you know, they haven't played it, so you won't necessarily be able to have a read on them. Maybe they've especially prepared for Envyus, knowing it will definitely be picked. Doesn't look like any of that was the case, actually. I think they were just kind of winging it, and they really didn't want to play Train, because the way they played the CT side on this map is almost textbook how you don't play. Incredibly passive, never had any information, let the clock get run down every time, but the execute still worked pretty much every single time. They were almost just hoping that, you know, shooting people who come in the crosshair would somehow get it done, and so you can see they're not a very well-versed team on this map.
What's the tactic of running the clock down right to the end there? We found it quite infuriating sometimes, but watching the match, Ezio. But what would be the tactic for using that?
Yeah, I think it's more focused towards what like Na'Vi do, or used to do at least. Like you'd run the clock down, use up all the CT's grenades, and execute right the last 20, 30 seconds. And it works perfectly on this map because obviously smokes get used in these narrow choke points such as mid, banana, that sort of stuff. So it worked perfectly for Envy, obviously, because Epsilon don't seem to have much of a grip on this map, at least. It doesn't help that Haji's also decided to show up for this match as well. Like, I think he had 26 kills, actually, which not something we've seen from him this season.
No, we haven't, but probably just to wind us up after we talked about how he hasn't joined us for Season 2. There were some big moments from that first map, Harold. What do you think Epsilon have to do apart from win, the obvious?
Well, you know, you may question, maybe Epsilon really didn't want to play, what was it they banned, was it Cat? Train. They really didn't want to play Train, so they thought, okay, fine, let's get Inferno out of the way. We may lose this, get it out of the way, and then we'll get into the series. So it may be the fact that they just don't really care. This is fine, right? We can move on from this. They didn't take a pause. Normally in a situation like that, you'd think, okay, take a pause. Maybe they really, genuinely just don't care about this map. Get it out of the way, get it done, and then we can get into the series. That could be the thing.
Still risky strategy, but as Ezio said, the main man who came to the fruition, and Jax as well, we're watching him on the screen now, they were the left-right combination throughout most of it.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of Season 1, honestly. Like, Haji just running in, using the MP9, Mach 10, both sides. It was, honestly, you just felt like he's running the show, really.
But surely Epsilon will know that now. I mean, if it was true what Harold said, then it's a risky strategy. They move into a different map. Can they contain the two of them?
Well, especially because the next map's Mirage, though. So that's actually the bizarre thing. When we initially speculated what the typical bans are, it would have been a series where every map would be playable. But actually, these first two maps heavily skew one way or the other. So this should be Epsilon's chance to get the win. That's why I used the analogy before. It's a bit like tennis, you know. When it's on your serve, now you've got to hold serve. If they win this one, you go to the third map, the series is all tied up, there's just 3 maps to go, so definitely they've got a very good chance to get back in the series now. Now I think actually the pressure shifts over to Envyus, which is if they want to really get ahead in the series, they're going to have to win a map that typically we haven't really seen them playing a lot, and in fact was a map that they banned especially earlier on in the season.
And the ADR there, Ezio for Haji, seeing the stats in front of us, 132.3. Epic scenes. Why hasn't he done it? He doesn't have to. They're here in the final. Save the good stuff till last.
It feels like he kind of needs to get going right at the start of the game. I think he had 15 kills by round 6. So you know, that sort of heavy start, you're going to be pumped. It's very similar to how we always talk about Boaster, like on XL.
Yeah.
They were slow starters unless they, if he didn't get started himself, he would.
Just a bit of confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
We're watching some of his action back right now. Anything you particularly noticed from his style of play at all?
He did get a lot of eco kills, I have to say. He was racking them up.
He did rack
that helps.
But it's that MP9 usage as well. The French players love it for some reason. Like, I remember when Sponge was here, he was on about the Mach 10 buys on T side, even on Byrons they do it. MP9 on CT side, they love doing it as well. It's a very bizarre thing, but seems to work.
Okay, so we move into map 2 now. Move into this map. What can we expect from it, Mirage?
Well, this is the one where, like I say, I think the question mark is really on the Envyus guys. We know the Epsilon players can play it. They're going to like to play it. I think there's a lot of pressure on Envyus that they knew it was going to be coming in the series, almost certainly, because obviously they decided to go the different band themselves. So I think it's more, can they take this forwards and now really have a stranglehold on the series? Because 2-0 in a best-of-5 is, you're probably going to win at that point in time. You've got 3 chances, obviously, to get it done. I think it's more, will the Envyus guys have a game plan, or will the same thing happen here, where if they get run over early, they kind of just concede and think, right, well, let's go to the next map? Because that is always the fear in a best-of-5, because it's not the same as the best-of-3, where you've got to really scrap for every map.
Yeah, I'm trying to recollect if they actually did play Mirage at all in Season 1. I know they didn't play it this season. I don't think they did in Season 1 either.
So you'd say a little bit unmatched fit, but so then how did Epsilon exploit that? Did they go in with a different strat?
Well, Epsilon played Mirage last week, and I feel like the key man is Xasty in this matchup, at least. Like, he was controlling Connector and actually controlling mid. So I think he's the key man to watch out for in this situation. Like, he was very aggressive, so if Envy watched last week's game, they can, focus on him. Like, Jay-Z Watkins will go for aggressive AWP picks everywhere. However, Xasty will always be in Connector, around stairs, like jungle area. He'll always be there, trying to get a pick, even though he's not AWPing. So I think it is possible to win. Like, they do play it online, at least. They just haven't played it at the Elite Series.
Mirage, one of your favourites, Harold. And I just got to ask, is that a full-on purple shirt? Is it just the waist bit, or is it full-on?
No, this is fully purple. It's also purple inside.
Wow. That is probably, I think it's fair to say, and I'm sure SEO will back me up, and Thorin, you'll have to take our word for it, probably the best thing you've worn all season.
Thank you. It's actually not a shirt. It's called a 70s disco ruffle shirt, was what the fancy dress store labelled it as.
Tell you what.
Still called a shirt, though.
Yeah.
I suppose.
You can't put your foot in that one now.
Nightmare to iron as well, so probably won't be coming back.
I don't think he's wearing it more than once, to be fair.
Listen, gentlemen, we move on to Mirage in the final now. I'm going to throw over. Should I walk or throw? I think I can't be bothered to walk. It's too far.
Fair enough.
Guys, how was the finger pointing, Snods?
It was good, mate. It was great, yeah. Don't know what else to say, to be honest.
He's still not really mastered the art of a foam finger. He's surprised to learn the hand does go in.
Yeah. No, I was holding like this, wasn't I? Yeah. What can I say, mate?
It's all right.
I've got to ask you, gentlemen, obviously you're casting throughout the whole of it. Did it surprise you in terms of the dominance that Envy had against Epsilon?
I was expecting Envyus to win the map, but maybe not in that fashion. Yeah, we were expecting, 16-9, 16-10, I think we said in the period before it started. So yeah, obviously surprised at how well they performed.
Okay, Jackie, maybe you could demonstrate how you use the foam finger. That might help everyone.
We'll give him a brief idea.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Essentially, you just put your hand in.
There you go.
There you go, mate.
There you go.
Point. Great for all your photo opportunities. Your family will love it.
Yeah, I bet.
You use that over Christmas. It's not time specific either. This
it's
can be used at any time.
It's not as if it's covered in Merry Christmas on a visit, so that's pretty universal, isn't it?
Gentlemen, we move on to Mirage now. What are your sort of thoughts for this map?
I love how Harold's shaking his head trying to say that I'm ridiculous when look at what he's wearing.
You don't get it. Put your hand in. Yeah, put your hand in.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. There we go.
Get a round of applause.
End the show.
Gentlemen, I'll leave it with you for Map Mirage, Game 2 of this final.
It's not a hand and a foam finger. That's a bit of a mirage, isn't it? Never occurs.
Yeah.
But it should be a good one. You're all right, mate.
I'm good. I'm fine. Perfectly fine.
It's not very Christmassy, this, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. I got you a glitter beard. It was all very festive. You've got me... No, I'm joking. You got a great present. Great present.
You know what? You can take that foam finger. You can stick it somewhere it doesn't shine, all right, mate? If you're not happy. I'm sick of this.
It's not very firm there. Anyway, Mirage, yeah. What do you expect? Epsilon can bounce back?
Should be good. I mean... Going into this map, I feel like there is potential, yes. Epsilon definitely on this map should perform a lot better. It could have just been an anomaly to kick us off in the series. Obviously, if Hadji's playing like that, it is going to be a hard-fought fight the whole way through, though. If he can keep that up as a consistent level of aggression, being able to actually find that many frags the whole way through, then it's definitely going to be quite scary. It's a hard one to call right now.
Hard one indeed. As The knife round is underway, and obviously we saw in the last matchup, Epsilon, they won the knife, they started on the CT side, they lost the pistol, and they lost all the momentum going forward. For me, a team like Epsilon that relies on that individual skill and that basically raw aim prowess style, they need these pistol rounds essentially and try and basically get a good start off into this matchup, because otherwise things could go south fast.
Yeah, we have just seen the victory come through on the knife round as well. So Envyus will get their decision of what side they want to start off on. Obviously, once again, it's going to be them in the drive-in seat.
So, for Epsilon, obviously a lot to live up to. If you remember, Jack, the last grand finals versus Prophecy with Quicks and co, it was a 16-0 Mirage. So they've got quite something to live up to.
It's true. That did occur. That was obviously quite an interesting sight when that went down. More so for the side of Epsilon as well. Is that something that potentially could occur? Obviously,
what, 16-0?
Yeah, can they go through? Can they pick up a 60
not.
no, mate?
Absolutely not. I'll take bets on that, though, if anyone actually thinks that will happen.
Yeah.
Those would be very good odds.
I mean, maybe it'd be like flashbacks. If if the first round start going their way, as soon as you get 6, though,
it's like back in now.
They might get scared. Yeah, they won't be able to win. It's all going to go wrong.
I guess you're about to find out, as it will be the pistol round starting. And actually, Envyus did with the knife and starting their CT side defense. VKL going to be investing straight away into the defuse kit. Question is, though, Jack, will he go for defuse kit double flashbang or a smoke? And he has chosen for the latter. This is probably going to be default. Sort of 2-1-2 style-esque coming out from Envyus on their pistol round. Then, of course, for Epsilon, once again, Jay-Z walking, going to be buying up the Kevlar, the utility, sorry, double flashbang and a Molotov. So probably going to be B hit. They can flash over. He can use the Molotov towards Kai. He can use the Molotov towards Kitchen. Let's see where he eventually does lob that one out.
Right now, though, all the aggression towards this B side as they sprint their way through. The early entry comes in the side of Eric because he goes on to get a double as well. Explosive way to make your mark on the B side. They've got the control. Go for the immediate bomb plant. Zasty follows through with another frag as well. Jax is now down and out. It's all on Lambert and VKL to try and trade this back. They do have the kit, but finding these frags is going to be so hard.
5 versus 2. No Kevlar as well for VKL, but it does have the defuse kit. Extends the duration they have for the retake by 5 seconds. Doesn't seem there's going to be much left of them once they do eventually come into the site. And Sinkin from behind finds the final 2 frags. Going to round number 2. It's going to be Epsilon finally picking up a pistol round. And maybe now they can get more than just a couple rounds throughout the whole game.
Yeah, obviously the opening pistol can definitely try and let them build up a little bit more hype as well. In the previous matchup, it just seemed very somber across the board. There was no real sort of loud outburst that we've come to know and love from this side of Epsilon throughout the series. They have been very vocal, but they just seemed quite dead during that match.
Dead indeed. Round number 2. This is going to be the Antika coming out now. Zasty trying to get confidence. This is one of the things you can do as your IGL if you are Jay-Z Walkings. You have your star players. One of the things Sean Gers used to do with Shroud was on the anti-ecos and the anti-force buys, when you know they're up against pistols, have your star players that need confidence to back up their plays, push, play aggressive, get them frags early on so they can get comfortable in the matchup.
It's true. Try and get that early repertoire down. Oh, Jax with the opening kill, though, comes in off the back of the Deagle shot as he holds close connector. Does slow Epsilon down a little bit into the round. Potentially does give an opener to Envyus. They cannot recover the weapon, though.
Jax there with the opening frag with the Deagle. 5 versus 4. And you can see JC walking slowly but tentatively taking control towards CPL. But they are lacking control towards Connector. But they will find that frag onto Lambert towards Jungle. Fast refrag coming from Pedescal as a save fast. Will eventually find that frag. But it's Jay-Z to find the final one towards Short. 3 versus 3 now from the initial advantage that Envyus had.
Angie, if you can find a kill with this Deagle, then maybe there's still a chance to try and keep this dream alive, but it looks like their chances have gone out the window. Jax and VKL, the last 2 remaining CT members, they're going to come back through and attempt to retake this if they can. They have no utility to aid them, no kits either, but they do have a slight bit of firepower. There's a scavenged Kalashnikov that will be grabbed by VKL. Just going to hold towards Short right now, wait for the push to come towards him. They aren't going to go for this, as they realize it is quite risky. Obviously, they can go for the save as well. Jax has armor and a Deagle.
As you said there, Jack, far too risky. May as well save your AK, Deagle into the next round. You have Kevlar as well to back up the rifle so you can really have an impact with it. Maybe try, make the short jump, frag out some players crossing mid, try push Palace or B, depending on your spawn. But hopefully we see VKL utilize that AK efficiently at the start of the next round to try and get information or the first kill into round number 3.
Everyone incredibly low as well. They actually peeked around. Jax could try and do some damage with this Deagle. Timing isn't really going to work out for him, though.
It won't indeed. Round number 3, though. And it will be the salvage weaponry for Envyus. So how is Lambert going to try and utilize the AK, the Deagle, Kevlar they have currently in their inventory? As he has a good spot for Palace, so can try push towards Palace. If there's no one there, try and have a stack towards the B-bomb side, but instead actually Jack playing rather passive towards CT, which means they can't try and utilize the AK for information, or utilize the AK to get the first frag, and then try and have another member of the team pick up the salvage weapon, for example.
Cavs with the early face towards the B site as well. Just trying to keep them on their toes. Oh, Zasty goes for the entry. Looks like he was actually going to get tackled there, but does find the headshot anyhow, back on towards Hadji.
Eventually is taken down by Jax. And Hadji combined. The combo we're used to seeing from Envyus, but the B-bomb site has been cleared by Envyus. An over-rotation, a gamble to try stack towards the A site, unfortunately, hasn't quite paid off.
Oh, Lambert gets tagged down to 69 as this push is coming through. There is a backstab in play though. Pettyskull from the rear. Starting to make mistakes as Eric is going to turn up as well. Finds the kill off the back of his AK. Jack's trying to deal some damage with this Deagle as he pushes up on the tight left angle. Forced to bob and weave, push from all angles. And will concede that one. 3 rounds now been picked up off the back of the pistol. And this is where it gets real. The first buy will be coming out for Envyus.
First buy until the second map. Epsilon claiming the pistol, winning the first Antico's 94 spy as well early on, looking far better than we saw them in the last matchup. Maybe the nerves and the jitters have been shaken off after the first game. And now it's their matchup, their map pick, that being Mirage. We have to see the likes of Zasty really step up towards middle, towards Connector, and impede their style.
Oh, that's Lambert's AWP completely gone. Seconds into the round. Hadji as well making mistakes as he gets taken down by Zinken. Jax is the only one to actually find anything into the round thus far. This is not really the start that Envyus wanted on their first buy round.
Silver lining though for Envyus, the fact that Zasty is so low after being sprayed down so closely by Hadji. So there is still a chance here for the French, but unfortunately they are lacking the defuse kit. And obviously, being in a 3 versus 4, they need to push or find information somewhere else because they cannot afford to have a 1 versus 4 towards B or leave Jax alone towards Connect if they rush up. And VKL is going to be that unit to try and find the information, and with that is Jax going to go towards B.
This is the risk as well. Jax trying to get past with the correct timing. Eric will spot him out. And that is that second man stationed towards the A site. There's going to be doubts in the minds of the Envyus players as well. Unsure exactly where these other players are stationed up. Still dubious whether this is going to be a play towards B.
Pettyskull playing passive towards Car and Bench. Not really jump spotting as well for information, so they will be lacking early info because he knows the real play here, the real key to victory for Envyus is VKL. Spots the head from Zasty, but it hasn't been seen, which means they're going to be expecting and anticipating a split towards the A side via Connector, and they couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah, the B site is now being taken. It's being claimed as the timing is awful. They will be able to find both of these frags, you'd imagine, though. Pettyskull just needs to be ready for it. Doesn't clear the angle properly. Zasty will take him down, extends through to try and take the fight on VKL. He does find success, at least for now, but he will have to save. Forced to fall back, can't really achieve too much. There is the potential AWP that he can save here if he wants to exit with that. Pass it back over to Lambert, goes for the complete face round, clears out the site, and realizes what's gone down.
1 versus 2. Epsilon planted as well towards short and potentially towards apartments as well if they... Actually, no, they planted just for short there, but I don't think he realized, obviously. You had Zinken on for the cross towards default. You then had Kevs ready to pounce as soon as the bomb was tapped. So, it will be 4-0 now. Envyus going to be salvaging and saving from VKL the AWP into the next round, but apart from that, they won't be carrying forward anything as they are still stuck on 0 rounds. And you can see Hadji as well. Flashbacks of that M4 spray towards mid.
Yeah, that was not a good start, obviously. Just spraying for so long, attempting to get that initial frag. Doesn't go his way. Puts things into a little bit of a bad spot for the Envyus side.
Round number 5. Deagle for Jax. 3 CZs and the AWP to try utilize into this one. But let's see, as the AWP will be playing towards B short, probably going to play aggressive, try to find the first frag, which Hadji Timely does himself as he finds the frag onto the hot prospect of Zasty, but unfortunately the fast trays come out towards ramp 4 versus 4 as Epsilon make their way towards A.
Oh, Jax needs to try and strike back now as the push is coming through. He can transfer this info to his teammates. They have weaponry to work with. Hadji can peek at any time, and they know he's armed with the AK as well. They should be terrified about this prospect. Everyone pushing deep into the site. Jax trying to find that kill, struggles and falls short. Lambert luckily trades it back on towards JZ, leaving them in a 3v3. Hadji's rifle skills are going to be so critical to the round here.
Eric, Zinken, both roughly around half HP as well, to dwindle their chances even further forward. They do have 2 flashbangs. They can flash towards CT if they want to, but not before Petiscale takes the head straight clean off of Eric. Leaving just Zinken down the 1 versus 3, can try to salvage the bomb, but has to be so paranoid of all the angles and avenues that where Envyus could be lurking as he spots the first, but the timing of whipping out the knife is unfortunate. And Hadji will find that frag. 2 players survive. 4-1 now is the scoreline. And that is a half-buy, quasi-buy victory for Envyus, which is crucial going forward as well. What do you think of that, Jack? They're going to have $2,500-ish in their inventory anyway. They win the round with the quasi-buy, just the Kevlar CZ. So they've got money already, plus the $3,500 round win bonus. They're going to be laughing straight to the bank.
Bit of an interesting one. Let's see if that will continue on further forward. Lambert obviously still holding on to the trusty AWP. We see the AK now firmly in the hands of Hadji. Maybe this is where he can start to let loose a little bit. We know how effective he can be when that rifle is in his hands. Jax towards underpass as well, finds success as he gets the initial frag. Doesn't overextend and clear for the second though. He is now coming through. Kebsy could be quite annoying if he's allowed to run away with this. Finds the headshot back on Jax, but retreats.
4 versus 3. Biggest issue right now for Epsilon is they're lacking mid-control, which really does illustrate and telegraph exactly where they're going to go as soon as they show their face towards ramp.
Eric out first. A minute on the clock, tons of utility there. They have so many flashes. You've got smokes, you've got Molotovs. They just need to clear under. VKL gets spotted, but still finds success. Gets that initial frag off. It's only a duo remaining on the Epsilon side now, and they are going to be hard fought into this fight.
You can see the instant rotation coming from Hadji towards CT. 2 versus 3 now, but unfortunately Lambert rotates with the AWP. Joined forces with Hadji as well towards CT, and it will be the 1 versus 3 for Kevs. He can try and get a few more exit frags here, I guess, and dwindle and diminish the money so far for Envyus. But apart from that, unlikely scenario where he wins this unless somehow, some way he makes it through then in towards the B-bomb site.
Yeah, looks like he's going to go for the gamble. Try and go for this full play all the way around. Instead, he dives into the crosshair of Petiscale and gives himself up as a sacrifice. Will fall short. Envy actually connect 2 rounds together.
Very good setup coming out there from Envyus Academy. 2 towards connector, aggressive off short as well was Hadji. And what that meant was you had Lambert the AWP playing in towards top con, holding for the mid face. That was JZ Walkings. You then had Jax holding for the underpass peak. And obviously you had Hadji towards short, and with that, they have all the areas of middle covered, and getting the first frag towards mid, denying early control towards middle, makes it so hard for the T's to really deny information from the CT side, go for fakes, or try go for heavy executions, because it's very easy to over-rotate to the sites when you know exactly where the T side are eventually concluding. So when you lack mid-control, it makes you a very one-dimensional team.
Yeah, so vital to be able to get that early mid-control just for the potential prospect of where you can go as the round develops on. Obviously a bit of a struggle from there, just losing so many players into the early round. At that point, damage was done. The mistakes were made really as we just saw Jax find the first frag towards under. And it all crumbled around away that.
Krilla, the coach, trying to have his 30-second input, try and see what he can change going forward. And one of the things you can do as well, you can see they've lost a couple rounds in a row. For Epsilon, they have to be scared that they're losing footing in the momentum, losing pace as well. Into the buy rounds, Envyus have had 2 fairly successful ones, obviously 1 versus 3s in both of them, which means they've gone fairly one-sided in favor of Envyus. And can they keep forward the pace they've set now? Taking control towards middle, not allowing Epsilon to run up towards short, run up towards connect to go for the fast splits or splits at all. As they're basically forcing and choking them and pincing them in towards one half the map.
They've got cover here. They know their locations. They just need to actually find the frags. That's the bit they're struggling on, as VKL has been forced all the way out of connector. They've had to concede that bit of map control. The convergence of the T's has worked out incredibly in their favor. Hadji We'll get one on towards Zinken at least. He's able to backtrack off as well and actually find himself towards CPL.
Flash is coming towards VK. Goes for the face, finds Zasty. JZ walking still towards underpass though. Most likely not going to be expecting the face coming in from Hadji momentarily, as he will find a frag towards mid eventually. And we see the same scenario here, Jack. Kevzy now in a 1 versus 3, or 4 even.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight squeeze for him as well. He's attempting to slip in undetected towards the B site. Pettyskill is there. He's the only one currently on the scene as well. So if he does find success, potentially could go for the bomb plant. But the rotates come through. Hadji will arrive, but Pettyskill will still win individually in that fight.
Envyus. 3 rounds in a row. Their money's starting to blossom. Their money's starting to build. They're going into these buy rounds now for Epsilon. They have to put their foot down on the T side. They have so much pressure in terms of the organization. Former Season 1 champions with the old roster. And a map like Mirage as well. They won 16-0 in the last finals. So, 1 minute 45 seconds left on the clock. Molotov comes out towards connector. It's one of the things we've seen from Envyus is heavy connector control. And Hadji tries to spice things up with going towards underpass fast, as he will be traded out 1 for 1. And that's the B short player already deducted from Envyus' defense.
Just fall back into the 4v4. This favors the T's now as well, especially as they regroup, restructure themselves for this late round attack on the A site. Shadesy going to be smoking towards mid as well. They still have utility on their other players. It's spread between them. 2 smokes, 2 flashes, 1 Molotov on Eric. There's potential.
You can see as well, Jackson VK are worrying towards connector. They've realized that Epsilon have gone back towards T-spawn and either gone towards B or either gone towards the A site. That's why they're splitting 2-2 in terms of the sites.
Oh, the entries come through. Lambert, he wasn't fast enough to land the shot. He's going to relay the information to his teammates as they swarm back to try and defend this site. They know what's coming down. Jax as well. Timing is questionable as he wanted to reposition at the worst possible time. Goes down. Bomb will be planted now as well. They have the advantage into the round massively. On the side of Epsilon, the push is coming back through. This retake from Envy needs to be flawless. 1 flash, 1 smoke to try and give him a little bit of leeway to find success here. The smoke will be lobbed out. Going to go down towards close connector as this push comes through. Isolating these angles, Zasty falls. VKL finds that frag. They know the positions of these remaining Ts. They are trying to keep them at bay as they just fire off warning shots. Eric will take down Pettyskill though, extends further around. Eric just making a meal out of them as everyone will go down. Lambert is the only player left alive at this point. No chance to defuse the bomb. At least trying to find the frags, but he couldn't even do that.
He's not happy. Eric there obviously dying after the bomb did eventually explode, which means no player surviving for Epsilon. They get the bomb down, they plant for middle, a very open plant as well. Planted for connector, planted for ramp towards jungle. So in a 5 versus 4, when the bomb is planted in such a good position with good after plants as well coming out from Epsilon, it's a very difficult round to lose. The problem going forward, though, is this next one where they don't have the economy or the buffer of money to afford another buy into this round after winning the previous one. You can see a Mac 10 there for Zink and UMP coming out from Kevzy. And the Galil for JZ Walkings and 2 AKs as well, so their arsenal isn't going to be stellar. And neither is going to be their manpower, as already Lambert finds the first off of a poor flashbang from Kevzy.
This is good for Envy, though. You get that initial frag on the board, give yourself some breathing room to work with. Pettyskill getting a bit aggressive here towards B, though. He extends round, it could go negatively against him. Zasty finds that flick, takes him down, but he's so low. And Hadji's on the scene. Hadji with 1, ready for more as he roams around, landing all of these shots. The headshot on towards JZ. Hat trick for Hadji, and another round for Envyus.
Strong play there from Hadji with a good spray down as well. Denies the B push to eventually conclude, as it will be the reset coming out now for Epsilon. And this is where they really have to go back to the drawing board. Their money's going to go all the way down to about 1,500, 1,400. And you can see the buys, CZs, P250s, light utility, light Kevlar as well. No head armor, so 1 shot from even the FAMAS towards the head will take them down. You can see they do have 5 smokes to work with, so they can try go for a later run execution if they want to. Show presence towards B, go down underpass, try split towards the A site if they can have some aid from Eric. I mean, all you can really do there is smoke jungle or smoke towards CT and try and allow for a split. But it seems like they won't be going for any splits at all, just straight rush towards B.
Once again with a B burst, Pettyskill playing close towards window. Actually going to be falling back because site control has been taken already. Zasty's in. He's just trying to be a bit of a nuisance right now. Run amok around the site and force them to fall back into worse positions. Towards A as well. Eric is going in on a bit of a suicide mission. Tags up Jax, but couldn't kill him. Kevzi as well, trying his luck and attempting to do the same, as his teammates have died over at B as well. So there's not really too much coming through from Epsilon, playing very staggered into what essentially is just a burst in the eco.
Yeah, Epsilon there trying to go for the SK double fake with the force buy. What happens is basically, the first time I saw it was on Cobblestone. You do your execution towards A, but in this scenario it was the B bomb. So you execute B, you send one player out, you have your reserve player, that was Eric, towards ramp, and obviously you go for a double fake essentially. A triple bluff though, as obviously one guy dies towards B, you then send Eric out towards ramp. You think, okay, they fake towards B, it's going to be A, and then you send out the triple bluff towards B apartments after Eric does die towards A. But unfortunately, you need to find frags in that scenario for it to work.
Ooh. Everyone getting a bit blocked there towards underpass as well, so things heat up quite rapidly as two players get tagged down to 44 HP.
5 versus 5, but obviously versus the full eco, it's going to be heavy favourites Envyus to try and claim this one. The real goal for Envyus here is to have 4 or 5 players stay alive and don't throw away your life, don't throw away your investment of firepower into the M4s, the kits, the Kevlar, the flashbangs and whatnot. Keep your money afloat. You've still got another 4 rounds to play after this one. Have your money soaring ahead so you can continuously buy even if you're losing rounds.
Lambert with one, Lambert with the second as well as he switches out to his sidearm. Haji towards mid, starts to get backed up to his old tricks as he's allowed to go for these aggressive peaks. It's all on Zasty. At this point, it's a matter of time till he gets taken down, and we do see Envyus get their 6th round on the board.
Zasty now last alive in a 1 versus 5. Try and get 1 or 2 kills here, but unfortunately Lambert gets a 3rd. With the CZ though, unfortunately, obviously, you'd much rather those frags onto UMPs or M4s where it's $300 or $600 a kill instead of the $100 from the CZ. But obviously, late into the half, commodity is the rounds, not really the money. To start things off, you want to be able to build your money going forward when it is, 4 to 4 or 3 to 4, and the money is such a imperative factor. But into these late rounds, Jack, rounds really are the salient point, and it's going to be 6 to 5. Round advantage now as Envyus finally claimed the lead after being down 4 to 0.
Haji is trying his luck with his entries. It isn't really going to work out for him though. Goes down to Kevzi. That's a 1-for-1 as Lambert was able to win the duel against Zink and Jax with the wide face towards close mid as well. There are 2 players just lying in wait here, really. Jay-Z going to be holding towards Delpan as we see Zasty spotted out as well.
4 versus 4. Kevzi shifts off of B apartments, but unfortunately gets orped in midair by Lambert, leaving a very low Jay-Z walkings towards Delpan. Zasty coming with the flank towards jungle. Is Jax going to be ready for this flank?
He needs to be. He's made noise though. He's given that golden opportunity to Zasty. Got the read off the back of it, was able to go for the attack, knowing that he would have been susceptible to it. Repositions through as well. Pettyscale could overextend. It gets him right where he wants him. Takes him down. 3 versus 2. VKL playing the close angle on the site. He's risking it all at this point if he is to go down. He's trying to find these frags. Trap between a rock and a hard place. And he will get eliminated by Eric. Lambert, 2 frags to his name. Goes for something a little bit cheeky. He wanted to put the shot off with the AWP if he did get through, but Zasty was just way too fast.
Throws away the NWP as well, which means obviously Jay-Z can wield that for free. Doesn't have to invest into his own money. 6 to 6, and we're all tied up going forward. And the big question on our minds is how much money has Envyus got left after winning those consecutive rounds in a row? Can they afford a double upset if they want to? Full utility, full everything essentially, a fully loaded buy? Or will there be nooks and crannies where there's UMPs and CZs? Well, you can see as well discussing now with their coach. Strange to not see Neo Sky there.
Obviously, so it became quite a staple that we were used to. A few times that we did see Malik briefly subbed in.
Yep.
That was the only real change we expected to see coming out there.
Tactical timeout coming from Envyus, obviously, after conceding the last round. Want to deny any momentum to be garnered from Epsilon. They could try recalibrate themselves going forward as well into their CT side. And what was working for them early on was the counter mid control. Playing double towards connector, 1 aggressive towards short. There's so many different avenues and different ways as well you can go for counter mid control. One of the things SK do is they go for a double up setup. You have fallen up in connector. You then have cold zero up towards short. Obviously, you smoke short, and then you boost the AWP, tackle, boost cold zero over the smoke. Very easy way to find the first frag towards the back boxes or towards Delpan. Conversely, one of the things FaZe do is they play double connector with rifles. Nico, Rain played double corner, then Guardian solos A with the AWP. It's very easy to get the first frag. Then obviously 5 versus 4, they can play a retake towards A if it does go towards that A site. So there's so many different opportunities we could see coming out if Envyus want to deny mid control.
Jay-Z. A ton of noise early on towards this B site. He's trying to draw all the focus towards him. But he only has really an AWP to work with on this entry. No utility now. He has to focus on his quick flicks. He needs to be able to land these shots just of his individual talent to actually try and develop this round further.
Yeah, really wants his first frag towards the B-bomb site. Gets dinked up, then unfortunately taken down by Pedescal, leaving us into a 5 versus 4. As the flashes rain in and Zinken charges out through ramp.
He'll be sprinting in now. Need to burst through, use that timing to their favor. Try and overpower Envy at this point. They are 1 man down, so they need to try and bridge that gap pretty damn quick. The flashbangs will be coming through. They extend round. Eric with the early entry lands that shot on Lambert. There is a response off the back of the AWP. A double kill for VKL. Tries to make it the triple. Will do so. Finds great success in the round. Hadji as well with a spray down on Zinken. And Envy picked that one up.
Yeah, and Pedescal and VKL winning the AWPs, and this was the round where they really stood up and stepped up to the plate. A massive hat-trick of frags towards CT from the support player wielding the AWP as he denies any chance of that A side going in favor of the Swedes. As the pause was well constructed. And it seems like the double up setup has been what's been called so far out of their 30-second discussion with the tactical timeout. Lambert AWPing towards middle, and then having your support AWPer AWPing towards triple boxes, actually. 2 AWPs towards, or close vicinity towards the A site, uncommon.
Ooh. Timing towards mid as well could have been a little bit awkward. Lambert just waiting. He knows they're pushing down, unsure of how exactly many there are. He's got to make this call that close connect has been compromised as well. The bomb is up short. It's all gone very, very wrong very quickly as the response is starting to come in. They're taking these faces, but they're not landing the shots. They're just being softened up off the back of it. Hadji comes through with the frag on towards Zinken. They do start to put an end to this eco, but it looked like it could have been so much worse at this point. Bomb now in their control, and this is where the round should subside and fall back to Envy, closing it out. Oh. Hadji as well, follow-up frag off the USP. Now just playing with aggression. He wants to close this one out. Needs to land that shot on Kevzi. Quite soft board that he can potentially chew. And goes down.
It's almost as if Hadji has, you know, eco sensor going through those walls of Mirage. Yeah. And even an Inferno as well, as he sniffs the low buy. So, we've seen double op setup now coming out from Envyus. How is Epsilon going to try counter that? They can go for smokes towards the A site, try and facilitate and isolate the orbs into the site. Obviously, we know VKL's open towards triple. You've also got the rifle anchor as well there. So you can try warding those 2 players off and go for a 5 versus 2 towards the A site, utilizing the smokes A. Conversely, you can go for a fast B set play and try and have the orbs into a retake scenario where they're going to be rather futile. Obviously, retaking the B-bomb site's hard enough, Jack, but retaking with AWPs is a different story. So you either punish them later on into the round or early on.
I think that is sort of the gamble as well. We've seen with Envy, more so into those, you know, a couple few rounds here and there, it has been the aggression that has been the difference maker. When they actually do have a stable buy and they can play with that level of confidence they need to, they can counter it. When they don't have to go for these, you know, slow and steady rounds and just play for the afterplant, they can actually go for the extension early on and try and make the better of it.
Slow
Epsilon.
and steady. That's a good way, actually, because this is the thing, right? If I'm Epsilon, slow and steady isn't what I want to be talking about right now. I want to be going for a fast B split. I want to be going for smokes towards A, something fast towards B, or an execution towards A. Get those AWPs warded off and leave them useless.
That's the thing. You just need to try and bypass the AWPs. VKL, though, he's going to be going straight on as he finds that frag to Jay-Z.
Sometimes it can be so hard as an AWPer myself as well. When you're playing versus 2 AWPs, it's almost as if they always have the best spawn. They can always counter you if you want to try to go for the aggressive peaks like that.
Yeah, very unfortunate stuff there. Does not bode well for them in this round as the deficit will definitely come back to haunt them. They wanted to try and get this at an 8-7. Looks like it's more leaning to a 9-6 now in favor of Envy.
Man advantage of the fact of the early phase towards mid from Jay-Z Walkings. And Lambert holding the angle there towards B apartments as he will go for the face and spots out one player, that will be Kevzi. But so far, a minute left on the clock, mid control in favor of Epsilon, so they can try and utilize that going forward and exploit the big gap and hole towards connector they've now found when in Envyus' defense.
Zaystin coming through. Obviously, the swap club post and personal could be a little bit awkward if Jax is aware of what's going down, but VKL spots him out first. VKL gets both as he completely locks down connector control. Eric with a response on towards Jax, but it's still nowhere near enough. VKL has got 4 frags to his name in this round off the back of the AWP. He's going to be hungry for the ace. He's going to find it. That's a 5K for the half. 9-6 scoreline there, claimed from Envy.
VKL stepping up there with the AWP. A massive ace. Prior to that round, a 3K as well towards CT, and the double up setup will range through. From a 4-0 deficit, losing the first pistol, Envyus now with a 3-round advantage, 9-6 on their first half on their CT side. And going over to the T side, you could argue that's a stronger side where they're very drilled, they're very structured, and very rigid, and Lambert can make those decisive calls.
It's looking a whole lot better for them. Obviously, they needed some kind of bit of a lifeline. They need to set their heads back into the action because it was a bit of a bad start for them. Definitely like Epsilon had started to find a few cheat codes there to break their defense, but towards the end, it went back in favor of Envyus quite massively. The double up setup just appeared to be too much for them to handle. They didn't know how to read it correctly and change against it.
For Epsilon, the exact same narrative does stay. From Inferno, it was the second half pistol. Could be their demise if they lose it. And that definitely came to full effect when they went 14-4 towards the end of Inferno. And now you could argue the same storyline. If Envyus win this one, we know how good they are versus the Anti-Ecos versus the Force Spies. We could be looking at a 12-6 advantage here for Envyus if they claim the second half pistol and go 1-for-1.
Oh.
And with the 4-man stack towards B, Jack, it's looking likely.
Snods, they've left themselves open. Basically put a welcome mat down towards this A bomb site. And the T's are not going to be messing about sprinting straight in there. Early damage is coming through. Those Incaners at least tagging them up so they're a bit more weak into the late round, but the aggression has come through. Site control has been taken. They over-blitz them round towards CT. They get the dink off. There's a team kill as well. Zasty eliminates Zinken. Petty Scale goes further through with 2 frags of his own. They're pushing through. JZ, unable to just calm down and focus, gets taken out of the round, and it's all on Kevzy in a 1v3.
1 versus 3 has the defuse kit picked up though. 5 extra seconds to work with, and the 3-2-1 face towards CT from Jax will find that final frag. 10-6, double digits now for the Frenchman going forward, and the second half pistol claimed, which means we know they're running success versus the Force Spies and Anti-Ecos. If it goes 12-6, Jack, again, the same storyline where in the latter portions of these maps, Epsilon, once the firepower kind of cools off, there's no structure, there's no tactical depth to fall back upon, and there's no consistency.
Yeah. If you look at the buyers, well, obviously Jack's going to be the one wielding the AK. Everyone's sort of playing to their strengths,
That's what
really.
You want Hadjin and Mac-10 and Jackson the AK.
You can allow him to get up close and personal, really just start taking names. And that's what Hadji most likely will try and do into this round. He's normally very explosive. No regard for his own self-worth into these rounds. He just charges through and will try his luck in no matter what situation he's left into. Jax with the opening frag though, a HE that will blow JZ out of the server. Everyone on that CT side quite timid to try and go for the peak. They are building additional cash as well. The SMGs are finding frags as Kevzy goes down. Eric trying his luck, just going for the spam in. Jack's incredibly low, and he actually tags him. Takes him out of the round, still trying to get that second shot off. VKL and Hadji, they're almost down and out. If they can try and get these tags, it will at least be some more damage to that T-side economy. But even then, this looks like the round should be theirs at this point. Oh, headshot from Eric. He is doing damage with that Deagle. He will still go down.
Unfortunately, though, damage is all he will do as the round still goes in favor of Envyus. 11-6 as they win versus the Force Buy. And that's a heavily invested buy once again for some of these teams. I mean, we're casting Pro League Finals, of course. So how many times did we see these teams on their CT side not investing into a full Force Buy? It's so crucial in your first buy around on your CT side to have either the AWP in full effect, or having the Molotovs to counter the rushes from the SMGs into the first buy if they carry them forward, or having the utility required into the buy rounds, because when you lack it, it's very easy to go into that 0-5 rut where you lose the pistol, you force buy, you lose with the CZs, into the buy round, you're not fully optimal, you're lacking an AWP, you're lacking full utility, you lose the first buy round, and look what happens, you're 0-5 down.
Very true. It looks like it's about to go. So then getting that 12th round we spoke about as well. VK on entry towards A. Everyone has now made their presence known. They're going to be completely aware that there is a heavy stack towards that site. They can go in, send Petty's go to clear out B, try and work out if there is anyone there, and then go for this late round plant on the B site. Hadji as well. This lurk play could be massive if we see this full rotate come into effect. Spots him out.
Kevzy tags him up first. He's forced to try and reposition as well, so it's just on timing here. But Zaysty's so low, as long as he gets the initial shot off, he should find success against Zaysty. Takes him down, but he will still fall. A 2 versus 3 retake is now on the cards.
Bomb has been planted now towards short. Jax can try and utilize that as well, playing towards bench, as it will be a 2 versus 3 man advantage. But unfortunately, the firepower is in favor of Envyus, and they have the Kevlar to work with.
Jax has that AG, but they're pushing straight through. Lands the initial tag on JZ, roaming around as well, getting a little bit panicked as the push comes through. It's all up to Lambert. A 1v1 Zinken. He grabs the AK, scavenged the weapon, but can he wield it? Throws the clip in, pushes round, gets tagged up, and goes down as Envy will find that round.
Envyus now doubling the scoreline being put up by Epsilon. 12-6 after the second pistol, and the consecutive rounds following that one have concluded. Now, if you are Epsilon, on your CT side, how do you try and structure this one? Is Epsilon going to be a heavy mid-control team like we saw in the semi-finals versus Endpoint, where Zaysty was a monster towards connector, JZ Walkings was great towards window, playing connector as well and supporting Zaysty? Or are they going to fall back into old habits we saw where they play more passive and the cracks start to show on the new lineups?
I think that's the thing as well. It's just a question, do they have the self-confidence to go for that? Because against Endpoint, it seemed like they kind of felt they had won the mental battle and they could allow Zaysty to just push wherever he wanted consistently. But now, it seems a lot more standard. They're not trying to go for these overextensions. They're a bit scared, but JZ will try and use the confidence a little bit more here. Finds the early opener, takes down VKL, strikes with the AWP, Zink in the elevated angle as well. He's up top, but he can't quite go largely in charge. Forced to drop down and fall back and stay alive into the round. Petty Skell will fall. Zinken strikes with the M4. They're getting them back into a bit of a manpower deficit. They don't really have the numbers to work with here. If we see the trade game being played by Epsilon, surely they should find success on the retakes, Nods.
5 versus 3. Epsilon making it work, as it's going to be Zaysty to find the frag onto Haji. Just Jax towards Tetris, and now Lambert the rotation in towards Connector will eventually be silenced by the AWP of JZ Walking, so the bomb will be diffused through the smoke. 12-7 as Epsilon revitalized now in their second half and they claim the first buy round.
They can still get that buyout though. There can still be a re-aggression coming back through immediately from the side of Envyus. It just depends how they opt to play it now.
5 round deficit still though, regardless for Epsilon. As we go into round number 20, it's looking like a Corsair buy-in from Envyus. CZ there for Pettiskel. Deagle as well for the rest of the players, the remaining players. Actually, Jax would invest into the CZ last minute. They have 3 smokes to work with. They can go for a side smoke and both of the pillar smokes if they want to try and jump into the side smoke and flood their way in towards B, as they are lining up the smokes and the execution currently towards the B bomb site.
Early damage being done from the HE. Just rolls up against Haji's feet. It's not going to be as effective. Luckily, it didn't tag onto anyone else as they are all grouped up. That's going to be the utility used. Flashbangs now being ready as they push their way straight into the site. Eric should be ready to just rip his way through him off the back of the AK. Doesn't, though. Goes down in close range. Huge tag from Kevzy, but he's going to lose his face and all. And it comes back to JZ now. He's going to have to try and isolate the targets with the AWP as he bounds round. Zaysty straight in like a monster as he finds that headshot to Jax. They've got the bomb down. They've got themselves into post plants, but it should still be so hard for them, especially when they are forced to face, and Zaysty is just making a meal out of him. VKO with a Deagle gets one, still 2 more frags to find. JZ is low, but he will still connect the shot.
That's the confidence sort of plays you want to be seeing from Zaysty. The super sub essentially brought in into the semi-finals. Unknown quantity essentially, and he delivered of pure firepower backed up by aggression. And you can tell the nerves were there in Inferno, right? It took, what, 7 rounds, nearly 10 rounds before we saw his old form in the semi-finals where he was facing towards middle, getting aggressive towards quad and towards arch. And now you can see on Mirage, he's really starting to show his comfort onto this map, and he's putting his foot down against Envyus, saying, whatever you did to us in that first half, we can do better.
That's what they need as well, because in the early few rounds, Envy were able to walk out mid, they were allowed to walk out A, they could do whatever they wanted. There was no real choke points being held. They were given so much map control, and Envy were just trying to play for the late round choke points, hold them off towards connector, just try and funnel them in when they're in a tight enclosed environment. But Envy were just being able to find success and ways around that. They were gaining mid control, boosting through window, etc. And when you look at that, you need that adaptive as well on Envy. We need them to, you know, be taken down by these pushes from Epsilon. If we see the initial face that comes through from Zaysty, if he's going for connector faces or pushing towards top mid, you're going to be a lot more dubious of just going for that all-out mid aggression. You're going to wait a few seconds, and it burns so much additional time off the clock. Instead, they're not even playing that in the mental game to try and force this for the next few rounds.
they were just doing nothing at all. So Epsilon switching it up a little bit now, looking a little bit more confident, especially on that retake there as well, as you said, with Zasty.
Indeed. I mean, if it does come down to the executions, as you just saw there as well, with a very good set of smokes, essentially. I mean, the one I saw from SK, oh, sorry, not SK, the one I saw from FaZe when they had the SMGs was center side smoke in both the pillars, and then you jump into the smoke and you try and swarm in towards kitchen, swarm into the back of the site, and try to come behind the CTs. But a very close round that was, as it will be. 12-8 now, only 4 rounds in a deficit for Epsilon. As Zasty getting aggressive towards Connector, which is exactly what we're going to be seeing. Orp into JZ Walking's hands, as well as he is rotating off towards Connector, off towards CT, sorry. So it's all coming down to what we're expecting. JZ walking towards CT, you then have the side play being Zinken, and Zasty trying to work his magic towards jungle, towards Connector, towards window.
Talking about that phase towards window, it all depends on the timing here as well. The smoke is down, but as soon as that dissipates, he can try and go for the peek through. Jax is on close short, so he's going to be open as well. He will be visible if he went for the face. But luckily the timing's worked in his favor. He's been allowed to slip into CPL. Zasty could still be so naughty into this round. It just depends on how he actually opts to play it. Is he going to get converged on from both angles? Lambert lands the shot anyhow as he was backpedaling through mid.
Envyus with the first frag. We know how strong they are at exploiting their man advantage and carrying forward their one-man lead into victories and transitioning that. Zinken now forced to try and get information. Unfortunately, though, his other side player has been taken down by Hadji. 5 versus 3.
VKL's coming out. Who will spot who first at this point? As the bomb's rotating, it is going to be a fast play towards this A site. They have now decided this will be the true attack. Kevzi is close by. He can try and actually lurk in from jungle into the late round. Zinken's been taken down, unable to achieve anything from ramp. At this point, you wonder if they're just going to fall back and save, which they will. Luckily going to be able to get out of there, as it wasn't really worth the risk.
May as well just save in this regard. You have the defuse kits, but look at their money as well, Jack. They're going to have $1,400 added onto their bonus, so Kevzi can buy and drop over. Could drop over an AWP as well if he wants to, but then again, Zinken could do the same. So we could be seeing 2 AWPs come out from Epsilon, but then again, having the 2 players survive, they can drop over, and we should be seeing another strong buy from Epsilon. Oh, now that Oak's out of the server, how is that going to be impacting the buy going forward? Still believe they can buy, though. Only issue is, of course, that one player there on 1900, he's going to go to, what, 3,300. He can buy FAMAS, or he can be dropped by that one player that survived towards Kitchen. I believe it was Eric. Oh, sorry, Zinken.
A bit of a struggle. Obviously, the economy not looking fantastic for them at all as we work in.
If Epsilon lose this round, it's already going to be 13-8. They lose and concede this one, 14-8, and their money is reset. Or not reset, but put back down to 0, because you can see how low their money was before investing into this current buy. So if this doesn't go in their favor, Jack, they might have to try and salvage from that point forward. If they lose this round, it then goes 14-8. They'll have no money left. They may as well save, allow 15, a match point again for Envyus, and try and come back with 7 rounds on the trot.
You can see obviously the motivational speech coming through. Epsilon still trying to buck up their ideas at this point, just use the remaining rounds they have. As if they don't find success on Mirage, it's not looking fantastic for them at all.
Oh, Nuke is the next map, I believe.
At that point, you've got to sort of really put all favor on Envy to actually find success and come in with a huge 3-0.
Yeah, the next map is actually going to be Nuke. The next Cash, you know, a map we know that Epsilon are comfortable on.
Yeah.
And then Cobblestone, a map which both these teams can play with. So Epsilon have a very strong performance versus Endpoint last week on Cobblestone. And that's the thing. We know nothing about Envyus Academy, because obviously the reason default meant that there's no research to be done. It's very hard to try come up with anti-strats and anti-tactics, essentially try and have a read and a counterplay towards what Envyus are throwing at them right now.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder, obviously, for that side of Epsilon to get too much of a read of how they're playing in their current form. Lambert, the aggression out towards B early, trying to draw something his way. If the initial entry does go in his favor, there could be the explosive entry straight in, as they do get ready for this. Lead him with the AWP. Is he going to be given that opportunity? Eric up close personal. Oh, he should have found it that time, but he still doesn't get it. An awkward spray as well from Kevzi, but he is able to back himself up, takes down 2 members, but he will eventually be traded off by Petty Skull. VKL as well comes back through with a frag on Zinken. Lambert dealing damage to Zasty. JZ, so panicked there, had no idea what was going down to this round. forced to try and retreat and get away if possible. 10 HP is all he has.
1 versus 3. No defuse, get 10 HP. Even one shot from the Glock will take him down. Has to try and retreat and salvage the AWP to the next round as their money has been diminished. And I just want to say, that is such a well-crafted round coming out from Lambert. You have VKL lurking towards ramp. You then have your 4 players towards B. But you saw what Lambert did there. He tried to make it look like it was a default. You're playing your 1-3-1 maybe. You have your AWP have a good spawn towards B. He goes for the jump phase. He might push the smoke if it goes too deep. Try to get the first frag. Rattle off a few shots. Try to get lucky if you can spam the headshot on the guy towards car. It all looked like a normal default. And then suddenly they pull the trigger and they burst the B bomb site when Epsilon weren't ready because they're caught off guard by the fact it wasn't a simple default. And the reason Lambert can call that is because of the lack of the mid control coming out from Epsilon. One of the things when you're fighting versus a FaZe or an SK is you're worried about Fur pushing mid, you're worried about Rain or Nico pushing and peeking towards underpass or getting aggressive in towards connector and peeking towards top mid when the smoke fades. But you can see how passive Epsilon have been. Yes, Acety's playing towards connector, but he's not jumping through the smoke like we saw Jax do in the first half. He's not peeking for that information, and Lambert can go for that salt call.
Back to the safe side. Epsilon, a bit of a weak buy. 3 UMPs in commission. You've got Sasty and just the CZ. He is playing close though, so potential for him to actually do some damage as he gives away his position. Both of them in a tight angle. Has support from Zinken with the UMP as they are going to flood their way round. Gets one, upgrade to the AK. This is where he could go absolutely huge into the round as they just keep getting funneled into him. So much damage being picked up there. And it's just on Lambert. Trapped as he wants to try and make a play. Opens it with 1 P250 kill, ready for the second, but JZ lands the shot from a distance. Massive play there from Zasty. As soon as he found the AK, he was just able to unload upon him.
And there you have it. Epsilon with the salvaged AWP and CZs are able to conjure up the victory into this round. Zasty close range with the CZ at ramp, finds the first, picks up that AK, and gets those second 2 frags as they push through the smoke, as it will go 14-9. And Envyus have a much better chance going forward now. Sorry, Epsilon have a much better chance going forward now as they've denied match point, which is the crucial thing. Coming back from 14-9 is much easier than a 59, obviously, because if you make one slip up, there's still that buffer of where Envyus will go to match point.
Yeah, Zasty. This is a whole lot better. This is more like what we saw when he played against Endpoint. Going for the picks, knows he's allowed to peek out. You can see him and Jay-Z obviously working a lot more in terms of aggression. It's fantastic now, especially switching it up with the AWP coming out. Gets the initial pick on Jax. Already puts them in a deficit on the side of Envy. They've slowed it down majorly because of this. This could be a style of CS we need to see coming out from them.
Molotov out towards window. And now Envyus, if they want to, they've got 2 underpass, they smoked out connected, they can boost towards window. But look who's there holding it. It's Zasty.
He's going to come around. Hadji really testing his luck here. Hoping for the best if he does extend round to his crosshair. Who's going to be ready? FC re-enters back through as well, gets the tag, both of them drop down. They're now fully aware of what is going on. He did light up one of the players, but couldn't actually execute him. Entries back through as well. Not scared of the angle being held, just going to be slowly making his play through and hold for Jay-Z to rotate around. Zasty on the close angle, lands the shot through the smoke, through the flash rather, as he takes down VKO. Extends again, just a leg on Petty Skull, as it is a 3v3, but he's down to just 16 HP, Snuts.
3 versus 4. As it will be the connector split coming in towards the A site. Flashes rain in, but unfortunately, JC Walking has allowed the players to go up through connector, and Hadji from behind finds the frag. 3 versus 3 as both of the site players diminish with 8 seconds left. Kevzy and Zinken, all they need to do is Molotov default, Molotov out, or delay Envyus. The bomb is down and 4 seconds left. Hadji again with the lurk frag towards CT as he finds Eric trying to transition from that B bomb site towards A, leaving JZ alone when we saw a 5 versus 3.
Yeah, that's huge as well. Hadji basically opening up the rounds. He came in with a backstab. The timing was fantastic. Gets the first kill, is able to get the refrag as well when he extends back into CT. Jay-Z's the only one left alive. Trying so hard, but it's not going to matter. Goes down, loses his AWP, loses his life. That's going to be match point picked up there.
15-9. 6 match points now going forward for Envyus Academy, which means 6 rounds for Epsilon where they cannot make one falter.
Needs to be a flawless game for Epsilon. There's no safety net. There's no chance. If they make mistakes, that is it. It is over. Envy will have a 2-map lead against them.
And the next map's going to be Nuke Jack, which doesn't bode too well for the Swedish side. Obviously, with the time we saw Epsilon play Nuke, they lost it 16-14 versus Endpoint. It's one of the big matches that got Endpoint to that second seed. And we also saw Endpoint versus Epsilon Mirage, and that was not in favor of the hometown heroes Endpoint. If you remember that one, I think it was 16-12 or 16-13 in favor of Epsilon. But that's a lot of evidence and a lot of content, essentially. You can watch back if you're Envyus Academy and try and spot the weaknesses and capitalize and exploit them.
Let's see if they can exploit them and get that last round, squeeze it out of them, get themselves the big 16 and move on to that third map. Or if there is going to be a resurgence and Epsilon can actually try and defy this.
Issue here, Jack, is going forward, how much stock can you put into Epsilon, where you think about the game plan, it's very heavy off of individual characteristic, individual plays. If they're winning rounds, it's because Zasty's towards connector, Zasty here, Zasty this. In terms of a best of 5 and a potential 5 maps, the consistency of that sort of play and relying off of that caliber of play is so unfortunate and unlikely. You know, you could argue FaZe as Nico, FaZe as this, FaZe as that, but they've also got Karrigan, and Karrigan is the cement block that wields it all together, essentially, and you need a player like that on a team like Epsilon that can harness, or sorry, a player on IGL that can harness the talent and harness the raw firepower we see from Epsilon.
Jay-Z towards close mid. It could have been a power play, but instead goes down immediately. Jack's going to find the entry. He survives there on 12 HP, so he's still going to be useful throughout this round. Looking like they are grouping up to go for this late play towards B as well. You can see Zinken and Co. at least getting the info, trying to work out and decipher what they are doing into this round.
Split towards the B bomb site. Eric finds one of the T's and instantly treaded out of that by VKL. And there you have it. Jax will spot out Kevzy, trying to see if he can pull a fast one towards bench. Zasty, though, the man, the myth, and unfortunately the legend as well, as he will go to a pastime. As it's going to be Zinken now in the 1 versus 4. 16-9, as it will conclude after 25 rounds being played out and dished out. Envyus go 2-0 up.
Yeah, very, very speedy as they lock it down. That is going to be victory found. 2 maps in a row. They are 1 map away from claiming success and taking the grand final.
So, I mean, going forward as well, I said for Epsilon they need to impose their own style, get aggressive. We want to see Zasty really show his confidence and find those fast, you know, fast flick, high-intensive sort of frags he finds with the AWP or the AK. Apart from that, let's see what happens on Nuke, as this doesn't bode too well for the Swedish side.
Yeah, that third map coming up soon. But for now, let's get back over to that desk.
Yeah, not literally, though, but it was just disappointing. Lovely to be, you know, it'd be nice to have you over here, Jackie.
Oh, yeah, but not me, cool.
No one
Stick to the finger.
There you go, but you can bring the finger. Listen, gentlemen, let's talk about that map, Mirage, and what is going wrong for Epsilon. But before we do that, we'll have a quick break. When we come back, we'll have all those answers for you. All right, then, it is Season 2, the finale, the big one. Envy taking on Epsilon. Map 1 is in the bank, won by Envy. We moved on to map 2, which was Mirage, which finished 16-9 to those boys in blue. They take a very convincing, strong 2-0 win at the moment in the rounds. We move on to our next map we are excited about. And more importantly, how is it possible for Envy to slow down? Can Epsilon get back into this? I'll ask the gentlemen. But first of all, what did you take from that? You're shaking your head, Harold, straight away. What did you notice from that map?
Well, it seems Envyus are a lot stronger than Epsilon right now on the day, and the next map is Nuke. It's Envyus's pick. They've already won it once in the season. I just do not see this coming back.
Okay, so bearing in mind that, you know, we want Epsilon to do well, is there a way back for them?
Do we? I don't know about you, but we're not biased. We don't take favourites.
Well, I'm going to be impartial, but I'd quite like to see a bit more of a match because I don't think Epsilon have quite turned up yet. So what's going wrong for them?
Well,
what's going right for Envy?
Unfortunately, that's kind of the element where you can't really big them up because this was supposed to be their chance on this map, Mirage, to get right back into it. They even got the ideal start. They were up 4-0, and then from there on, almost nothing. They got completely overrun. this is actually where I expected them to do to the Envyus guys what Envyus had done to them. Play a map they're not really as confident on, go very slow, draw out all the utility, execute onto the site, it's your favoured map, and then in theory you cruise to a T-side win, and they end up losing the T-side, put themselves in bad shape. Again on CT side, we saw the same thing, actually playing very passively, letting people get into positions, like if the mid control was ever taken by the Envyus guys, they just gave it up immediately, basically. So I actually feel like it's not even just they're being outmatched here. The confidence is non-existent, it feels like, from the Epsilon guys. At the moment, they're just turning up and they're kind of looking around who's going to make a play.
Yeah, but if they're turning up and just ball watching in many respects and not really getting involved, then surely they need to do something. 13 rounds they've won over 2 maps. That isn't even enough to win 1 map. So they need to come out fired up.
I mean, the upside is, like, I'm not sure, does it work here where the other team picks the side?
I don't think it does. I think it's nice.
Well, there's one thing they can potentially do is, like, even if you aren't a nuke team, if you can get on the CT side, it's a very CT-dominated map, and you can just get a roll going just by shooting people who come in your crosshair. It's one of the few maps where actually you can kind of do that and sometimes sneak a win. It's just that obviously Envyus like the map and have actually picked it.
The flip side to that is they had that start on Mirage, and they were T-side as well, so it's, you know, it is the more difficult side, but they had a great start. They should have been able to convert that into a really good half, and they just fell apart. As soon as they lost 1 round, they lost the next, and it just crumbles away. And with players like Zinken, he is a fantastic player when he's playing well. We know that, we saw that last week. But when he's tilted, when he's not playing so well, that's when you see the lack of experience come in, and that's, I think, when we're going to see him suffer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just in reference to 13 rounds is not good enough, but they're not getting the maps very close. They're just not close at the moment. But is that credit to Envyus and how well they're playing at the moment?
I think Envyus have got the experience and, like, team chemistry to actually close out a map quite quickly and comfortably as well. Like, one thing you mentioned, obviously, was the confidence of the players. Zasty, last week we praised him for his confidence. He was coming and just pushing, getting entry frags. He did this map as well, and he just had nobody backing him whatsoever. Jay-Z Walking is a big highlight in this map for me. He's, you know, we'd focus on the IGL/AWPA battle, technically. Yes. And he had, I believe it was 8 kills across the entire map. At one point he had 4, Lambert had 18. And you can argue just put them head to head, and whoever wins that battle will probably win the game. Like, it's, like, as well as that, though, you can possibly attribute the way that both players kind of manage the economies in a way. So Jay-Z Walking's not as experienced, obviously, as Lambert. He'll probably be more focused towards his own play rather than the team. So, you know, head to head, it's always going to favour the team play, really. And
obviously something actually you were pointing out when we were looking through the information pack here where it has the ages listed, is that the Envyus Academy team, even though they are an Academy team, they're actually all older players. There's a lot of them at 25, 26, whereas the Epsilon guys, not only are they a bunch of like fresh new names, but most of them 18, 19, so actually it seems like they're the ones who are kind of wilting under the pressure where they're expected to potentially win this championship. That was their map pick. That's why it bodes so badly, I think, going into this third map.
So maybe you would say, you're saying really the composure of Envy now, it's really with them because they know how to see this out.
Envyus just look like they're playing their game. I mean, in this map here, Mirage, yeah, when you start on CT side, there's not so much that you're doing tactically there, obviously. It's just you're hitting your shots, etc. But I think it's that as the guys from Epsilon haven't shown up to the game, then it just empowers the Envyus side even more. We actually have a proper team, we have tactics, we run this map, so we just do kind of paint by numbers and we're going to get the right result.
And they're very composed stats in front of you from Lambert. What did you notice from his play at SCO?
Well, he was just controlling the game, really. Like, it's one thing that we mentioned the experience of the Epsilon side. So it was 4-0, they'd won the first gun round, huge play again. They lose to an eco, they saved 1 gun and then lost to it. A team that is so young and inexperienced are likely to tilt off that, and I think they lost 11 rounds in a row, actually. Maybe, actually, it might have been 12 even. So, yeah, it really doesn't bode well if they're not capable to, like, just, you know, mentally reset, I suppose. Like, they might not have even come into this game feeling that confident. They may have won the first 4 rounds, but they didn't show it through the rest of the game.
Yeah, but the thing is, Envy, for all the good they did on that map, Mirage, they still allowed Zasty to play well. So surely he should be able to turn to the rest of his Epsilon boys now and go, listen, guys, I was doing my bit. Where are the rest of you? Try and, I don't know, put a firecracker up them so that they... Slight slip of the tongue there. But basically just trying to get them to come out for this third map because it's do or die right now.
That's the thing. You see people, like, if they have a really good game and it feels like your team's not been there, you'll probably play just as bad as them the next map anyway. You'll be like, well, they didn't back me.
The smoothie principle, we call it. Shut up.
But like, you play really well and then the rest of your team didn't help you, so you're like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
And then you play poorly and they might play poorly again.
I mean, you'd hope that with it being a final, that people are going to... Like, that's actually the thing. If you are the guys from Epsilon, it's true the map doesn't favour you. You are in a bad situation. But like I said, if you get that decent CT side going, you have a chance, and it's a best of 5. You know, you can still go to the next map. You're definitely going to have a chance there. Maybe then we can get to the 5th map. You have to just go map by map. That's the point. You can't be thinking to yourself, they're 2-0 up, you know. Good thing about Counter-Strike is every map is a reset. You know, they don't get any advantage because they've won 2 maps. You're going to play the 3rd one out. So I would say it's more about the reset they do now mentally. And that's actually one area where maybe they don't have the right infrastructure because, I mean, they have the coach behind them who's actually a fairly new guy. I haven't really seen him before. And they don't seem to be doing much with their timeouts. Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of effect. So I feel like that's an area also where perhaps they're lacking compared to Envyus.
Can you possibly critique what I'm about to show you from that last map, Mirage, in terms of the gameplay that Epsilon had? Just to break down what they weren't doing right, that hopefully going to the next map they will be able to do.
Oh, this round was actually catastrophic. This is one of the rounds that we were actually watching. So the big thing actually was about 20 seconds earlier. Zasty gets a kill in Connector. He refaces, which you can fault him for that if you want, but it's just confidence. He feels like he can get another kill. He damages the person. But JZ Walkings was on short with an AWP, perfect angle for him to get the kill, stop the A-split. He peeks it, sees the guy, he pulls away, runs off. 15 seconds on the clock. He can win the round right there and then, but he's playing poorly, so he's like, I don't want to make any more mistakes.
And I think he actually had like a smoke out as the guy came into view to go up the connector. So that's a kill into someone's back. You pretty much just won the round at that point in time.
Surely it must have been an economy then. Is that what he's thinking? His head got to stay alive?
I think it's more his own personal play.
I think
he doesn't feel
he
confident.
just got scared in that moment.
Like, some people, they'll be playing really poorly and you're thinking, I don't have the confidence in myself to hit a certain shot that I normally would. So you don't bother taking it just in case you do miss it and you'll be like, that's great, I'll just not peek ever again then.
Okay, well, obviously there's a few people in the audience who, it's quite hard to tell who they are supporting. Lottie's with 2 guys. One of them's called Monsieur Crimson, the other one's Nassim Claw, winners from Street Fighter, CSGO Season 2. Who are they supporting today, Lottie?
Oh, do you know what, Tom? I actually haven't got a clue. Let's have a quick look. No idea. Envy boys, how are we doing? How are we? Nassim Claw, legend of Street Fighter 5. I mean, welcome back to your arena. Welcome back. How are you feeling the boys are doing so far on the CSGO final?
I'm doing really good for the team Envyus. They take a really good start. I don't really understand the mechanic of CSGO, but it's really interesting to watch. And I hope the best for my team, for sure.
There you go.
Second title. Final.
Second title for Envy this season, that would be the dream, wouldn't it? Before I speak to you, Mr. Crimson, I'm just going to be a bit cheeky and I'm going to open my Secret Santa present because I haven't done it yet and I'm the last to do it, so bear with me. I'm going to open it.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I love it already.
We'll see. Let's have a quick look.
C'est quoi?
What is
this? Wow. Okay, so I'm going to be smelling very, very nice by the end of this show. I've got some nice body scrubs, skin cream. Whoever got me this, thank you very much. Very thoughtful. I do like my smellies. They're very nice. Very, very nice. Boys, let's get back to the CSGO. I will test those later on. Mr. Crimson, welcome back. Congratulations also for last week. Hail the champions, hail the champions. Now we've got CSGO now. Your team are in the final. You live with these boys as well, don't you, both of you? How is it living with the CSGO boys as well?
Oh, it's really enjoying because I learn a lot. When you play competitively a game, you're always enjoying to see other players, how they practice, how they feel about pressure and things. So I learn a lot, and that's why I'm here to support them.
And obviously you live with them. How are they feeling at the moment? Do you feel like they left feeling confident and were like, yes, we got this in the bag? They look pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty confident, even in the house. They laugh a lot, not here, but in the house, yeah. So almost the same thing, so that's good.
Okay, and are you predicting Envy to win? Are you thinking another title for you guys this season?
Obviously, easy.
Easy peasy. And boys, what are you up to for Christmas? Now you're champions. What are you doing this Christmas?
I have no project for Christmas.
Nothing?
Really not. Alone.
Nassim Claw, alone for Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, that's really sad. Boys?
I can already say that I will I will try. I know. I will offer to my mother a car. Mama, I love you. Kiss.
Oh, très bien. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, boys. It was nice seeing you. Support Envy. They've got this right.
We got it.
We got it. Tom, it's back to you. One
Thank
more.
you. Thank you very much. You heard it first. Mr. Crimson buying his mum a car. Fair play. Didn't know how much they won for Street Fighter, but there you go. Puts it in perspective, doesn't it?
Never said what type of car.
That is very true. That is very
Could be a
true.
mini.
Could be a toy car.
Exactly, yeah.
Gentlemen, we move on to map 3, which is Nuke. Now, Foreign, I've got to ask, what do you need to do to win on the map Nuke?
One thing you have to do is you must have a good CT side, but then another element to that is that it's very difficult if you don't play the map to get any rounds on the T side of this map. Like, it's very standard, the meta of how you play. Therefore, all the teams who like this map, and Envyus is obviously picking it in a best of 5 as the 3rd map, so they've obviously come in prepared. It's going to be real tough for the guys from Epsilon to just free play, just make up a T side. So I feel as though that's the big stressor right there. Like, they've probably got to win the T side pistol round, and then they're just going to actually have to go off individual skill, I think, because they're not going to have any advanced tactics, and the other team's arguably more prepared.
Okay, I mean, but obviously not a popular map in terms of the amount of times
it's actually the least played generally.
And because of that odd anomaly that it is that map, I mean, could that not play to Epsilon's favour? But if you reckon that Envy have, practiced for this map, then it's going to be incredibly difficult for Epsilon.
That's the problem, is that part of the reason why it's the least played map in the entire game right now is because there's only a couple of teams actually like it, and then most people just ban it against them. And actually, it has to be said, oftentimes, even the teams that like it don't pick it. Like, in fact, if you think about the way the veto was in this series, once the veto was done, there's no extra veto. So actually, if Envyus really loved Nuke, they could have put Nuke first, but the fact they didn't even choose to shows that even they're kind of like, we'll put it in the middle somewhere, and that way it probably won't be the series decided. So perhaps we'll have a different game here, but I think this probably actually should have the 3 maps be the most kind of on the rails as you'd expect.
What do you want to see from this map, SEO? What would be the sort of opportunity Epsilon would have to try and take this?
Well, in week 6 we saw Epsilon play Nuke. Obviously this was with Barbar, so it's a bit different now to look at it. But apparently they did actually go over some executes, so hopefully they have at least touched on it a bit. Like, obviously not, well, I feel like they knew they weren't banning Nukes to begin with anyway, so that's, they can just accept that it will probably be picked by Envyus. It's quite easy to assume that, obviously. However, like, I'd expect some kind of, I suppose, puggy plays is the best way to put it. Like, there'll be a lot of reliance on aim, that sort of stuff. It'll be very, possibly a wolf pack sort of mentality. Like, they won't be able to rely on having, a drilled execute outside and focus heavy on that. It'll be, have 4 people go here, have one guy lurk, maybe ramp or through door, that sort of thing.
Well, obviously, Krill, team coach, liked Zaysty's play because he takes those risks. We need to see that from him more so than he was on Mirage, but he needs his backup from the rest of his team, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think in this match, we need to see Zaysty with a strong leader, someone saying exactly what they're going to do. So it's not just him finding a pick, okay, getting a bit aggressive, but they're actually going to play off that because we haven't seen them playing off it at all. So if we can now see, I think it's Jay-Z walking in game leading, I believe. We haven't seen a huge amount of that from him before, so he needs to be headstrong in this. He needs to say, if we're doing this, we're doing it. No one's going off rogue. OK, Zaysty can get the kill, but they have to work as a team on this. It's imperative.
That's the thing, though. Like mentioning Jay-Z being able to control his teammates, he's unable to control himself at the moment. But he's not able to maintain his own gameplay. So to try and make him manage somebody else, it's like, I don't think he's capable of doing it right now.
OK. I mean, a bit obvious to state this, but in my own head, if Epsilon will manage to get this win on this map, could be the turning point for them. That would definitely give them the confidence because it could be that confidence map.
Well, especially because, I mean, first of all, you have the psychological kind of clawing back some of that edge that you've given away because now you've won your opponent's map. Then you get to the 4th map, which in theory is your map. So if you can now win this, actually that's where you put the pressure back on the other team because it's like we blew the 2-0 lead. Meanwhile, you think to yourself, 1 map left to go at that point in time. So you've got to think to yourself, it's possible on this one, don't give up, because if you can get to the 4th one, now you get the chance again to perhaps come back and actually win the title.
Yeah, indeed. Well, listen, gentlemen, I know Lottie is currently up somewhere, I believe with Neo Sky. You up behind me, Lottie?
Yo, dude, I am right behind you. I am with the legend Neo Sky of Team Envy. This really couldn't go any better for you guys right now. Yeah. You are playing top form. CSGO is looking fantastic for you as a team. What do you think of this from a manager perspective, and how are the boys doing in your eyes?
They're doing pretty well, and the scores show it. We're still doing some small mistakes, but it's not the time to correct them. I mean, we have just to play our A game. If we do one, just go to the next realm and win it and do our best. And it has really worked out for the moment. Now we just have to prove that today our biggest opponent is not Epsilon, but it is ourselves. We just have to stay confident, stay focused, and win this.
Of course. And Nuke, are you guys quite confident on this map? Are you feeling like this is one you can have in the bag again?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the map we were the least confident during this best of 5 was Mirage, and it went in our favor. Everyone was on point. So all the maps are just another day at work.
Fantastic. Also, Hadji is looking on fire, I must say, in this one. I'm sure everyone can agree. He's looking fantastic. What has he been doing? He's been practicing super hard. Like, where's this come from?
Yeah, it all comes from confidence. I mean, he's more motivated than ever to just bring the trophy home, and that definitely helps him.
Well, our analyst said earlier as well, this next map, if Epsilon do win this could be quite a critical turning point for them. Their confidence is going to go up. They're going to play a little bit harder. Are the boys prepared for that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to say. Like, our biggest opponent right now is our mentality, because if we lose this one, we'll just be less confident, they get more confident, and we just have to forget about the previous map and just do what we know how to do and win it all.
Well, Neo Sky, it's a match point game, this one. One word answer from you. Are you going to win this map for the final and win this title?
Sure.
Sure. Sure is what he says. Neo Sky, thank you very much for catching up with me. I am going to head over to another iconic CSGO member of our other team, Epsilon. Krille, welcome to the final.
Hello.
I spoke to you earlier on. You were feeling very confident. Yeah. Hasn't quite swung your way at the moment, but it's not over. It's not over yet. Don't worry. Breathe. We're all good. What's been happening? Why hasn't it quite gone the way of Epsilon today?
To be honest, I think we've been too afraid today. I mean, we're talking about all the rounds. We have the reads. We also know when we should push and stuff like that, but we haven't done it. And it's hard to say if it's just because it's final or if it's just a bad day. But we're gonna give everything now last map and feel that we tried our best at least, you know. So.
Do you think, obviously, confidence being a big part of it, but do you think strategy needs to change now? I mean, you've seen Jay-Z Walkins picking up the AWP a lot of the times with the economy going down as well. Is that going to change? Are you guys going to change a few things around that sort of side?
I mean, the economic plays a big part in the game, obviously, and we've been reset a lot. And we're not gonna change the roles or something like that, but we're gonna work more together now, and which we should have done earlier. But it's hard to say right now. Nuke has been good in practice, like the other maps, but now we're just gonna give everything and see if it works.
You're going to give 110%. Because you guys got this. You can turn this around. You do realize that it's still happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we win this map, we have 2 good maps that we are really, really good on. So this map is obviously the key, and I know they're going to get stressed if they lose this map. So we have to do everything to win this map. If we,
Yeah, you got this. Get the heads up, and you can do the rest. CSGO, easy.
Yeah, it's CSGO. Everything can happen. So
fantastic. Thank you so much, Krill. Good luck for this next one. Thomas, back down to you.
Thank you very much. You're just up there. I'm here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, you've heard from Krill and Neo Sky. First of all, I want to pick up from what Neo Sky said. Small mistakes. What mistakes are they making? How can Epsilon capitalize on those mistakes?
Didn't win 16-0.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's what we'd like to see. If we'd like to see this final continue. I know, Harold, you keep picking up on that, but I'd like to see a bit more of a contest. I'd like Epsilon to at least give us a representation of what they're capable of.
I mean, we'd all like lots of things, you know. You'd like to have made it in comedy, you know, but here you are on the Elite Series.
Yeah. No, I would have liked to it more than I had done, you know.
Yes, yes.
But you know,
it's not going to be in Cardiff in a few weeks, so tickets available.
Yeah, January. Yeah. You're going to come along? No.
Not really my sort of show, mate. You know.
No, of course. Yeah, it is good comedy. Listen, the thing is, Lauren,
I'm sure it's great. You know, I'm not available.
It's fine. I want to ask about Cash. If they manage to do this and win on you, we move on to Cash. Now, who does that favour in terms of the map?
I mean, I think that should shift it back to Epsilon. But then again, though, you have to add in the caveat that we thought this on Mirage, we thought for the final in general. You have to say at the moment, as much as it sounds like a cliche, Epsilon hasn't turned up on the day. This isn't the team that you saw in the regular season or against Endpoint, you know. Obviously, I mean, a factor of that you have to add in, even though he did play well, was Zasty is a brand new addition to the team. So that's always a big risk when you bring someone in. Sometimes you get the honeymoon phase, and then after the honeymoon, we all know what happens.
Indeed, yeah. The mini-moon or...
Divorce.
Divorce.
Well, it's not usually straight to divorce, but there's the rocky times afterwards, you know, the tough times.
At least send the thank yous.
At the moment, they're sleeping on the couch, you know.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Just having to walk the dog
that was
every
a
day.
gift from the in-laws, so it was a nice sofa. Listen, hopefully Epsilon aren't too afraid, like Krill said, and I'll make sure the VIP tickets so you can bring someone else along. Okay. Or just, I'll put one. It's fine. Here's a time to pass over to the casters, Jackie and Snods. Gentlemen, how are you seeing this one go?
I think this one will actually just be it done and dusted. I think it's just going to be closed out here. I don't think Envyus can mess up.
It's all over.
That's pretty obvious, clean and cut. Yeah, essentially, we said it was Mirage was going to be the map for Epsilon if they're going to pick up one. And obviously, full shot 16-9. Going into a map like Nuke, they said it's done well in practice. Will it deliver on the stage?
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a bit of a spicy one, potentially, as the final map here. Nuke, obviously... very, very much stacked in favour of Envyus. They've proved that in the past. They've shown they know what they're doing here, whereas more so for Epsilon, it is going to be a bit of a... I feel like they're just going to have to play out more so as a mix. I mean, we know they have a little bit of work done on it, but even then, it wasn't too much. Even when Barbar was in the lineup, that was very quickly rushed in as, you know, Nuke snuck in through the veto back then. They had to try and adapt quickly to deal with that.
Yep.
They probably haven't really relived it because it isn't something they play really actively in their map pool. I don't think they've got too much going into this. I feel like they're just going to be smashing their heads together and just seeing what sticks.
I mean, you saw as well, just from the body language and how you saw Krille basically respond to Lottie there. If the coach reflects the mood in the team, then it's not looking too elated, to say the least, right? You can see the stress on their faces. They know they had to win Mirage. They know they had to force into Cash and into Cobblestone if they want a chance at really taking it against the Frenchman. But unfortunately, they've found their fate now on Nuke, and this is a map where Envyus' style on the T side, the slow, methodical, take control of the map-esque that they like to play, is very, very well constructed for. And the problem is for Epsilon going forward, we see this a lot when we're casting UK teams on Nuke, right? What happens when the set outside smokes don't work in your favor? Is there firepower to back it off? What happens in the mid-round? Are we going to see more of executions towards upper, towards the B-bomb site if they can take control of, obviously, ramp or towards the secret stairs? But I guess time will tell.
Yeah, it's true. When we get into it, though, it definitely needs to be a huge showing from Epsilon if they are going to be able to hold on. I think that was also, you know, another thing they kind of highlighted towards when they were like, look, we're going to try and show whatever we can in potentially what is the last map. We're going to put everything into it. But I feel like even themselves, they feel like they definitely have the odds stacked against them. I don't think they're going into this with very much energy behind them.
Well, the confidence they really have is built off of the fact that Nuke's been a good map in practice, but obviously practice compared to £110,000 on the line final is very, very different. And we've already seen the difference from the coach. He said, we know when to push, we know how to play, but it's not happening. Even said himself, asking the question of, is it because we're in a final? And now they have nothing to lose. Are we going to see finally the, you know, essential nothing to lose game plan where you play aggressive, you play with confidence, because after this map, it's all over?
Well, let's see if that is going to work out for them as we dive into the action. Epsilon will be starting off on that CT side. An aggressive burst from Envy on their T side as they try and take ramp control. Kevzy with the opener takes down Pediskel and immediately puts a stop to the rush.
Man advantage here, but the B rush will continue as they make their march down towards ramp, as Kevzy will be dinked up and forced away from the angle. Molotov comes out towards Vent as well. So now Envyus could commit towards B, but with that dink and denying the information of the reface coming from Kevzy, they can just waltz back towards A from lobby.
Going the whole way around, going to try and work together here and see if they can actually find the entries. Jay-Z up top. Going to be waiting for the correct timing and ready for the push to come through. They actually swarm below him, though. You can see not really sure where to focus towards. Everything's being pushed, goes down. Haji connects that shot. There's 3 players alive on the side of Epsilon and 4 up on Envy. They've secured site control. The retake is coming back through. Zinken going to be going for the elevated angle. You can see how low Kevzy is, though. Zasty as well. He's taken a bit of a blow. The first man will go down as V-Kill pops the head of Zinken. Jack follows through onto Kevzy, and it's all up to Zasty being spammed from every possible position. And he falls short, drops down, and the opening pistol round goes the way of Envy.
Once again, the composure showing on the surface there from Envyus. They didn't overcommit commit towards the B-bomb site, even though they had it in their grasp, essentially. They get the dink onto Kevzy. They know that he's low. They know they won't reface. The Molotov comes out towards Ven. They know they can plant towards B, play the after plant towards ramp, towards long or short by the double doors. But a great mid-round call coming out from Lambert to transition back up towards lobby, go in towards the A site, attack that site, and catch it while it's off guard. And they win the after plant as well. 1-0 now as Envyus will carry on their fall for the prior 2 maps, as it will be the force by coming out from Epsilon. And a 5-man force by once again, Jack. We know how strong the AWP is on Nuke on CT side especially. And if Jay-Z's lacking that towards outside, what resistance are they going to have when the outside smokes come out, when we see Envyus going on rafters, on top of the silo, and they take those long-range duels?
Oh, exactly. It's going to be so hard for them. The adaptability that they're going to lose because of having to force up into this round. They're just not going to have the cash to sustain a very effective buy against what Envy can throw at them. Looks like they are going to be going for the classic outside control play as well, to be able to push their way through. There is a bit of a setup, but it's not really going to be too effective. Obviously, they're just going to have to play and wait for them to come down secret and defend towards this B site. They've essentially conceded all outside control.
They have indeed MAC-10s up close range as well, the UMP to VKL, the AK for Jax, as they make their march down towards secret stairs as Eric gets spotted out.
This is the setup to try and deal with it, though. Eric going to try and attempt to bait them in. He does have support. Both of them forced back because of the Molotov. Jax with the initial entry. Zasty gets one, tries to pick up the second, but he does not quite do it, leaving it in a 3-on-4. They're aware of their location. They know what the T's are up to, but actually countering them is going to be an incredibly hard task.
It is indeed, but it's made much easier with the lurk from VKL. Can now come down via vent and clear out these angles for his team, as this is going to be Eric close range with the CZ. Finds that one frag, a 3 versus 2.
Oh, it's the backstab from Eric. Grabs himself the UMP as well. Can they try and find any more frags? Eric is so low. If it just comes down to Jay-Z, it might be a little bit too hard of a task. They're redirecting their attack as well, going up towards A, getting the bomb planted and falling back into these post plants. So it's now going to be quite hard for Epsilon to actually find success in the round. Lambert as well, still taking the fight towards Jay-Z. So much confidence here as Jay-Z can't quite actually find the frag. Not able to find himself into a good position. Haji dives through, gets punished, and it all comes down to Pettiscale. If both of them funnel through together, this should be Pettiscale just making them all crumble away. So easy for him to find these frags off the MAC-10. The second round will go their way, but it's tight. It was by no means easy. Only one player surviving on that T side.
Money unable now to really blossom for Envyus. Going into the next round as well versus the full eco now. There's going to be no CZs backed up by Kevlar. They have to have a clean round with these SMGs. Push, find the frags with the submachine guns, stack up the $600 a piece frags, and also have 4 or 5 staying alive. So if they want to, going into the first round, they can carry forward the SMGs to keep their money afloat. Or, conversely, obviously staying alive, you save yourself the $1,000 investment into Kevlar and head armor, and you also save yourself all the abundance of money that's used to invest into the utility as well. So you really save yourself a lot of cash going forward if you can have clean cut rounds where you don't lose players early on versus the Pistols.
Well, headed back to ramp once again into this one. The smoke will come through. Lambert just going to really start to kick it off, being quite loud towards the ramp portion of the map, planting those seeds out in the mind of the Epsilon players. They are heavy stacked on this A site as well, putting a lot of focus towards this initial push if they do go through hut.
Zasty with the HE grenade playing towards outside. As he's going to try and connect that one with a headshot as well with the USP, but eventually will be taken down before he can deploy his grenade. And now Lambert's so confused as to where Kevzy was, playing the tight angle there behind the AC unit. And Zinkin chimes in as well. Suddenly a 3 versus 2.
Well, Zinkin keeps it going, Snods. He actually got his second of the round there. He's still alive as well. Pettiscale is on the bomb site, and he's trying to cause an absolute scene now as he finds the initial frag, takes down Kevzy. They have the bomb to work with and utility. They can smoke off and try and hold these angles on the lines of sight are blocked off for the Epsilon players. Zinkin, and that recovered weapon. Can he actually do enough damage to find the early entry? Switches out to an even better firearm as he finds the AK just lying on the ground. Oh, good spam coming through. Pettiscale getting tagged up. It's going to make him so much easier to take him down here into the late round as the flashbang comes through. Pettiscale wants to attempt to go for the play. Zinkin still just peeking between left and right. Realizes that time is ticking away and it might be worth just backing off and saving this AK.
Definitely a much better investment just to salvage the AK into the next round. Save yourself $3,100 to invest into next round, which means you can go for an AWP drop potentially. He has 2.5k. So once the round is done and dusted, he will have about 5,000, I believe. Yeah, 5,000 the dot. So unfortunately, he can't drop over the AWP and buy Kevlar himself. But he can drop over an M4 or go for a glass cannon AWP if he wants to himself, but can't really drop it over to Zinken. You know, an AWP, no Kevlar, great. An AK or an M4, lacking Kevlar, not quite so effective. So most likely it's going to be seeing 5 M4 buys. But then again, Epsilon made the decision prior by going for the 5-man force buy, so they're going to be ready for the rifle setup. And it will be the 2 SMGs carrying forward into the first bar, and the MAC-10 and SMG make their mark already towards door.
Oh, they're just bursting out, going for the initial strike on the A side, but it's not worked out the way they wanted it to. 2 frags immediately go in favor of Epsilon. There is a response, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. So much damage done. A very fast defense there as Epsilon hold down A.
Envyus Academy trying to make work with the SMGs. Cool for a fast round. And send those submachine guns in early. The problem is, though, Lambert had the best spawn, which meant Lambert is first with the AK. Ideally, you'd have the MAC-10 first, so that you can trade the frag off of the MAC-10 and have a 4 versus 4 where your rifles are alive. But as you saw there, it's very hard to trade towards Heaven, towards Mustang, with a MAC-10 when your teammate in front of you dies with the rifle. So the rush doesn't quite go their way. Instead, they're going to be falling back onto the staple of Nuke T side, smokes towards outside to get things started off already.
It's going to be so much easier for them as well. They can use the rifle advantage, just push through, try and use that range, and take those firefights if necessary. Jay-Z as well, spotting towards the smoke, but doesn't really get too much of an idea of what's occurring. They've got down Secret. They've now slipped in towards the B-bomb side.
Flashes come in as well to try to deny any faces coming out from Epsilon. As Jax finds the first towards vent, Kevzy's taken out the equation. And a 5 versus 4 with 2 MAC-10s into play, so Epsilon still have the firepower advantage, backing up the utility as well. They have defuse, gets Molotovs to try and flush out the players on Envyus, and they have the extra 5 seconds to defuse. But Zace is still towards the A site. VKL is going to heal him and diminish him. 5 versus 3 now, starting to dwindle away now for Epsilon.
Yeah, just 3 players remaining, not really in a great position to actually try and work together or go for this round, really. Both of them just attempting to exit from ramp. At this point, it's more so about just saving those weapons and actually having a stable buy on the side of Epsilon.
And there you have it. Epsilon forced to save. They win their 1 round. The reset looming over them as they will try and scavenge the weaponry going forward. You can see as well Lambert able to trade out the MAC-10, or the UMP, sorry, for an AK as well, so their money's going to get even better. Zinken does telegraph his position, misses the spray initially, but will connect it secondly, goes for the reflex. Unfortunately, Jax will find him, so 1 player taken down. So only 2 players survive even. So we could be seeing 2 drops coming out from UMPs potentially. The problem is now, Jack, their round loss bonus has been reset back down to 1,400, so the money will be bare. And the buy that self will be bare bones as well.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, you need utility on your CT side nukes. The Molotov at the start of the round, when you see the outside smokes happen, you can molly outside secret stairs, you know you're delaying the push. It allows for your teammates to rotate with those 6 seconds. We're not seeing anything really constructive come out from Epsilon.
A bit more aggressive towards their outside control though. Actually pushing quite deep down, Jay-Z just playing towards T-Red. Maybe he can try and find a bit of a surprise frag. They are holding the angle, expecting something like this to go down. They might actually be ready for it with the timing.
Oh,
nice
they're ready for it.
usage, yeah. They've got a smart read on this.
Yeah, wary that someone's crossed towards red. The face will come out. Pedestal spots the Jay-Z walking, playing towards red box. Jax will diminish Stacey, leaving just Jay-Z alone now towards red, trying to go for a panic spray through the smoke and hope that he can gamble a shot through it.
Doesn't work out at all, those Snods. They've crumbled away. 2 of them already down and out into this. And the T's are still looking for more. Kevzy, he's forced to try and back off, play from lockers and peer through, spots out Pediskel. Is given the opportunity to actually connect the spam on him as well. Ready for more as he re-peeks and attempts to re-aggress, but Jax was just a little bit too much to deal with.
4 versus 2. Molotov flashbang. And a defuse get for Eric as he will find Jax. Makes it into a 3 versus 2, and suddenly the odds are far fairer as Hadji is low as well. As he's holding for the rotation from Eric, if he does decide to come under Heaven and try and peek towards outside, potentially go back towards ramp. You can see right now how exposed the B-bomb site is currently for Epsilon.
Zinken. It's got a bit of a marathon to run as well. He's going to be heading over towards that B-bomb site. 10 seconds left on the clock as they try and make their way down. I mean, technically, if he was able to find a player and stop the bomb, there would have been a potential chance, but they weren't going to A. He wasn't really given that opportunity.
Rock, paper, scissors essentially has to take the gamble as if it was to A or B. Made the wrong decision, and now in a 1 versus 3, Heaven will be covered, and now he knows it. May have to go save her as well initially, as there's basically 0 chance here as he's lacking the kit. Then again, you know, Eric did drop the kit towards Heaven. He could try retrieve that, that's why I went back towards Heaven. The problem is now Molotov out as well, and then she'll be taken down by Hadji. No one survives and no one saves their weaponry going forward for Epsilon as it goes 5-1.
Looking like they're starting to get outclassed again in a lot of these rounds. Envy definitely awaken, alert about what they need to be doing, working together very well as a polished unit, really, as a team, whereas Epsilon, it's still just moments of individual brilliance that are the difference maker, but they're not able to keep it together consistently.
So, 1-5 in the scoreline now as we go into round number 7. The money obviously being reset. It was 1-4. They get their money reset, losing after claiming their first victory. Round loss bonus back to 1,400. You lose the force spike. You're forced then onto an eco. It's really not looking good to start things off with Epsilon, and even Duncan's on the desk as well. The key to victory for Epsilon is a lot of CT rounds, because trying to go for the freestyle on their T rounds where there's no bar here to call, it's Jay-Z Walkings instead. Are they going to have the executions like we've already seen from Envyus? Are they going to have the outside smokes down to a TU perfected? Probably. But then again, to work off of that, the tactical depth, the structured depth as well, isn't going to be there on their T side. They have to, from here, get a 9-6, win all the remaining rounds if you want to see them pushing it to a 4th map.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit restricted. Obviously on this one as well, the EK, you don't really have too much faith in them. They're not able to do anything at all at this point. It's just Zinken and Jay-Z remaining, still just armed with those USPs, looking for any small opportunities that may present themselves, but it seems like this will just be Envy taking a very clean round if they get through it with all 5 players remaining.
Clean, as you said, 5 players staying alive. No one needed to be dropped as well going forward. This is great for the money heading into the next round. So what's the utility going to be like as well for the likes of Epsilon? We've already seen JC walk in, bring out the AWP, but they're lacking the Molotovs and whatnot to deny the pushes. One of the biggest issues is when the outside smokes happen, if you can Molotov out towards secret stairs and deny the push for 6 more seconds, you know, we saw Kevzy rotate in towards vent, but it was too late. If they can buy time with grenades, counter flashes, counter Molotovs, do something to buy 6 seconds or so extra to allow the rotations from the CTs to get into good positions, there's a much higher chance of the round going in favor of the CT side, and here it is. Jay-Z walking towards heaven, trying to peer over this smoke, and then Kevzy playing in towards secret stairs, but already he's faced and died, Jack!
Oh, there is a response though. Jay-Z is able to connect that shot through the smoke. That's lucky as well. Takes down Hadji. It's quite a big impact frag that could come back to slow down Envy. If Epsilon can get a little bit more, if they can add to this.
4 versus 4. Spreading the CT defense thin now, as it will be Jay-Z Walkings playing towards ramp. Zinken as well, I believe, towards heaven on the railing, maybe towards Mustang. But this maybe does free up Lambert, and I believe it does. Zinken, unwary to the push coming in towards heaven, will be found eventually. And this opens up the A site completely. The other 2 players are rotated down towards the B bomb site via then. Jay-Z towards ramp is too late, as the site is going to be in control now of Envyus, and this really doesn't go home well for Epsilon.
Oh, no. So easy for them now as well. No real chance of a retake into this round. You Molotov off vent on the entry as well, get the free bomb plant. Everyone can now play from these very powerful post plants, and Epsilon will need to save once more.
We need to see a pause here, Jack. Something to try and slow down the pace of Envyus, because it seems like every single call, bar the obviously outside the upper rush we saw in the first round where Lambert was first, and obviously they got completely demolished. Bar that one call, everything else has been called down to a T perfectly. They're going down secret stairs, they're getting the frag onto Kevzy, they're getting the frag onto the first player down towards the B bomb site. Suddenly an over-rotation from Epsilon as they panic and they rotate down towards B. This then frees up heaven. We see the flank come in, Zinken's caught off guard, and it all falls down one by one, systematically essentially, where Epsilon panic, they over-rotate towards B, and they leave heaven open, and it was exploited as the A site was taken fairly convincingly.
Yeah, that CT side as well. This was the lifeblood of them actually being able to find success here. They needed to do more, and it's just not happening. It seems like it is just quite lackluster, obviously not being able to adapt enough to really deal with this. That outside control has just been catching them off guard so many times, even when they did switch it up a little bit and send Jay-Z out. All he did was find one frag when it was already too late. Secret control had been taken.
Krille now, what more can he have of an impact with the 30 seconds he has as well? I mean, 30 seconds, that's all. You can't really impose your whole input, essentially, with 30 seconds. I mean, you can call a setup, you can try fix things, but obviously prior, if you remember, Jack, it was the 1-2 minute pause. When you have 2 minutes to discuss, you know, there's a vast array of things you can talk about. You can have a moment of silence as well to maybe try and recalibrate yourselves, because frustration is going to be high right now.
Yeah.
Maybe the one thing that Epsilon need is just to be silent and refocus back on the game instead of maybe blaming each other, getting angry, getting frustrated, and maybe letting it all out.
Now then, will it continue in this manner? Envy, 7 rounds already achieved. Epsilon only been able to find one, an incredibly weak buy as well. All over the shop as you've got 3 CZs coming through. So one of the P250s on JZ, the rest of them going to be using rifles. They try and deal some damage with them in close range positions. They find success. Zinken with 1. If he would have got the second, it could have been so much better, but he just wasn't able to do so through the wall as well. BKL just ripping down doors and taking names as Kebsy will be sent off. It's on Eric and Zasty now in a 2 versus 3. A-site control very heavily in favor of Envy.
Epsilon now, they can maybe go for this one. They will have the maximum round loss bonus, so they can afford a buy after this one, even if they lose both of these rifles. One of them they shall lose already. Eric now in the 1 versus 2, low HP. Has the defuse kit, flashbang, smoke as well to try shroud off their vision. Let's see as he goes for the face, will eventually be taken down by Jax. 1-8, 7-round deficit now for Epsilon going forward. They will be going to a buy into this round as well, I believe, as that was the Quasi, and they will have the maximum round loss bonus. But Jack, we need to see this T side from Envyus Academy answered quickly, otherwise this could be a double-digit half at the bare minimum.
Yeah, they need to switch things up immediately off the back of that pause. Obviously, coming into what they spoke about, we need to see some visual representation of that now. Now you actually have a healthy, consistent buyout across the board. You've got 2 kits, probably, you know, somewhat of the better amount of utility we've seen really from their CT side, and a double up setup on Zasty and JZ. This could be the game changer.
Smokes towards outside. They will be leaving Lambert alone. And with this play, walking through the ramp smoke, knowing that Eric's going for the reload, he gets spotted out.
Oh, Eric. He's trying to make it work. A few early tags. He's being heavily pushed here as well, though. The response is coming in thick and fast from the side of Envy. They do lose a man. JZ takes down Lambert, as that's going to be one of those AWPs at least paying itself off.
Kevsy walking through the Molotov towards ramp, meters onto low HP. Pushes for information, I imagine. But unfortunately gets taken down, sends us into a 4 versus 4. JZ's low.
Talking about being low, everyone on that side of Epsilon has been taking hits. They're going down as well. Payscale, the double play towards B. Zasty has the AWP out, scoping in, walking around, hoping that there's just going to be someone waiting on the other side when he attempts to go for this play, listening out and clearing the angles. Oh. Too slow there. Hadji doesn't miss a trick.
Does it indeed. And like a magician, makes him disappear. Round number 10 has concluded with a 1-9 advantage. As we go into round number 11 now, this is going to be another weak buy here, Jack. A quasi buy. They have the max round loss bonus, but it's going to be CZ's Kevlar, maybe a group push towards ramp, a group push towards Hut, or something along those lines. They can maybe go for a lobby crunch from door, and of course Hut itself. The biggest problem here is, as I said before and alluded to, it's going to be another quasi buy, another weak buy. This is shaping up to be a double digits already half for Envyus, 10-1 if they win now versus the weakened buy of Epsilon.
Oh, talk about being weakened as well. These nades should be transferring a fair bit of damage, but they really struggle. They fall short on the aggressive nade take towards outside. Hadji going to just mow them down every opportunity he's given. And Epsilon, I mean, at least it was some kind of initiative on their CT half, obviously going for a classic nade outside strat like that, but still does not work favorably for them.
Yeah, Zinken now last alive with the UMP. No Kevlar as well, so one shot from these AKs will send his crosshair soaring. And obviously will impact the aim punch. And look at the read there, they know exactly where he is. As they do stampede down towards secret stairs, but here's Zinken.
Oh, going to be pushing around Zinken. At least getting the audio cues. Can go through the vent as well with the timing. Going to shut it for the meantime and go for the stealthy play instead.
Almost disrespectful from Envyus, just shutting him, basically closing the door on him every single opportunity. As now it seems he will go for the peek towards vent, as VKL is close. But nevertheless though, Jack, it's going to go 1-10.
Yeah, this will be that round picked up no matter what happens essentially at this point. Zinken as well, no armor, obviously no utility, just a UMP as he cowers in the vents.
If he finds the frag, then obviously $600 per frag with the SMG would be monumental. It's an extra Molotov, could be more cash for a double up setup as well, and it would be, because it would send him over $2,000. But he doesn't quite get that frag. And it will be a 9-round deficit now for Epsilon on their CT side. Going forward, and yeah, you can see the the body language and just how Epsilon look, they're stressed out and they understand that. How their CT half is really shaped up here, it doesn't bode well for when they flip over onto the T side where Jay-Z Walking is going to have to be calling a stellar half, to say the least.
Oh, there's going to need to be a lot of crazy things coming out on that T side if they expect to really be able to find enough rounds.
So, 1 to 10, round number 12 is going to be the play towards... Ooh, that was quite smooth, actually. Showing off his movement there, as he will go for the fast face towards red. And here comes the peak now from Envyus Academy. Flashbang comes up, but unfortunately doesn't quite connect with the AWP from Jay-Z Walking. So he finds one, goes to the second as well, spots the tip of the head.
This is the game changer now. Jay-Z allowed to just unleash upon them. Goes for the no-scope, wanted to get another frag, isn't able to find it. It's a 2-on-4. They're outnumbered as they do go for this play towards ramp. Eric is alert and ready as he now finds out what is occurring. Obviously slow start from Envy. They're separated as well. They can't really work together. This could be a CT round, but Kevzy going to project where he's landing as his shadow was spotted by VKL.
It all comes down now to Zasty as well with the AWP. And no Kevlar. 2 versus 3, Lambert and VKL, they're going to be grouping up together. With 50 seconds left, the problem is they lack outside control. As soon as Zasty peeks towards outside and spots no one, it basically telegraphs they're either grouped up towards A or towards the B bomb site.
Zasty with the AWP. Focusing in on this angle.
Is he outside door?
He's playing very
There's no Kevlar as well, Jack.
Yeah, just close towards Squeaky. As soon as they open this door, I mean, they should be able to finish him off in a matter of seconds. They're going to push through. They don't quite detect it. It's a bit of a struggle. VKL goes down, Lambert with a response, but instead his body gets shot straight down vent. Zinken finds that frag. A weird confrontation.
Weird indeed, but a round is a round at this point, and for Epsilon, they need every single one they can try and gather, as it will be now 10 to 2, an 8-round advantage nevertheless, though, for the French side going forward, as the first half still hasn't even concluded yet, and it's double digits for the T side of Lambert. So now what do you call? You've seen double up setup, you've seen what Epsilon have really changed here, playing aggressive towards outside. Do you up the tempo towards ramp, knowing that the rotations will be longer? Do you try go for heavy presence towards the upper bomb site, expecting Jay-Z Walkings to try and run amok again towards outside, try and exploit your op towards the upper bomb site, that is A. But it seems like Jay-Z Walkings actually shifted towards this ramp position as he goes and pushes.
Trying to take a lot of map control here on the side of Epsilon. You can see they've gone in quite deep. Jay-Z, very, very up close and personal. Also had support, so good work from gaining these early bits of map control and being able to get a read on what exactly Envy are up to. There's the burst from Zasty. He's going to be able to find the initial frag. Pettyskill wants to trade it back, but he's dinked down so low off that first face. Surely he should go down now as he's toying with him. Eventually he gets the frag. Jax as well took down Zinken, but it's a 2 versus 3.
2 versus 3 indeed, and Pettyskill's low HP as well, just to add insult to injury. 50 seconds left. Smoke comes out towards A main, and shoots his own teammates and kills him. But the A side's been given up for free here as Jay-Z Walking open towards heaven. Can't really afford to go for the face because if he gives his life and it becomes a 2 versus 2, suddenly there's so much more of a chance here for Team Envyus, as the Molotov will allow the plant to come to fruition.
Yeah, that late round utility is so useful, especially when Pettyskill's able to find that entry. The nade rolling through though will actually blow him out. And leave it all on Jax in a 1v2, trying to play on the angle. Take the 1v1s, gets the first. Can he find Jay-Z? Lands the tag. Wants to convert into the frag. The wild spray, but it doesn't pay off. The side on for Jay-Z will take him down. Jay-Z will get it.
Close to say the least there. Running out of bullets. Jax would have thought he had it in that scenario. Whips out the pistol and goes for the full face. And is granted with round number 3. Jax, though, you can see, unfazed, they have a massive advantage. They know they've already done far more than they needed to on their T-half. Even an 8-7 Jack would have been good. Already having 10 rounds as a bare minimum, they can't really be asking for much more than that.
They're still going to be happy with this T-side display, but obviously any more rounds they can find will favour them even more as they then find themselves situated on that CT side. Lambert with the early aggression, going to nade the door off, see if he can spot anyone with the AWP as he focuses in. Zasty just going to go for the resmoke. Ooh.
Nearly connected through the smoke, but Zasty is still alive and kicking as he will headbutt that grenade and send it down to 42 points of health. As Envyus now up towards Silo, so they can actually line up their smokes and execution now towards the B bomb site. Is this a boost to peek in towards heaven, maybe? What on earth is this?
Oh. Lambert gonna
oh my god.
This is cheeky, Snods.
This is a bit more than cheeky, mate.
No success to be found with it just yet.
Thing is, as well, this is one of the advantages you can have of not playing versus Reason. They didn't have to bring this out. VKL finds the first frag. Lambert will rattle off the shot, trying to see if he can wall bang someone if they're playing on top of the rafters. But unfortunately, they're not. There will be a 5 versus 4 now, 40 seconds left. The problem is when you invest so much time into a boost like that, that knocks time off the clock in gaining control of the map. And now the smoke's coming towards outside. And so 30 seconds left, it's going to be rush hour towards A.
Will Epsilon be caught off, though, by this late round play? Will they be able to find the key impact frags they need to slow it down now and put a stop to it? And work with that timing in their favour. Zinken waiting for the push to come towards him right now as well. Is forced to back off. Jax is going to be able to bypass them. They all get across. They're finding the entries. VK and Pexgale just unleashed damage against them. This is ridiculous. They're all just dying still. It's a matter of seconds.
I imagine they're the same reaction as you there.
Everyone just died. Yeah. It's just on Jay-Z, forced to save. And Envy have just somehow came back into it.
Left us speechless. 11-3 essentially as we go into the final round there. VKL finds the first, they're holding the default, they push in towards lobby. Fair enough, you find the first kill off of the default from the aggression. But there, 18 seconds left and grenades could have been a factor in that one. A flashbang to delay them, a smoke that we had to run through, 18 seconds left. The smoke could have lasted the whole of the rest of the round. Something to slow down the pace for Envyus. A Molotov would have been a finisher.
Very, very odd. Just finding those frags on the drive-by. Essentially, everyone just pushing in to try and take down that AWP, stop Jay-Z from having it as they work their way through. 11 rounds now at a minimum they've achieved on their T side.
What gets worse as well is the fact that AWP isn't saved. What weaponry is Epsilon going to have into this next round? As I believe it is a pause coming out, as they can try and decipher the issues that they've had rise to the surface. For Epsilon, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You hold a default, or you hold, sorry. Yes, you lose the first player, but Envyus, almost Na'Vi-esque, go for a 30 seconds left execution from T-spawn before they've even got control towards outside, before they've got control towards anywhere, essentially. And with that, they still find success. I mean, he left you speechless. It leaves me speechless as well. What do you change if you are Epsilon? You've had every advantage given to you. First entries, you had the round where it was a 5 versus 3 you conceded. You've now had the round where there was 18 seconds left on the clock and they're coming in towards the site and you don't use your utility. You don't find one frag. It doesn't really get much better than that, Jack, and I think this might be it for Epsilon.
Yeah, I think that kind of was sort of the deciding blow, really. If you're unable to find success in a round like that, with it just happening so quickly, with all of just the frags going in the favor of Envyus in a matter of seconds, it's not going to look too well for you. It seems like it is going to be another 12-3 half, again, in favor of Envy.
Unless these shotguns and CZs and pistols alike can try and silence us. Let's see if they can silence the critics, as it will be the AWP coming up from Lambert. Goes for the early phase, obviously, towards ramp. See if he can get that first frag, hoping that someone's frustrated from Epsilon. Maybe over-peaking, sorry, and over-facing. So you can see as well, Zinken and Eric working their way towards the lower steps. I believe that is. Obviously, Nuke, the radar, isn't quite the most accurate sometimes. But they have presence towards secret stairs and a good crossfire as well. But obviously, time will tell where Envyus eventually do end up. Molotov comes out towards ramp as they try to mimic ramp control. But they're going to be grouping back still in towards lobby. There's a minute 5 seconds left on the clock, and so far for Epsilon, they have forward ground, forward positioning, a great setup towards secret stairs as well. Is it enough?
Well, smoke's going to be going out towards outside. Instead, the ramp push is coming through. Jack's just gliding through the air. Lambert with the initial kill as Zasty goes down. They've got ramp control as well. They can swarm in. B's looking pretty bare bones. It's quite open for the attack.
They do have a defuse kit for the retake, though. But as you said before, a bare B site, which is a very hard site to retake as well, let alone having the CZs. So many off angles you can play. You can work with the doors, the double doors, the decon doors, the toxic doors as well in the new room. There's so many different avenues you can work with and so many different little play things in your playbook.
More and more kills coming through as well. Obviously, Epsilon just taking this hit. They know the way it's supposed to go. The last man left standing is going to be Kebsy for a short while. Finds the kill on Lambert, switches round, ready for Haji, but he's just being swarmed. Eventually goes down as he just couldn't deal with it. Envy just crushing their way through, racking up a tremendous scoreline at the half.
12 to 3. 3 even. We saw, if you remember, the Prophecy versus Envyus Academy semi-final, Jack, when Envyus Academy were 14-5 up, and they lost 16 rounds in a row to lose in overtime.
Yeah.
Are we going to be seeing the same sort of madness? Hopefully not. Obviously, the thing that NeoSky said there, which is very true actually, is Envyus Academy at the moment are their worst enemy, in a sense of, we saw in the Prophecy game, they were 14-5 up, the game's as good as done, they got sloppy, they got a bit overzealous, they got very confident, and it gave up too much space and ground for Prophecy. They can't make that same mistake again. You live and you learn, and they've definitely learned from that very, very heartbreaking mistake from Season 1. And into Season 2, they're trying to get the vengeance and the redemption of what happened versus Prophecy in the semi-finals of Season 1. And into Season 2, you can see they're definitely back with a vengeance.
Yeah, it's been looking a whole lot better. Obviously, going into it as well, I had said I wasn't really too sure how well they'd play. We didn't see them in that semi-final. It seemed like everyone had been struggling a little bit. But all the key points that they need to show up have been looking fantastic for them. Obviously, Lambert has been able to utilize the squad very well. They won sort of essentially in terms of the veto and getting themselves aligned with some fantastic maps that play to their strength, especially the way it's gone with them getting the first 2 in their fashion. And now it's just depends if they can live up to the hype with the aggression coming through. Hadji gets the first. There is a response from Zinken. Lambert going to do some damage. Lambert with his second of the round. Jax with the final frag. And Envy picked that one up in such a quick time.
We may have a new Counter-Strike champion here in the Elite Series, Jack. It was Epsilon Season 1. And right now, Envyus Academy off of the back of the 12-3 half. They get the second half pistol as well. They may be moments away from lifting the trophy, as it's going to be the force by coming out from Epsilon. But they're in a 10-round deficit going forward. To even force overtime, they need 12 wins here, and all they have to try and conjure that up together is 2 Deagles, 2 CZs, and a P250.
Yeah, this is not going to be good. Trying to force up around it and see if they can actually get any entries off the back of those upgraded weapons. Lambert waiting for the push to come his way. If they do extend outside, he's got a scout, and he wants to try and punish everyone in front of him. Lands attacks, a couple of frags can be coming through as VKL peeks wire with the UMP as well, dealing some nice damage. Hadji up close and personal here. Might be pushed from the sideline. Squeaky door has been opened. But they don't actually reface towards it. Everyone looking quite scared now. Only 3 players alive on the side of Epsilon.
Eric outside towards secret stairs, holding for the re-aggression from Envyus if they wanted to sniff out some information. You then got the 2 other players, Zasty and JZ Walkings, lurking towards Hup, lurking towards Radio Room as they're trying to find and work out a few picks or 2. But unfortunately, Hadji says no. Finds the 3rd frag here for Epsilon into this round. Sorry, for Envyus into this round, as it's going to be 50 seconds left. Eric is managing to flank and lurk towards outside. Issue is here though, Jack. If he finds 1 frag, is it enough?
It's true. What can he actually achieve? Can he get anything that'll hurt the CTs enough into the late round? Does damage, takes down VKL, switches out to that UMP as well, but the bomb is just so far away. Time is of the essence, and he can't actually get there. He's going to be warded off as Hadji will take the fight and win it.
14-3. 2 more rounds now for Envyus Academy to lift the Season 2 Counter-Strike trophy. And for Epsilon, well, they still need over 13 rounds if they want a chance of winning a regulation. And those 13 rounds as well have to come consecutively. If they make 1 slip up, it's overtime guaranteed for Envyus. And going forward from there, there's going to be a lot of match points to try and work with. But anyway though, Deagles, UMPs and CZs is all Epsilon have to try and work with into this one as well, which is going to round about 18. M4 is now into play onto VKL, but apart from that, still SMGs, there's FAMAS there for Jax. But they have the Molotov, so the Fuse gets the utility to fend off the Ts with their pistols.
Kevzy just scouting towards outside right now as they test the waters, looking like they do want to try and work in towards that A-bomb site, potentially. They do have utility here to aid them as well. First frag goes the way of Hadji, though. Been given that golden opportunity to strike against Zasty. Doesn't miss a trick.
5 versus 4. Off the back of Hadji finding the first initial frag. Another minute left on the clock as well. The bomb still left in towards lobby. It's still so hard for Epsilon to try and find success into these rounds. You can see they're pushing close range now towards Under Heaven. Kevzy finds the first frag for the Ts, as he will decimate VKL. Eric chimes in as well, finds Jack, and now we're seeing the advantage fall in the favor of Epsilon, finally.
Yeah, they actually have A little bit to work with. There's potential into the round. Obviously, they can group up, try and find success. Petty Scale as well. Going to be forced back here as he Molotovs himself.
30 seconds left now. Bomb about to make its mark and conclude towards the A-bomb site. The Molotov that could have denied the aggression here has been used towards heaven, but it's Hadji, the star player here of the finals. Can he deliver when they finally need it?
Supported by Petty Scale as well as the push comes in. It's going to be Hadji to just unleash upon them though, but they both go down. Kevzy and Jay-Z trade it back, but they are low. Lambert comes through. The HE could be incredible. Only transfers damage towards him, but forces their hand. They have to charge him. Lambert gets the double. Another round for Envy.
The IGL captain leading by example, a massive 1 versus 2 to force match point now for the French side. As it's going to be 15-3, 12 match points. And that pretty much seals the deal now, Jack. It's going to be Envyus taking it in time.
Yeah. This is going to be so hard for Epsilon. Obviously, if they want to come back into it, they're going to have to try and fight it out for overtime. They need a flawless game. That's 12 rounds on the trot to even attempt to push OT.
Unblemished T-cell is what they require. You know, they cannot make one mistake. If there's one untimely push, if there's one overface, if there's one poor peek without a flashbang, the game is as good as done at that point. And here it comes. Into potentially the final round here of Season 2 of the Elite Series in Counter-Strike. It's going to be 15-3, round number 19. 5 frags for Zasty in the deciding map here, where they needed the star player to step up to really put his foot down. And so far, it seems like fate that Envyus come back with a vengeance into Season 2.
Oh, yeah. Trying to make up for their mistakes in Season 1. They weren't able to make it to the final last time. Now they want to win the final, then close it out and end that chapter. VKL with a double. VKL with a third as well. Lands the headshot on Jay-Z. Push comes round. VKL barely goes down. Hadji for the final frag. 16-3 is the scoreline. 3 maps claimed. They are your victors. They find success here. The newly crowned champions of the Gfinity Elite Series. It's Envyus.
And you can see what it means to them as well. The heartache of Season 1 being taken out in the semi-finals with a massive advantage, with the shock upset versus Prophecy to come back, bounce back into Season 2 and demolish Epsilon in the finals 3-0.
Absolutely incredible stuff there. Clearly proving they deserved it at that point. I mean, there's no more of a dominant feat to take it. 3-0 with a third map being such a ridiculous scoreline like that.
And that's the thing that boils down to the veto, Jack. Epsilon decided to opt out of Train after seeing how good Envyus were versus Method in the regular season. But does that eventually come back to bite them when on Nuke it just seemed like they weren't ready or even prepared?
Yeah, incredible stuff there, as obviously it is going to be set in stone now. Envy picking up the win. You can see how much it means to everyone. Absolutely loving it as they finally find time to celebrate and enjoy their victory.
Now then, the question is, for Epsilon going forward, as you can see, I mean, understandably losing 0-3 in that regard. You had your map picks, Mirage and whatnot. Did they have more of a hope going into this one? At least one map.
Yeah, well, there you have it. That is going to be done and dusted. Envy are the champions. Let's get back over to that desk.
Thank you very much, Jackie, Snods. Well, there you have it. Envy, the grand champions of Season 2. What a great match it turned out to be for them, not so much for Epsilon.
For the Envious organisation.
Yeah, indeed.
And all their friends and family.
And that have rushed on there. It's overcrowded in there. It's all health and safety, but that is Epsilon heading over, which you always like to see a bit of sportsmanship between those guys. But they genuinely looked devastated, Epsilon, finishing runners-up in Season 2.
Yes. I mean, even though you have to consider the context, 2 of the maps that they did play were the Envious maps, but I think the Mirage game is the one that really just sapped all their confidence, because that was the one that was supposed to be their big chance, and they never were in either of the other 2 games. So this is an example of what happens where you have all these roster moves and it doesn't work out. You know, we saw in the semi-finals what happens where sometimes you make a roster move, it just happens to be the right one for the right day or the right role. Well, wasn't a cohesive team unit today.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thank you very much, Tony. There's plenty more to talk about from that in Season 2. But your Season 2 champions of CSGO are... It's Envyus!
Congratulations. Let me in, guys. Let me in. I want to be part of this. Congratulations, guys. I mean, you must be so happy with this win. Elite Series champions of Season 2, CSGO. I mean, how are we feeling?
Amazing. Good feeling.
Amazing, good feeling.
Yeah.
And how that final was quite easy going for you guys. I mean, you obviously put a lot of practice in. You were looking sharp, on point. I mean, you've had so many weeks of grind and to get to this position now. Lambert, how are you feeling?
It's good. Just good. Sorry.
Good. And what about your teammates? Is there anything you want to say to your fellow teammates for winning this champion together?
Qu'est-ce que tu veux dire à nous?
Just it's my bro, and work again and just won again.
Amazing. Hadji, I'm going to come over to you quickly. Yeah. You were a superstar in this final, unbelievable. I'm sure everybody can agree with me. Hadji, what happened in this final? You suddenly just woke up and you were this beast. It was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we just, like, all the team played well. We had a good execute. And, yeah, we all played well. So.
Amazing. And what is next for this team? Are we sticking together, boys? You are champions of the Elite Series now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have to practice again, practice harder and get better. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in more CSGO tournaments, and congratulations. Let's lift that trophy one more time, guys. Give it up for Team Envyus. Let's go. Tom, it's back over to you.
Thank you very much. There you go. The gentlemen will celebrate. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have all the analysis and talk up those boys and how far they can possibly go. There they are. Welcome back to the Gfinity Arena. Season 2 has come to an end. Why? Well, because the team in blue, those French lads, have absolutely smashed it and have won the CSGO final, winning 3 maps in a row. Inferno, Mirage, and finally Nuke. And joining us on the table is Vkill. Yeah, I mean, Lottie asked you, you must feel amazing. Put it into words. What does it mean based on the fact Season 1, you sort of went out in the semi-finals and now you got to put that right and win the whole competition?
As I said, against Epsilon, we get a reborn since like 1 month, I said. We are working in a good way, a really good way, and teams that is not structured as we are, yeah, we can smash them like we did.
Yeah, and do you think that it's helped all living together and being over here in London and you've got the team from the Street Fighter boys to give you that kind of energy and confidence? I can hear Mr. Crimson from Street Fighter in the background there. But the camaraderie that you have, because you definitely look like more of a team that is happy and confident.
In terms of our team, like the 5 of us, it will be a good work because we have some trouble on the personality. Like sometimes it's a bad day because we are angry or stuff like that. I don't know, but overall we managed to to live together and grow up together. So I'm glad to it.
Yeah,
so it was good.
Well, you've definitely done that. You've won the Elite Series Season 2. I want to just go back to the first map today, Inferno. 16-4 victors against Epsilon. I want to talk with your perspective on what you see in front of you and how you approach that map.
You want me to say how?
Break it down for me, Vkill. Don't hold back.
Yeah. We didn't expect them to play Inferno. I mean, we thought like they will remove it on the veto, so it was a surprise. But we know that it's one of our best maps, especially in T side. So we managed to make all our game. Like we get the tea, we get the banana. We could do whatever we want to do, and the execution was sometimes not, but perfect. So it was great.
Yeah, the way you said banana made me remind me of Minions. The thing is, Vkill, right? With this, Hadji turned up finally. He began to play like we'd seen him in Season 1. That must have given you even more confidence. Was it the haircut for him? Did it?
Maybe. I don't know. He's just feeling greater in the game. In the team, he feels perfectly on the entry fragger role, so he does his stuff and keep rolling.
Yeah. So you got that 1-0 lead. Then you went into a map, and Thorin said, "This is definitely heavily in Epsilon's favour, Mirage."
Yeah.
Did you think that when you went into it?
Yeah, of course. We knew that it was the bonus map, you know, like because we are not playing it so often. So we just practiced a bit before, you know, since 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. And we did well in practice, I meant, and we wanted to, you know, do it in the official. And, you know, we had some struggle in CT, but overall we won it, the CT side, and in G side we knew that we have to have discipline, you know, and we did, so
yeah, you did.
It went well.
16-9. I want to look back at the map, Mirage, and just get your viewpoint on it. 16-9, that's a pretty confident victory in terms of you not feeling confident on that map.
Yeah. We just know that the round that we lost, it was like our fault. It's not like they are going so they read us or stuff like that. It was our fault and our mistakes. So basically, we knew what went wrong, and we knew that in T side, if we do our job like with discipline, as I said, it will work very perfectly.
Looking back at that, before we move on to Nuke, the third and final map, guys, you begin to see with Epsilon's play, at this point, losing Mirage, their heads did dip, even Krill when we chatted to him afterwards. But can you look back at it now and see where that confidence was just ebbing away on them?
I mean, I think if you just look at even the way they were playing, you know, if Envyus took map control on T side, they just gave up positions, they never fought back for it, they never tried to get back in, so they were just increasingly worse scenarios. And I mean, I wanted to know what you thought of this. It seemed like your team played very well, but they didn't really turn up like they had in the rest of the season, right?
Yeah. It was not the same roster, actually, so I don't know.
And why did that happen? Can we, not to pinpoint any particular player, but was it the synergy wasn't there with Yesti, like Hasty, the main man who came into that team? Would it have been the fact that they just didn't have that practice time with him, potentially?
I wouldn't say it's the practice time. I think like overall they just didn't look like themselves, like at all. Like it looked like every player was taking. If they took an infight, it felt like they didn't have confidence in themselves to win it. Like I mentioned Jay-Z walking into Mirage. He would hold an angle, and then if he sees somebody, he wouldn't actually try and kill them in a situation where it would benefit him. He just kind of left it, and frankly, you can't play like that, especially in a LAN environment where you can be more aggressive than usual compared to online. You can be very aggressive and take advantage of that. And they're playing probably scared, or more scared than you would do online. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, but we moved on to Nuke, and Harold, we said what they had to do. Give me your account of what you saw in that map.
Nuke was not a good map for Team Epsilon.
Solid.
That's why he makes the big bucks.
and less is more. But
I think
why?
he might actually be the coach of it, on the low key, you know.
But wait, I mean, even I chatted to Lottie, and she said, you know, interviewing Krill was really difficult because he looked like his head had dropped. And that must be really difficult when you've got a coach behind you who isn't able to give the boost to that team. And at that point, it's 7-1. You're thinking, well, there's no way back for Epsilon. But is that the full story of that map?
I'm not sure how much you can give to your team when they're losing every single aim fight. Like, you can put them in positions to succeed, but if they don't win the aim fights when they're there, what more can you actually do? Like, you're the coach at the end of the day. Like, you have to rely on them at some point, and they didn't deliver.
Yeah. We discussed it, Warren, you gave the insight in what they needed to do in Nuke to win the map, and Envyus did it, but not Epsilon. So how did you see that whole map?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you have to give Envyus credit because, again, this is not really a map that we traditionally thought that they were going to be so strong on. This should have been perhaps one that, if you could have got the good CT half, I feel like you have a chance if you're Epsilon. So that's the thing, when they got crushed like this in the first half, like they had to basically win double-digit CT rounds. So when they don't, they know they don't have a very good T side. It was never going to really happen for them. That's why, for me, the confidence breaker was Mirage, because they had to kind of know it was possible to lose on Nuke, but then hope they got to cash. That was what they had to be thinking. So, unfortunately, if that's in the back of your mind, and then you go on to Nuke, and then you start on CT side, and you're getting rolled, there's not a lot you can do at that point in time, right? Be styled on.
It's a shame you didn't practice a dance routine, VKill, at the end. I feel like if you'd have had a dance routine for your win, it would have been a bit more succinct.
I don't understand.
I know, but that's not... but
some of us don't, mate, and we know what he's saying, so...
but how did you see that Nuke map for you guys?
We just made our game, like, perfectly. We knew that we knew that this team will be good in T side because they could do whatever they want, but in CT side you have to defend some zone and pick up someone and leave someone, so they don't know how to do that. And we knew that they will be aggressive in picks and stuff like that. So this is what they did in outside, but we knew that this was their all option, or the only option for them.
Who was the key player for you at that MV team today, SCO? I'm going to put you on a spot. I know where I'd tilt towards, but who would you say sort of really stood out for you?
I feel it's going to be Jax. Like, the overall consistent performance across all 3 maps was kind of present. Like, obviously, Hadji had a very good first map, and he was good the second map as well, but Jax was consistently, 20-plus kills, and that's what you need in a best of 5, essentially. If he'd done that across all 5 maps, you'd be looking at, 100-plus kills, which is phenomenal, really.
Yeah. I respect Lord SCO's opinion, but I'm going to say to you, Harold, I'd lean more towards Hadji. Fantastic performance from him. All the stats show that in his performance, not necessarily for Season 2 as a whole, but really turned up today in the final when he had to.
Yeah, well, Hadji had a fantastic game, and it's not just getting loads and loads of kills, it's getting kills constantly. Your teammates are seeing the feed constantly being filled up. Hadji, getting really cool kills as well, especially on that first map on Inferno. He was hitting some crazy shots, and the crowd was giving it. Can you guys hear the crowd when they go, ooh? No. Well, they did. So there you go.
But
it's just a morale booster.
The ER there, the emergency room situation, elite rating is so high. That just emphasises how influential he was throughout the whole game. Did you say to Hadji, sort of unleash him a little bit off the leash, go do your thing?
No. We did we just did how we are used to do it, and he knows that he can be like that whenever he wants when the thing's going well. So.
But why now? Because it has to be going well as a team, or does that when Hadji performs better, or is it when he decides he wants to play well?
No. He just followed the lead of Lambert and I, and he's just doing the stuff that we ask him to do, but on his way, and he has a good individual, mental and skill, and how to, react at what's happening.
If a player like Hadji can perform week in, week out, as well as he's done today, then that makes Envy sort of a real competitor to go on further in different tiers in CSGO, doesn't it?
Well, especially since we've seen they've been at their best when it's been Jax, it's been Hadji. These have been the players that have been standing out because of their roles primarily. We've got the Infragger, we've got a lurker player. You need these players at the top of their form because some of the other players are role players within the system, So you can't always expect week to week to be a different player. You want your certain players you can rely upon, and you build the game around them, hopefully.
But in terms of Hadji's standard, how does a player, and you've seen many different levels of CSGO, how does a player maintain and say constant performing at that level?
I mean, for me, it's once you get to a good level, then the other teams will take note of what you're doing and they will adapt and they'll have counters for you. So that's where you often see young players. They get good initially and then they have the drop-off because they're doing the same things, but now people know what they do. So I think you've got to be able to slightly reinvent your game and then find the things you're good at and really zone in on those.
Yeah. Okay. So what now for Envy? Obviously, you celebrate this win, deserved win.
Yeah.
Where do you go from now?
Last week we are competing to the championship national French, for the finals, and after it's a vacation until next year.
And how far could they go, gentlemen, in terms of the world of CSGO and obviously being an academy side?
I suppose it's kind of, obviously it's endless opportunities, really. You've got the backing of Envyus, so you can participate in many tournaments, obviously. And the fact that you've had the lineup, like the same lineup for so long as well, you've got the chemistry which you can easily build on. Like, obviously you've got a big map pool at this point as well. Like, I'm pretty sure you can play at least 6 of the 7 maps. I'm not sure about Cash. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's he played it in Season 1, but I haven't seen it in Season 2, obviously. So it's just a case of playing bigger tournaments and seeing how you can actually go, really.
And what about Epsilon? It's difficult to bring it up. The runners-up, first losing the competition, but actually the runners-up today. We know what they're capable of. What can they do now? Where can they go from this point?
I'm not really sure.
I don't even think this team's going to stay together. We've seen throughout the season, Epsilon every single week. It's a different roster, it's different players, and if you haven't got any consistency, it's okay to change a player every now and then. But if you have zero consistency, then you can't really build a team around it, no matter how much skill there is. And even there, we saw Kevzy throughout the weeks has been fantastic. Today, He wasn't even in the server. You know, it was just disappointing from them, really. And if they want to go forward as a team, which I don't think they do, they need to work as a team.
26 kills across all 3 maps, that's just not enough. And I know I don't want to take anything away from Envy or the rest of the Epsilon boys who turn up today, but Barber must have been a big loss. It's so close towards the end of the season.
That's the thing. When they brought in Barber, they mentioned how they want to bring him in so he can mould the team to be his own. And 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, he's gone.
Yeah. But surely the Lord SEO, the experience that Barber had is something that they needed up there.
Like, it's arguable that the experience was very much needed today. Like, the fact that they clearly fell off a cliff after Mirage. Like, that experience of an IGL who's like, he's been there to say, I've been in this before, just keep your heads high, we can still win this. They didn't have that there. Like, it's very different to have a coach who's saying that as well, but then if you have somebody in-game playing with you, he can get kills, maybe have a big impact round and be like, come on, let's win this. Like, it's still possible, it's just, you need experienced players who can, you know, motivate the team.
Plus, this is actually where I think Jay-Z Walking's really suffered, because he's someone who in the past had the game built around him when he was in the Fnatic Academy squad. He was the star AWPer of the team, you know. Now he's trying to be the AWPer and the in-game leader. He's inexperienced at one. It seems like the others actually impacted how he's playing as a star player himself, and so he's taken himself out of the game, and he didn't look as though he was doing a lot for his team. So I think that's something going forwards. Clearly, they're not going to keep this lineup, but they've got to figure out the in-game leader situation first, because you've got to get that set and then figure out who's going to work in the system that whoever you're going to bring in is going to be, because again, it was Barbar before who was setting everything up.
In terms of obviously the Challenger Series or getting new players to come and join that team, consistency is what they definitely need. Have the same lineup each week in, week out, to keep practicing and work together. Is that where they're going to need to go, to the draft, or are they going to get experienced players from elsewhere?
I would expect experienced players from elsewhere, really. Like, it's, as well, like, the draft can bring in players who've got potential, but they're not ready quite yet, is what I'd assume. Like, there's players who are really good pug stars and everything, but then they don't quite have the experience of playing on the stage, playing at multiple events. Some of them are international players. Obviously, coming to a different country and playing is another story entirely.
But someone like Hasty came through the Challenger Series and picked up, and yet he performed better than anyone else on his team today. Like, Kevzy was left in 26 kills over 3 maps. That's not enough, whereas Hasty's got not necessarily the experience, but definitely got that confidence and no fear.
That's the thing. He came into the game last week with such a confidence, which is something we don't normally see from players that are experienced. They normally come in and they're kind of like a bit wary, or they'll play the exact same. Like, a good example would probably be Stewie. Like, when he first came in, he was a pug star and he just played the same way, which typically that would be quite bad, but it was working out. So if you actually are inexperienced, you just need to kind of play confident. Like, as much as like the inexperience goes against you, if you still play the same game you got there playing, chances are it will work for you.
And in terms of Epsilon, just to pick up some positive for them, who is actually the person that stood out for you today as the key player for them?
Definitely.
Why do you ask him?
Well, obviously you were playing them. Who was the star player in terms of your opinion? VKill.
I don't know, because I just don't watch the score. You know, I'm just focused on my game, so I don't really know who. Maybe Jays. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I didn't ask him for. Because I know this man is a professional. But who stood out for you maybe for Epsilon in terms of where they can build maybe a team going forward?
Yeah, I think Zasty looked decent enough, especially because even in a losing effort, actually, he had some games, like in the Mirage game, he was pretty decent on, he had good numbers. And the fact he's such a young player as well, some of these other players, we've seen them before, I think you want to at least test a piece like that out again. You know, you're not just going to pass over him. But some of the other players in the team, yeah, I agree though, a little bit suspect in this final, I thought, and that's always a knock on a player as well, is when like you underperform in a final where you're expected to do well. That's actually the toughest thing I think to fix, is like people's mentality, you know. Skill-wise, yeah, you can figure out, someone can develop, or you can put them in a different role, but when they just underperform and don't get to the level they're supposed to be at, sometimes you have to just let those players go and find someone who can do the job, I think.
Yeah, well listen, gentlemen, dissected the final. Congratulations, VKill. I'm going to throw over to Lottie right now. Whereabouts are you?
Well, Tom, I'm with a very, very disappointed coach of Epsilon. Krilla, there aren't really words I can describe how you're feeling right now. I imagine it's just heartbreaking. Let's just talk about what happened in that game and why did it not go quite to plan for this final for you guys?
First of all, it's heartbreaking to lose a final, of course, but I'm proud of the boys. Coming to LAN final, 4 of them playing their first big LAN and coming to a final, and big props to them for that. And yeah, for the game itself today, it's of course very, very disappointing. I heard a little bit what they were talking about today, that we played really passive and didn't take any map control. And it feels sad to say that we usually do this, especially when we have our A game, and we didn't show up at all today, and we were afraid taking info, we were afraid taking risk in the play to make an entry frag or so. We were just hoping that someone else would do it, you know. And I think when Envy is getting like confidence and go with it, they're unstoppable almost, you know. But I also know when they get in the position we were today, they are almost like us, but more experienced, you know. So the disappointment, and of course they have the better seed, so they have the 2 best maps for them first, but Mirage was a huge disappointment. Yeah. Of course.
And as you did say, despite this result, Grille, you have a lot to be proud of from this season. You are a fantastic team. You've got here today by sheer talent and, you know, everything about your team. It should be here. You should be in this final. So talk to me about your highlights from this season. What was a particular standout for you? A good game that you thought, yeah, that's our A game?
Yeah, but I gotta say the semi-final against Endpoint. I mean, we really showed up then. We brought in a total new guy, and we really had our A game, especially on Cobble. And that's probably the game, and I had to jump into games myself and won them, so that was fun, of course. But it's been up and down the whole season, obviously, and that's our team right now. It's really up and down. But come on, we've been together 2 months, you know. So
well, you've got this for future tournaments, and you know I can't wait to see you in other things. Grille, thank you so much. Tom, it's back to you.
Thank you so much to Lottie and to Krill. So that is a wrap for us here at Gfinity in the Elite Series for 2017. But never fear, 2018 is going to be even bigger and better. For starters, right, check this out, we are going global. 2018 will see us go down under with the launch of the Australian Elite Series in March. The top Aussie players from Street Fighter, CSGO and Rocket League will battle it out in our inaugural season overseas. Struth. Doesn't matter. More information can be found on our website. The link is on the screen right now. We've also got big plans for CSGO here in the UK and Europe in 2018, kicking off with the Winter Series that is just the tip of the iceberg of what we have in store for all of you Counter-Strike fans next year. Well, that is it. 2017 has been an incredible year, and from everyone here at the Gfinity, we'd like to say thank you for tuning in and supporting us week in, week out. A huge thank you has to go to all the players, casters, analysts, and staff that have worked hard behind the scenes to bring you the Elite Series each week. Finally, just like to say, have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2017. Cheers, gentlemen. Please.